day 1, I spawned in as a police officer. Well, I was actually just a rookie, and I was pretty small too. It's okay, I'll move up in no time. But where are all my other cop friends? Hello, is my partner around here? I was all alone, so I checked out my gear and realized I already had some handcuffs. Cool! Just then, I noticed some bandits nearby. They were around a cage full of citizens. I approached them, but before I knew it, they were attacking me. Hey, that's no way to treat an officer. What is going on here? Why is there so much crime? It's like the criminals are in control. I wanted to help the citizens, but I only had 5 hearts, and they were running low, fast. I hurried and ran away. I didn't feel good doing it, but I really needed to heal up before I could help anybody else. I found a small cave and made camp for the night. As I went to sleep, I wondered again where all the other cops were and why it seemed like all the criminals had taken over. On day 2, I woke up and got right down to business. If there were no other cops, then I'd have to take care of things myself. I chopped down some trees and gathered some wood to make a crafting table. With that, I was able to make a wooden sword, pickaxe, shovel, and some other simple tools. These aren't the best, but they will do for now. I went out exploring and found a small village. I looked around, but everyone seemed to be gone. I wonder where everyone went. Just then, I heard some noise from behind a fence. It was a teenage girl. Hey, it's okay, I can help. She looked a little frightened, but she eventually came out of her hiding place. What happened?
There were some bandits that attacked our village. They took everyone captive, including my family.
I think I saw them earlier. I'm so sorry. I'll do what I can to get your family back. She seemed happy to hear that.
I'm Izzy.
I'm Zozo. Hey, we should find a safe place to go. If I build us a safe house, would you want to stay there? She happily agreed. Before we left, we went through the houses to gather some supplies. I found some leather, coal, and some food. I also harvested what was left of the crops so we could make ourselves a garden. On day 3, Izzy and I started off into the forest. I found a section of land we liked and decided to build a base there. We started building and made ourselves some simple houses. Then I started a little garden with the seeds I had collected.
Thanks, Zozo. You're a good cop.
It is my job to serve and protect. Just then, a bunch of rats came out from behind some trees. Oh, gross, get away! I was sure glad I had my new sword, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to defeat them. After I took out the last rat, I felt a surge of power and I leveled up. Cool, I'm an actual officer now. I had a shiny new baton and everything. I even gained a few more hearts. On days 4 to 5, I went out to gather some more materials. I was able to mine some cobblestone to make some new tools. On my way back to the base, I saw some bandits nearby. They looked like the ones I had seen earlier, but they didn't have a cage this time. There were only a few of them, so I knew I could take them out. I charged at them and attacked with my baton. I managed to get some hits in, but I finally defeated them all. Nice! I noticed that one had dropped something, so I picked it up. It was a note that told the bandits where to go to capture more people. It was signed by someone named Jenkins. That must be who they are working for. I'll have to find out some more information about him later. I returned to the base and greeted Izzy. She seemed really happy to be in a safe place. Hopefully we could help others find refuge here too. On day 6 to 8, I crafted some new stuff from the supplies I had gathered. I made a furnace and then made a tunic and some boots, using the leather I had looted from the village. Yeah, I'm ready to take on anything now. Just then, I heard Izzy screaming outside. I rushed out and followed her voice. I found her by the waterside being attacked by some spiders. Get back, you nasties! With my baton, I was easily able to defeat all of them.
Thanks, Zozo.
No problem, just be careful in the future.
Will do. Hey, I have something for you.
Izzy threw me some flowers she had picked.
I picked these for you. I thought they could brighten up the base a little bit.
For sure. We went back to the base, and I went right ahead and planted some of the flowers. Izzy was right, it did give a little life to the place. Just don't go wandering off again. I can't protect you if you're too far away. She nodded. Here, I'll make you a sword, just in case. I went over to my crafting table and made Izzy a simple sword and some other tools.
Thanks, these are great.
She went outside to pick some flowers, this time closer to the base. She's a funny one. I just hope she doesn't get into trouble again. On days 9 to 10, I decided to go out and search for some new materials. And I wanted more information about Jenkins. I'm sure somebody knew something. I found another village that seemed abandoned. I started to gather up some crops when I heard a scream. I ran around the corner to see some bandits capturing people. I also noted one huge buff guy in a suit. That seems strange. I charged toward the bandits and took out a few. Then the man in the suit laughed. I charged at him, but he sidestepped me. He drew a large sword that seemed to glow red. He smacked me once and nearly took me out. I had to hide so he wouldn't destroy me. The bandits and the man left, taking the villagers with them. I felt so angry that I couldn't do anything. Then I noticed one of the bandits on the ground. I had hit him, but he was still alive. He was trying to crawl away. Hey, I hurried and handcuffed him. He struggled, but he was frozen in place. Where are you taking the people you're capturing? The bandit threw a potato at me. I was about to make my final swing with my baton when he started screaming.
Okay, I'll talk.
That's what I like to hear.
We work for Jenkins, the mob boss. We were taking the prisoners back to his compound.
Why is he capturing people?
He captures basically everyone he doesn't like. Only the lucky ones get to be be his bandits.
Sure, lucky.
I was captured a long time ago, but Jenkins liked me, so now I work for him.
Why didn't you help people instead of capturing them?
Jenkins is too powerful. Anyone who tries to fight him is always beaten.
I could see why. That sword he had was different somehow. Really powerful too. But he couldn't keep taking people away. It wasn't right. I'm going to defeat him. The bandits seemed intrigued.
You really think you can take him on?
I wasn't entirely sure, but I knew somebody had to try. It's the right thing to do. The bandits seemed even more intrigued.
Can I join you?
I was a little suspicious of him, but I decided to let him come with me. If anything, he could give me some valuable information.
I'm Lionel.
I'm Officer Zozo. Nice to meet you. On days 11 through 12, I took Lionel's cuffs off and we headed back to the base. We started to work on a small house for him. He seemed really happy.
I haven't had my own house in so long. Jenkins just keeps us all in small bunks together. Thanks, Zozo.
Of course. Lionel actually seemed like a good guy. Maybe we would be friends after all. I introduced him to Izzy, and she seemed a little suspicious of him too. After a while though, she warmed up to him, especially after he offered to help her pick flowers. I decided the base was in good hands, so I went back to the cave to gather some more materials. As I went deeper, I noticed some skeletons were guarding a big deposit of iron. I could really use that. I charged toward the iron, but the skeletons had bows and arrows. Whoa, I didn't notice that. They all shot at me and depleted almost all of my health. I can't do this, I'm gonna die. I ran off and tried to heal for a minute. Oh, that was intense. I need some better weapons, but that iron is what I need to make a better sword. I went down a different tunnel and found a different iron deposit. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough to craft a new sword. Perfect. I creeped back down the tunnel and charged the skeletons again. It was tricky, but I was finally able to defeat them all. They even dropped some nice bows, which I promptly looted. Thank goodness. I mined all the iron and took it back home with me. I was able to make some more tools and even some armor. Yeah, this is amazing. I then called it a day. On days 13 to 15, I woke up to Lionel knocking on my door. Hey Lionel, what's up?
Zozo, I need to tell you something about Jenkins.
We sat down.
I really want to be optimistic, but Jenkins is really powerful.
I know, Lionel, but I am getting stronger.
But you don't understand, Zozo. Jenkins isn't just a normal guy. He once was, but when he was younger, he was hungry for power. His father was the mob boss, but Jenkins wanted to be in charge. He made a blood oath to some supernatural force, and it gave him his red blinking sword. He destroyed his father as a sacrifice. Jenkins gained power over the people, but the sword gained power over him. It's basically alive and it feeds on people. That's why Jenkins keeps capturing people, to feed the sword and keep his power.
This was a lot to take in. I thought it was just a blinking sword. This was something I wasn't sure I could handle.
I wanted to tell you so you know what you're going up against.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Lionel left and I sat there for a while. I was way in over my head. On days 16 to 19, I woke up to Lionel yelling my name. I opened the door. What is it, Lionel?
It's Izzy. She's missing. But here, there's a note and a map.
I took the note and read it. Izzy had gone outside and been captured by some villagers. They told me that if I wanted her back, I would need to pay them in gold. They even drew us a little map to where we needed to go.
We don't have any gold.
It doesn't matter. We need to go get her. Come on, let's go. We headed out in the direction the map said and reached a desert. Soon, we made it to a small village. It looked like it was in ruins. Hello, we are here to get our friend back. We turned the corner and saw Izzy. She was in a cage and surrounded by a few villagers. One villager with a wooden crown and sword came forward.
Give us the gold and we won't hurt you.
We don't have any gold. Give us our friend.
No, if you don't give me my gold, then I'll take it from you.
The villager lunged and attacked me. He was a good fighter, but I was better. After just a minute, I managed to defeat him. I felt another surge of power, and I leveled up into a sergeant. Nice! Izzy ran towards us and cried happily.
Thanks for saving me. I won't wander outside at night ever again.
A young man stepped forward. Are you really going to save us from Jenkins? That's what Izzy told us. He has a powerful sword that I'm not sure I can go up against. I know it could help. It's a legendary sword, dropped by a knight in a battle long ago. It's been lost somewhere in the desert. That sparked a little hope in me. Maybe I could defeat Jenkins after all. Do you want to come live in our base? It'll be safer there. A few villagers wanted to stay in their homes, but the young man agreed. I'm Nick. Nice to meet you, Nick. I'm Sergeant Zozo. We gathered some supplies and then took off towards the base. On days 20 to 22, we arrived back at the base, but it was on fire. There were some zombies on fire too. What the heck? We hurried and defeated them and then put the fire out in the base. It looks like we have some work to do. Nick and Lionel helped me while Izzy went back in her house to rest. She had had a long day getting kidnapped and all. She deserved to sleep. We made some new improvements to the base, including a better fence, and started building a house for Nick. I was happy to have him around and looked forward to learning more about the sword he was talking about.
Hey Zozo, we should build a statue to let people know this is a safe place from Jenkins, and that you're gonna kick his bum.
That's a good idea, Lionel. We chatted about the statue with Nick and decided on something simple. Can you guess what it is? Also, hurry and hit subscribe so you can follow me on more adventures. adventures. On days 23 to 26, I was gathering some crops from our garden when a bunch of bees started attacking the base. Where did you come from? Everyone got their weapons and we managed to fight them off. As I hit the last one, it dropped something. I picked it up and it was some golden apples. Wow, these look amazing. I should probably save them for later though. I went up to chat with Lionel. Hey, I think it would be really helpful if we scouted Jenkins' base, just to see what we were up against.
I think that's a great idea. We just need to be careful. There are guards literally everywhere.
Nick and Izzy decided to stay behind and work on the statue while we headed out to the compound. It was a little bit of a journey, but when we arrived, I could see what Lionel meant. It was huge, and there were guards all over the place. Wow, you weren't kidding.
I know that there is a guard entrance in the back, but only the higher-ranking guards or bandits can open it. And Jenkins, of course.
Just then, we saw a bandit running towards us. We started to run away and thought we had lost him, when suddenly he popped out from behind a tree.
Lionel, brother, I knew that was you.
Luke?
I heard you were dead, but when I saw you from the tower, I knew I had to come and get you.
Luke drew his sword and went to attack me.
No, don't! This is my friend Zozo. He's going to help us defeat Jenkins.
Luke snorted.
Yeah, right.
He will. He's going to find the legendary sword of the night and defeat him.
Luke seemed skeptical. I know it might seem impossible, but I can do it. I'll free everyone, and you won't have to be a slave anymore. Luke looked convinced enough.
Okay, I'm in. I don't like the food there anyway.
Luke chatted with us about what had happened recently with Jenkins. He had been raiding more and more villages lately, hungry for power. We then made our way back to the base. Once we got back to the base, we cleared out an area and made a house for Luke as well. Even though him and Lionel were brothers, they wanted their own places. I didn't blame them. We also made some improvements to the base, including some towers and a higher fence.
Wow, this is actually pretty rad, Sarge.
Luke saluted me incorrectly. He was an odd one, but I was glad to be helping people get away from Jenkins. On days 27 to 31, I went to talk to Nick about the legendary sword. He was picking some flowers. Are those for Izzy? He seemed to blush a little bit.
Maybe.
Her favorite are the blue ones.
Hey, thanks.
He picked up some blue flowers while we chatted. So, the sword.
Yeah, so all I know is that it's buried somewhere deep in the desert. It's super powerful.
It sounded like a very interesting weapon. Jenkins needed to be stopped, and this seemed like the only way to do it. Let's go find that sword.
All right.
We stopped at the base so that Nick could give his flowers to Izzy. She seemed really happy about them and wished us good luck. We gathered some supplies and then headed out into the desert. It was so big and I had no idea where to start. Any idea where it could be?
Just somewhere in the desert.
We started digging around, looking for some significant formations. It was honestly just a lot of sand. Then out of nowhere, a bunch of snakes came slithering up to us. Nope, none of that. I drew my sword and started fighting them off, but there were too many, and they started biting me. We need to go, Nick. We ran away and made our way back to the base. We felt discouraged, but I would find the sword. I just knew it. On days 32 to 35, we traveled back to the base. On the way there, we ran into a traveling merchant.
Hello, lots of items for sale. Anything you could want, really. Name your price.
We aren't in need of items, but maybe you have some information. What do you know about the legendary sword that was lost in the desert? The merchant rifled through some items, looking for paper.
Yes, here it is. I once encountered a man who said it was buried in the furthest reaches of the desert, never to be found again.
Never?
Never!
He raised his arms dramatically and waved them around. I looked at Nick. This guy was a little bit wacky. Probably not the best source for information. Well, thanks. We'll be going now.
Not on my watch.
I turned around to see Jenkins with some of his guards. The merchant screamed and hid behind his camel.
Yeah, I've met you before. You're that annoying little rookie I swatted back in the village.
It's Sergeant Zozo to you.
I drew my baton and attacked his guards.
I easily took a few of them out, but then I saw Jenkins use his blinking red sword. I was in trouble now. He smacked me and I felt my health start to drop. I still wasn't even close to being strong enough to defeat him. Just then, I looked in the merchant's shulker and saw some TNT. Yes. Take this, Jenkins! I placed the TNT and blew up the sand around us. Come on, Nick, we gotta go!
Wait for me!
The merchant sprinted behind us, cradling an armful of items. We all ran off towards the base, leaving Jenkins in a sandy mess. On days 36 to 39, we all arrived at the base safely. The merchant looked exhausted.
Thank you for saving me. Jenkins would have had my head for sure.
Of course, we are glad to have found another friend with us.
I'm Caleb. Please, let me repay you for your kindness.
The merchant handed me a rock he was holding. Thanks.
It's my favorite rock. Take good care of it.
I pocketed the rock, thinking how odd this man was. But then we decided to help Caleb set up a little shop in the base so he could continue to sell his wares, whatever they may be.
I lost most of my items in the commotion, but this will do for now.
Anything else you need?
Actually, if you could gather some sand for me, I could make some glass bottles to store more items.
I decided it wasn't too much of a hassle, so I went to the desert and gathered some sand for Caleb. When I came back, he was very grateful.
Ah, yes, perfect. This will definitely help.
I then decided to do some work on the statue for a little while. It was looking pretty good, but it wasn't done quite yet. On days 40 to 43, I went out to mine some more materials to make some upgrades to the base. On my way there, I passed by a small group of travelers. They looked like farmers of some sort, but they must have thought I was working with Jenkins because they yelled and tried to run away when they saw me. Wait, I won't hurt you. I'm a police officer. They stopped running and approached me.
Oh, a young hero. Maybe you can help us.
Sure, what is it?
All of our animals were stolen by some hooligans in the forest. If you could go get them back for us, we'd be so grateful.
It seemed like an easy enough task. Sure, do you know where they are?
Yes, they live in an outpost next to the foot of the mountains. We don't dare get close because they have better weapons than us.
I'll help you. In the meantime, you can stay at my base. I pointed them in the right direction, and they headed that way. I went towards the mountain they mentioned, and before long, I saw the outpost. There were a bunch of animals all shoved into a pen nearby.
Looky here, boys. We've got a live one.
I drew my sword and charged the pillagers. There weren't many of them, and their weapons were very simple. I picked off a few of them easily, but their leader seemed a little more skilled. We exchanged a few more blows, but after a minute, I defeated him. Alright guys, let's get you back to your owners. I grabbed some leads from the house and wrangled up the animals. We were able to make it back to the base safely. When we got there, the farmers were overjoyed.
Thank you, Zozo. Please feel free to use as much wool and milk as you'd like.
Thanks. It'd be really good to have some more food sources, and the farmers seemed more than happy to stay with us. On days 44 to 49, I journeyed back to the desert where I'd gathered the sand for Caleb. I figured there could be some other useful materials nearby. When I got there, I noticed there was a sea turtle being attacked by a squid. Hey, you let him go! I jumped in and smacked the squid. He tried to maneuver back deeper into the water, but I was too fast. Before I knew it, the squid was defeated. Thank you, sir. You are my hero. The sea turtle nodded in appreciation. Of course, I am here to serve and protect everyone.
That's so good to hear. It's been so long since we've had a hero in this land. I remember when that knight promised to protect everyone, but he went bad.
This was new information. Bad how?
Do you not know the story?
Can't say that I do.
The knight was named Polybius. He protected the king and his daughter, but he realized there were too many enemies, and he was only one man. So he prayed to a deity, begging for their help to protect his friends. They granted him the sword, and he named it Brink.
Brink?
Because everything was on the brink of destruction.
Okay, continue.
So he was gifted Brink and was told that it would always be his if his goals remained true and right to the kingdom. Time went on, and he was able to vanquish all of the king's enemies. But after a while, Polybius became prideful and decided he wanted to show everyone how powerful he was. He challenged a man to a duel of strength, and he was defeated. The sword fell to the ground, but nobody was able to pick it up. Over time, the ground changed and it was buried within the earth.
So how would someone pick it up?
If your goals are true to the kingdom, or I guess now just the land, then you should be able to pick it up.
This was good information to have. Even if I did find the sword, would I be worthy enough to retrieve it? Thank you. You've been a lot of help.
Of course. Thank you.
And with that, the turtle swam off. I gathered some more materials while I thought about what he said. I really hope I can get that sword. It's our only option at this point. On days 50 to 53, I decided to go deeper into the desert to see if I could get any clues as to where the sword might be. While out looking around, I happened upon the group of snakes again. Hey, get out of my way! I had grown stronger since the last time I saw these danger noodles, so I was able to defeat them easily. If only I could defeat Jenkins that easily.
Did you say Jenkins?
I flipped around and saw an old backpacker standing nearby. Yeah, I did.
Good for nothing, scoundrel.
The man spit into the sand.
If you want to defeat him, you better get that sword I've heard so much about.
I'm trying to, I just have no idea where to find it. The backpacker pulled out a paper with a drawing on it. It looked like a hand reaching up.
I was told that the sword is buried deep underneath this rock formation. I haven't seen it in my travels, but maybe you'll find it.
Wow, thanks, this helps a lot.
Of course, you might want this too.
He handed me a bunch of diamonds. I can't take these away from you.
Sure you can. Just promise when you defeat Jenkins, you tell everyone how much I helped you.
I will, sir.
It's good old Tim.
Tim.
No, good old Tim. The whole thing.
Oh, right. Thanks, good old Tim. He waved goodbye and headed off. What an interesting dude. On days 54 to 57, I went back to the base to make some new armor out of the diamonds I had gotten. Wow, this is incredible. I also made some new tools so that I could do some renovations to the base. I added some lanterns, expanded the garden, and made sure everything was well lit. Everything was looking great. And then decided it was too late to do anything else and went to sleep. In the morning, I heard a familiar voice coming from outside.
Zozo, I need your assistance, if you please.
Caleb was calling to me from his shop. I headed over to chat with him. Hey Caleb, what else do you need?
Those bottles were great, but now I need a few more things in order for my shop to really thrive.
Okay, what do you need?
Melons.
Melons?
Yes, melons! Now off with you!
I shrugged my shoulders. Caleb was odd, but I wanted him to be happy. It seemed like an easy enough task. I went exploring for a little bit in the forest before I happened upon some melons. Easy enough. I harvested the melons, gathered some of the seeds, and headed back to the base. I brought them back to Caleb.
Perfect!
He started mixing some stuff together in the back and then came out a few minutes later with a bottle.
Here you are, Sergeant!
I looked, and it was a potion of healing. Oh wow, thanks Caleb. This will really come in handy.
Of course! Anything for you, good sir.
He gave me a half bow with an awkward salute. It was good enough. On days 58 to 62, we worked on the statue for a little while. It was starting to look almost as I had intended. So how was your first guess? Do you think you know what it is still? I was standing on the top when I saw the base being attacked down below. Hey, those look like some of Jenkins' bandits. I hurried and ran down to fight them off. Get out of our home, you good-for-nothing scoundrels. I was starting to sound a little bit like good old Tim. I was able to fight almost all of them off. A few escaped, but I wasn't too worried about them. I was able to head back to my house when I heard Izzy yelling for me.
Zozo, come quick, it's Lionel.
I ran to Lionel's house and found him hunched over on the floor. He looked really bad. Hey buddy, let's get you some help.
No, it's too late for me, Zozo. Just go get Luke for me.
Luke? Is he in his house?
No, he's the one who stabbed me. I overheard him talking to the bandits. He was in league with them all along. Jenkins wants Brink for himself so that nobody can defeat him. Apparently, they just found out about an old lady who knows exactly where to find the sword.
I couldn't believe it. Luke seemed like an okay guy. How could anyone betray their brother like that? Don't worry, Lionel. I'll get him.
Hurry, Zozo. He already left out of the back door.
Lionel took in one last breath, and then he died. I was so angry, but I didn't have time for that right now. I needed to go after Luke and find the sword before he could. On days 63 to 66, I followed some tracks leading into a woodland area. They must have been Luke's and the other bandits that got away. I tracked them for a while before coming to a small rundown cottage. The door was broken and I heard some yelling. I ran inside, drawing my sword. The two bandits were rummaging around, stealing from an old lady. She was sitting helpless in a chair. Hey, you get out of here! I quickly picked off the bandits and gave the old lady back her things.
Thank you, young man. I owe you my life.
All I need is some information, ma'am, and apparently you have it. She nodded like she understood.
The sword is under a rock formation, shaped like a hand reaching toward the sky. It is said that is how the knight, Plebus, died.
I gave her the picture that good old Tim gave me. She looked at it.
That's the one. I saw it a long time ago when I was traveling through the far east side of the desert.
She drew me a simple map that led to its location. It seemed to point into the desert.
Here you go, young man. I fear that the other young man called Luke will find it before you do. So hurry.
Will do. Thank you. I took the map and ran as fast as I could toward the line the old lady had drawn. I hoped that Luke hadn't found it, but I did hope to find him. I had a score to settle. On days 67 to 70, I arrived at the rock formation. I noticed that more bandits were there, and I saw Luke with them. They were gathered around a cart and a tunnel someone had dug. I charged at them all. How dare you hurt my friends! I swung and slashed and managed to defeat all of them, which left Luke and I alone.
Just give up, Zozo. You've lost.
I yelled in anger and charged at Luke. Lionel was your brother. How could you have betrayed him like that?
He was garbage, just like you. I'm gonna enjoy throwing you out as well.
I charged again and he smacked me really hard. I didn't realize how close I was to the opening of the tunnel. I fell down and nearly died. Luke sneered at me from above, then took off running. Coward! I looked around and noticed that the tunnel extended further into the ground. I hoped that I would find what I was looking for down there. On day 71 to 74, I walked down the tunnel for a little while before entering a large cavern. There seemed to be something in the middle of the room. I went closer to examine it and realized they had dug out all the dirt surrounding the sword. They must have taken all of it with them. They had the sword, but obviously they couldn't wield it. Maybe I did have a chance, but I was really discouraged. If Jenkins had the sword in his compound, how was I supposed to beat him? I looked around to see if I could find anything else of value. There were a few deposits of coal, but nothing more. I climbed back up through the tunnel and into the desert. It was going to be a long and painful journey home. On day 75 to 78, I headed back to the base, my head hanging low. Nick ran toward me.
So did you get Luke? Where's the sword?
Luke escaped. They took the sword, too. I didn't really feel like talking. I honestly just felt really sad.
Zozo, I have something for you, my friend.
Caleb motioned me over. I'm not really in the mood, Caleb.
Trust me, you'll like this.
He pulled out something from underneath his counter.
Since you really liked the TNT from last time, I decided to make you some more.
He gave me a whole stash of it. It didn't really cheer me up since I already had loads from before, but I figured it could be useful later. Thanks, Caleb. I started toward my house, but then decided to go into Luke's instead. Maybe he left something of use behind.
As I entered, I heard some noise. I turned around as Luke stepped into the room.
How did you get in here?
Like I would tell you.
Luke unsheathed his sword and we fought again. This time, I wasn't going to let him escape. We exchanged blows, but I was way stronger than him. After just a few more hits, I was able to defeat him. That's for Lionel. Just then, I noticed that Luke had dropped some stuff. It looked like a key and a map. This key must be to the back door of the compound. All of a sudden, I felt power coursing through my veins, and I leveled up into a lieutenant. I even grew a mustache and got some cool new shades. Wow, look at me! I looked at the map. It led to a section of tundra. This must be where they were taking the sword to. Luke must have come back here to get some of his stuff before heading there. But how did he get in? I looked around and found a secret door leading down into the ground. I followed it and it opened up outside the base, hidden behind some bushes. That explains it. I went back and filled the tunnel up, making sure nobody else could get inside. On days 79 to 84, I followed the map to the tundra. It was freezing and I didn't really like it that much, but I passed some different animals, so that was cool. I finally arrived, the freezing air whipping through my hair and mustache. It's freezing. I decided to make myself a little igloo to keep myself warm. I knew Jenkins and his bandits were coming to the tundra. I just didn't know exactly where they would be. I guess the location on the map was incorrect? I went back outside to look around, but then I saw someone running toward me. I hurried to draw my sword, but the person stopped before they could reach me.
Wait, you're not Jenkins.
No, I'm not. Who are you?
I'm Meg. I've been following Jenkins and his crew for a while now. I'm trying to defeat him and save my family.
I'm trying to defeat him too. He's captured my friends and destroyed people that I love.
I'm sorry. Maybe we can work together.
Sounds good to me. How are you going to defeat him? She seemed uneasy.
Honestly, I wasn't exactly sure. I know that I'm a good fighter, but he is really powerful.
So you've been tracking him. Do you know where he is exactly? Meg shook her head.
I followed them, but there was a large snowstorm that came through. I lost my way, so I've been wandering around for a bit.
I invited her inside to get warm. I showed her the map and she got really excited.
Hey, there's an abandoned mine shaft around here.
She took out a pencil and drew a circle on the map.
I'll bet that's where they're headed.
Perfect, let's go! We gathered in all the warmth we could, and then we headed out to the mine shaft. On days 85 to 89, Meg and I went tromping through the snow to the abandoned mine shaft. It was so cold and snowy. We had been walking for a long time when we realized we were back at the igloo. What? How?
We must have gotten turned around in the snowstorm.
This was so frustrating.
You're wasting your time. Jenkins is long gone.
I flipped around and saw good old Tim. Hey, what are you doing here?
Ice fishing.
He didn't have a fishing pole though, so I was really confused. Okay, did you see Jenkins?
Yes, sir. Came around with a cart and headed down the mine shaft. He left though. Still had the cart with him, so whatever it was didn't work. Or did. I don't know.
He shrugged nonchalantly. He must have taken the sword back to his compound. It all felt like a big waste of time. Good old Tim must have noticed I looked a little down because he put his hand on my shoulder.
It's okay, Lieutenant. Here, this'll cheer you up.
He handed me some ingots, which I realized were netherite.
That'll make you a good and proper sword, Lieutenant. Now go save us.
Wow, thank you. Where do you keep finding all of these things?
My secret.
Good old Tim smiled and winked at me. I looked at Meg, who smiled at me, and when I looked back, good old Tim was gone. Whoa, where did he go? I was starting to think that maybe good old Tim was my guardian angel or something. Meg and I shrugged at each other and headed into the igloo for the night. It had been a long and cold couple of days, and we needed some sleep. On days 90 to 94, I invited Meg to come back to the base, and she happily agreed. We gathered some more food along the way, since we figured our friends would be hungry. Once we got there, I repaired my armor and used my smithing table to upgrade my diamond sword into a netherite sword. It was amazing! I swung it around to test it out. This isn't Brink, but it'll sure give Jenkins a run for his money. I also upgraded my armor into netherite. It was going to be tough to beat me. I went outside to show my friends. They got really excited and started cheering me on.
Yeah, Zozo!
You're our hero.
Go beat Jenkins and get our land back.
I felt really strong and hopeful, but I knew there were a few things I needed to do before I could go infiltrate Jenkins' compound. On days 95 to 97, I woke up to the farmers I had helped calling out for me. I went outside and they gave me supplies to finish the statue as a thanks. Using everything they had given me, I got right to work. It took a little bit of time, but soon I had finished the statue. Wow, it looks amazing, guys. We did a great job.
No, thank you, Zozo. You've brought us all in and protected us. It's been a long time since anyone has had hope, but you've given it to us, so thank you.
I looked up at the statue of Brink. I knew that I didn't have the sword with me, but the statue gave me hope that I would find it again. I knew I could beat Jenkins. It was my destiny. On day 98, I went to say goodbye to my friends before heading out to the compound. Just then, Meg approached me from behind.
Zozo, I'd like to come with you. I want to fight alongside you and find my family.
You are more than welcome to come. We crafted Meg some better armor and weapons, and then we made one last trip around the base.
You take care of yourself, Lieutenant.
Will do, Nick. Take care of the base for us. If anyone else needs help, let them in.
For sure.
I talked to Caleb. He rummaged around and gave me and Meg another potion of healing.
Now go and be triumphant, young hero.
Thanks. We stopped at Izzy last. She gave me a beautiful arrangement of flowers.
Thank you for saving me, Zozo. Now go save everyone else.
Will do. I then left Izzy's house. If you want to support the last of our journey, be sure to subscribe. The more people we have, the stronger we can become. And with that, Meg and I headed out to the compound of Jenkins. On day 99, Meg and I arrived at the compound. We snuck to the back door and used the key Luke had dropped. It worked, and we snuck up through a tunnel into a large room. There were bandits everywhere. We decided to charge in and fight them. Meg and I fought our way through all of them easily, making our way to some stairs.
Zozo, I'm going to look for my family. You go find Jenkins.
Be safe. She went down the stairs and I went up further into the mansion. There were a few more bandits on the way, which I easily took out. I finally came to a large dark red room. It was incredibly creepy. At one end of the room, there was a lava lake with a pedestal. On top of it was a sword. That has to be Brink, but it's different than what I had imagined. I started towards it, but then felt something hit me backwards. It was Jenkins! He must have been hiding behind a pillar, waiting for me. His red sword blinked.
Young police officer, why won't you just stop bothering me?
I'm here to bring justice to those you have wronged. He laughed at me.
Sure. Do your worst, rookie.
I charged at him and our swords clashed. Then I noticed that my sword was not really effective at all. I needed to get Brink sooner rather than later.
Just give up. You're no match against me.
If that's so, then why couldn't you wield Brink? He yelled in anger.
It's just a silly, stubborn sword. I thought freezing it in the tundra mine would work, but it didn't. But it doesn't matter. I don't need a dinky little sword when I have this.
He swung his sword around, slicing at me. My health went down, but I hurried and drank a health potion. Thank goodness for those. I was able to maneuver around Jenkins and hit him, causing him to stumble. I knew this was my chance. I ran towards Brink, reaching towards the hilt. Jenkins ran after me, ready to swing.
No!
On day 100, Brink released from the pedestal into my hands. I felt an amazing surge of power, and I transformed into a bigger and stronger police officer. I was now the chief of police. I had robotic features, and the power from me stunned Jenkins for a second. Give up, Jenkins! He growled, and I attacked him. Our swords met, and his shattered into dust.
No!
He tried to run away, but I attacked. Jenkins was defeated in one single blow. I did it! I jumped for joy. I knew I would retrieve the sword and defeat Jenkins. We could all go home now. I hurried down the stairs and helped Meg release the prisoners. They all went back to their homes, finally at peace that the land was free of Jenkins. Meg and I made our way back to the base with her and Izzy's families. We all celebrated the victory, happy to know that everyone was safe. On day 1, I spawned into the Dover Mountains as a courageous firefighter. Well, a baby firefighter anyway. It looks like I've got a long way to go when it comes to developing all my firefighting skills, but I didn't have time to practice at a leisurely pace. A huge hulking fire ogre jumped down right in front of me.
There you are, little firefighter. I thought I burned every last one of you, but it seems I missed one. I've got to be losing my touch.
Wait, who are you?
Oh, silly me. I haven't introduced myself. I'm Larson the Fire Ogre. I'm called Larson because it rhymes with arson. And I just want to watch the whole world burn.
You'll never burn the world, Larson. Not if I have anything to say about it.
But you won't have anything to say, kid, because you're just gonna be a sad little pile of ash.
Before I could think up a witty comeback, Larson blasted me with a fireball. Lucky for me, my fire-resistant coat deflected the worst of it, but it wouldn't do that twice. I just had to run. I need to figure out a way to stop that diabolical fire ogre, or the whole overworld is gonna burn. On day 2, I continued fleeing through the Dover Mountains. I could smell smoke in the air, and that certainly didn't make me feel good. 10 hearts. Uh-oh, that's not much. I need to stay safe, or I'll never be strong enough to stop Larson from setting everything on fire. But I needed to get some food first, because my hunger bar was dangerously low. Lucky for me, I found some apples lying around on the ground, and decided to eat them as a quick snack.
Ha! You walked right into my trap!
A huge red manticore leaped out of the trees, ready to battle.
I'm a friend of Larson's. He sends his regards. You know, kid, you've got no future. Either I get you or Larson will. Either way, your fate is in our hands.
The red manticore didn't seem like a nice guy, so instead of sitting around for his lecture, I turned and ran for the hills, or rather the mountains. I guess running is a valuable exercise for a firefighter. But it didn't take long for me to tire myself out and collapse on the ground. It was totally humiliating. But I felt a sudden burst of energy when I saw a huge blue ogre looming over me. Oh no!
Please, be not afraid. I assume you probably met my brother Larson. He's a bad guy, and I'm not like him. I'm Brian the Blue Ogre, and as my blue color suggests, I'm pretty chill.
I got back up, feeling immense relief.
Phew, it's really nice to meet someone else who doesn't want the world to burn down.
And I'm not the only one either. Welcome to the Resistance, little firefighter. Come with me.
On day 3, Brian the Blue Ogre led me across the Dover Mountains, soon reaching a large and roaring fire.
This is a controlled fire, by the way, so there's no need to fight it.
Fair enough, that makes sense. I walked ahead to the fire and saw an old calico kitty warming herself.
Ah, a firefighter. It's been a long time.
What do you mean? You met a firefighter once before?
Oh, yes. One of them saved my life years ago. I was stuck in a tree, and it was a firefighter who came and saved me. I owed my life to him after that, and took care of him in his twilight years. He passed down his precious fireman's axe to me, and I swore I'd one day give it to another firefighter to carry on his legacy of doing brave and heroic acts.
I'd be honored to accept his fire axe.
Then take it, and a stone pickaxe, and go make yourself a new fire station. You alone will be able to put out the fires and keep this land safe.
He gave me the stone pickaxe and the stone fire axe. Inspired by the tale that Calico Kitty had told me, I took them and left to go back to Brian the Blue Ogre to begin my quest in earnest. From day 4 to day 5, Brian the Blue Ogre and I went out and discovered the perfect place in the Dover Mountains to set up a base.
What kind of base will we create, Zozo?
A fire station, of course. We need to get out there and put out fires anytime we can, at any hour of the day or night.
That sounds exhausting and extremely stressful, but it also sounds like the right thing to do.
I started cutting down trees with my axe to collect wood and mining up stone. With all that, I started building the most basic parts of my new fire station base, the barracks, where Brian and I could sleep at night. When the base was done, Brian came over to me with a gift.
Zozo, I got you another valuable item for your firefighting quests. It's a bucket. You can fill it up with water and use it to put out fires.
That's perfect, Brian. It seems like I've got a really cool firefighting loadout. But fires wouldn't be the only threat that I'd need to face. A gaggle of nasty rats came skittering out of the forest, and I needed to put my fire axe to lethal use in order to defeat them. Wow, I'm pretty good with this thing. Wait, what's happening to me? The XP I'd gained from defeating the hell rats was enough for me to level up. I got bigger, stronger, had 30 hearts, and a new power, a fire hose. I'm like a real firefighter now. From day 6 to day 8, I smelled some smoke in the ebony woods and ran there immediately to put out some fires that were raging amongst the trees. I'm putting out fires everywhere. I hope I can continue to get to places on time, or there could be a real disaster. Speaking of disasters, I soon came face to face with a terrifying gang of undead scorpions. Could they be the ones who caused the fire? I better ask them a few questions. Get it? Axe? Yeah, nobody has a sense of humor around here. With the fireman's axe I'd inherited from the firefighter of old, I took out each one of the undead scorpions. The axe wasn't as fast as a sword, but what it didn't have in speed, it made up for in power. Soon enough, I defeated the entire gang of undead scorpions. With the area cleared, a new presence stepped out from behind the trees. It was a darkness ostrich.
That was impressive work, stranger. You seem like you can handle yourself in another.
I'm a firefighter, not just a fighter. Why would I fight your fights for you?
Because I'm fast. If you and I work together, I can be your advanced warning system for fires across the overworld.
Well, that's actually a really good point. Lead the way. From day 9 to day 10, I followed the mysterious darkness ostrich to a clearing in the ebony woods, where I saw an even more ominous ostrich in the distance.
That's my brother, the hell ostrich. He was once a good ostrich, but he gave in to the temptation of evil. Now he's barely a shadow of what he used to be. He needs to be destroyed for his own good.
Wow, there are a lot of warring brothers out there. Guess I'll do what I can. I ran in and tried to battle the hell ostrich with my fire hose and axe, but it was so incredibly fast, it unleashed a devastating attack on me before I even got a chance to take it down.
I have demon energies, firefighter. There's no way you're ever gonna defeat me like that.
And as much as I hated to admit it, he was right. I ran back to the darkness ostrich, feeling ashamed. Looks like I still have some training to do before I can mercy defeat your evil brother, Darkness Ostrich. Why don't you come crash on my base in the meantime?
It can't hurt. It does get lonely out here in the ebony forest, after all.
From day 11 to day 12, I returned to the fire station and constructed some lodging for the Darkness Ostrich. I made sure to make the ostrich's room have a dark-like vibe to suit its nature.
I went to tell the Darkness Ostrich that I'd finished his lodging and was surprised to see that the station had expanded while I hadn't been watching.
Would you like to see the new storage room?
I'd better make sure all of this is up to the latest fire code and guidelines, so lead the way. The Darkness Ostrich took me inside the storage room, which is an ideal place for storing all our firefighting equipment. He also showed me a furnace, which was in perfect condition for heating the station without being a fire hazard in itself. After looking over both of these additions to the base and approving of them, I listened to the Darkness Ostrich tell me a bit more about the evil that we'd be fighting, aside from just fire.
My brother, the Hell Ostrich, turned evil right around the same time as Larson, the Fire Ogre, started the rampage. I don't know if it's related, but brothers shouldn't have to fight brothers. That's why I wanted you to deal with him.
Get that, I really do. But I'm a firefighter, not a brother fighter. I can't tell you why family doesn't always get along. Afterwards, I decided to make myself a stronger fire axe for the battles ahead, so I went to gather some iron ore from the mines. I then smelted the iron and made an iron axe and iron pickaxe as well to make it easier to dig for the materials. The next step in making the fire station into a sustainable base was building a farm for sheep and herding some sheep into it. You never know when you need some wool, even if it can be highly flammable. From day 13 to day 15, Brian the Blue Ogre came into the fire station to offer me some of his chill wisdom.
You've built this fire station into something quite admirable. The battle against my brother Larson, the Fire Ogre, will be arduous and ongoing, so remember to maintain your cool.
The Fire Ogre's blazes are some of the most dangerous I've ever seen. How do you suggest I train to withstand those scorching attacks?
You should focus on your health and durability. Surviving the flames is the first step to overcoming them. Go to the Ebony Woods and find your strength.
Following Brian's advice, I went on a walk through the Ebony Woods, admiring the gorgeous view of the trees. That view was interrupted by the sudden appearance of a red manticore, no doubt sent here by Larson the Fire Ogre to start some kind of brush fire.
Nice trees! It would be a shame if someone burned them down.
Stop right there, red manticore. I'm going to prevent this forest fire before it happens. I drew my iron fire axe and struck the manticore with a heavy blow. The manticore bit back, but I stood my ground and continued to hack away until the manticore was defeated. My victory was rewarded with a rare health potion drop. I drank it down and felt my strength rising to a new level. I now had an incredible total of 60 hearts, and I could smash through solid walls. From day 16 to day 19, I found myself in another beautiful forest, the Flower Forest. The great outdoors sure was grand, but these biomes were the most at risk when it came to fire. I stayed vigilant in case Larson the Fire Ogre or another one of his evil red manticore minions was planning to cause trouble. Further into the woods, I happened to find a book of information lying on the ground. Flammable objects shouldn't be left on the ground, so I picked up the book and gave it a read. There are many paths to becoming strong in the overworld, and one of them is the path of demons. By embracing the evil instincts in their heart, a creature can learn to destroy any obstacle or enemy. But because balance is a natural part of the overworld, those who choose the path of demons are opposed by the rescue warriors, who follow a path of protection. I pondered the words on the page for a while, thinking of Larson the Fire Ogre as well as the Hell Ostrich. Both of them seem to have chosen this path of demons.
We follow the path of demons too, and we'll use our evil energy to destroy you, fireman!
I looked from the book to see I was surrounded by red manticores. They had ambushed me, but I wouldn't let them win so easily. I wasted no time drawing my iron axe and chopping them down. From day 20 to day 22, I gathered more iron from the mines and smelted the iron ore into iron ingots. I then used the ingots to craft my first piece of iron armor, an iron chestplate. With this extra bit of protection, I felt strong enough to face the Hell Ostrich of the Black Forest. I'll settle this family score for the Darkness Ostrich. That should put me on the right path. I arrived at the part of the Black Forest where the Hell Ostrich resided and found him immediately.
Ready to be destroyed again? I'll happily walk all over you until you learn your lesson.
The only one who is learning a lesson today is you, Hell Ostrich. You followed the path of demons, but it ends here. I used my iron axe to carve out my own path to victory. The Hell Ostrich's attack speed was much greater than my own, but thanks to my armor and higher health, I endured his attacks and used my slow but powerful hits to take him out. The Hell Ostrich burst into flames upon being defeated. I saw a flashback in the raging fire. The flashback showed the Hell Ostrich and several others gathered in a place with magical mushrooms. The most intimidating among them was Larson the Fire Ogre.
Today begins our pact to follow the path of demons. we will gain the powers of destruction and burn the overworld together.
To my great surprise, I saw my twin brother amongst the gathered creatures. What was he doing there? From day 23 to day 26, I went back to the fire station and told the Darkness Ostrich about my successful battle with the Hell Ostrich. It was a tough fight, but I did what needed to be done.
You are truly one firefighter, Zozo. There needs to be someone like you to fight the evil of this world.
I know that now more than ever. There's more creatures who are following the path of demons, including Larson, and none of them will rest until the overworld is burned to the ground. With my new determination to fight fire soaring to new heights, I descended into the mines and dug up some more iron ore. To complement my iron chestplate, I used my next few ingots to make an iron helmet and iron boots. It's not exactly fireproof, but it will keep me from getting hurt by most conventional attacks. Back above ground, I reunited with the Darkness Ostrich, who had just finished building a massive wall around the whole fire station. This is a really nice wall. I'm surprised you completed it so quickly. I wasn't gone that long.
I'm not just speedy when I'm running. I build things fast too.
From day 27 to day 31, I was walking through the flower forest to make sure that it was still safe from the hostile mobs. Instead of any red manticores, I saw a white lioness. That must be a good sign.
You're the firefighter that protected our forest from the red manticores. Thank you for your service.
You're welcome, White Lioness. A firefighter must always be ready to protect the overworld.
If you don't mind, I'd like to spend some time at your fire station, just to make sure we're all in good hands.
Sure, the fire station is open to the public, so you can stay as long as you want. I took the White Lioness back to the base and built a room for her to stay. Our fire station family was growing larger, so I decided to spruce up the base a bit. From the sheep farm, I was able to gather a bunch of sheep's wool, which I used to create decorative banners to put around the base. Remember to keep these banners away from open flames, everyone! Afterwards, I ran into Brian the Blue Ogre, who despite his usual chill attitude, seemed concerned.
There's a fire in the nearby mountains. It's probably Larson. Now is the time to act.
If even you are worried, that's enough reason for me! From day 32 to day 35, the Blue Ogre and I hurried to the source of the fire and saw that the area was swarmed with red manticores. This is bad! Those red manticores must have set everything ablaze!
Larson is definitely behind this, but I don't see him.
I fought my way through the flames with my iron axe and saw the Calico Kitty from before, the same one who gave me my original fire axe. Kitty!
Zozo, help me! Please, rescue me!
Don't worry, Kitty, I'm coming! Just then, another blast of flame lit up the area. The Calico Kitty was burnt to a crisp before I could do anything about the fire. No, I was too late!
You can't stop the fire, Zozo. It's always been burning since the overworld's been turning.
Enraged by the red manticore's taunts, I charged forward and jumped through each and every one of them. Then, I put out the fires to prevent any further destruction to the environment. From day 36 to day 39, I went on patrol in the Ebony Woods to root out the other minions of Larson the Fire Ogre. Near a pond in the woods, I met a humble old turtle who gave me a friendly greeting and offered me a quest.
Hello there, firefighter! I heard that the overworld has had a lot of trouble with the ones following the path of demons. I know of a giant in these woods that is also using demon energy for evil, so I thought I'd report it.
Thanks, Turtle. I'll get right on that so that the woods can be safe for you again. I wandered deeper into the woods until I came upon a giant. At his size, it was pretty hard to miss. At a glance, I could tell that he had the same wicked vibes as the Hell Ostrich, so I approached with my weapon drawn. The giant tried to attack me, but I defended myself and hacked him down to size. The bigger they come, the harder they fall. I returned to the turtle and told him the good news. As a reward, the turtle gave me some information regarding the ones following the path of demons.
I saw this once before at an earlier point in my long life. Creatures who wanted to cause destruction gathered together and formed a pact. Their demon powers grow stronger the more that they destroy, especially if they destroy good guy rescue warriors like yourself. Just be careful, okay?
From day 40 to day 43, I returned to the fire station to find that the inside of the rooms had bookshelves and couches. This is a good place for books because we can keep them safe. But who added these to the base?
It was me, Brian. I'm inviting another Blue Ogre friend to the fire station so that we can chill out. He's not related to me and Larson, though.
Wow, I had questions, but I guess you answered them already. And if you want to chill with a friend here at the base, that's chill with me.
Thanks, Zozo. You're a cool friend.
Sometime later, the other blue ogre that Brian was friends with arrived at the fire station. Please, make yourself at home. I left the blue ogres to their hangout and went to repair my axe. When I was finished with fixing up my axe, I was approached by the white lioness who had a new mission for me.
Zozo, I've learned that an evil ghast is in the flower forest. I can't go home until it is defeated.
Was this ghast your sibling or friend by any chance?
No, just a regular evil ghast. Why do you ask?
I was just curious. It seems like everyone has an evil twin these days. From day 44 to day 49, I went to the flower forest for the quest of the white lioness and found that some forest fires had been started. I ran straight into the flames, ready to put them all out. Thank goodness I got here in time before it spreads even more.
You said it, Zozo. Now I can see you burned up at last. Then nothing will stop our destruction.
Larson, you won't be getting away with this. I'll put this fire out and put you down.
Well, I'd personally enjoy fire blasting you until only ash remains. Somebody else from the path of demons wants to take you on.
Someone else? Who could it be?
You'll find out.
Larson disappeared into the flames and escaped. I tried to follow him, but a terrifying husk blocked my path. There was something kind of familiar about this husk, and it freaked me out.
Hello, brother. It is me. You left me behind.
Wait, no, you're my brother. Why are you working with Larson?
Because I've followed the path of demons, and now I'll destroy you and grow even more powerful.
This is horrible, but I have no choice. I have to fight you, brother. The husk of my brother attacked me, and I countered with my iron fire axe. The fight was difficult, not just because of the damage I was taking, but because my feelings were being hurt too. From day 50 to day 53, I fought on against the husk that was once my brother. My fire axe continued to strike true, but he had health to spare. I, on the other hand, was losing a lot of hearts.
Why are you holding back? We are enemies now, brother. I must destroy you, and you must try to stop me.
I don't want to, and maybe that's why I've been holding back this whole time.
Is this all your great life of becoming a firefighter amounted to? My evil will undo all the good you've done in the world.
If that's how you feel, then I refuse to hold back any longer. Take this! I went all out against the husk and felled my former brother with a few well-placed axe strikes. He disappeared, leaving behind a bunch of diamonds. I remember these diamonds from back when my twin brother and I were kids. I found them inside of an abandoned mine. I told him to keep them when I left to become a firefighter. He held on to them all this time. It's so tragic. I'm sorry, brother, but I will avenge you by defeating Larson, the fire ogre. From day 54 to day 57, I found the ghast that the white lioness had mentioned. It screamed at me and attacked at range. I dodged through the blast and approached with my axe. With no hesitation, I cut the ghast down in one hit. I returned to base and told the white lioness that the flower forest would now be safe to return to.
Thank you, Zozo.
You're welcome.
Is something bothering you?
I had to defeat my twin brother because he followed the path of demons and became an evil husk. It's left me really conflicted about how much of a hero I really am. I couldn't save him from turning evil.
That's rough, buddy. But you're not the one to blame. It was Larson, the fire ogre, who gathered all those creatures, promising them the powers of destruction. There will always be creatures out there who want to watch the overworld burn. But as long as you protect and rescue those in danger, you're definitely a hero.
That really helped. Thank you, White Lioness. I will keep fighting fires and saving people for as long as I am able. From day 58 to day 62, I went to the mine and discovered a vein of diamonds, which I could use to craft better gear. I traded out my iron pickaxe for a diamond pickaxe right away, but I took some extra time when I was crafting my new fire axe. I used the diamonds that my twin brother had to create a powerful diamond fire axe in his honor. I'll never forget you, brother, even if you did turn into a husk and try to defeat me. I returned from the mines to find that a brand new living area had been built, including a contained fireplace. Brian, the blue ogre, was hanging out near the bookshelves and welcomed me the moment I stepped in. Brian, did you do all of this?
Yep. It took me a while to find the setup for the fireplace that was most safe, but I think you'll be happy with it.
Of course I am, buddy. Thank you. From day 63 to day 66, the Darkness Ostrich came to find me in the mines with some crucial information.
Hey, Zozo! I've run around all across the overworld, and I think I discovered the fungal patch where the creatures following the path of demons made their pact.
Great work, Darkness Ostrich. I knew I could count on you to find out where Larson the Fire Ogre is hiding away.
Well, I don't know for sure that he's there, because I haven't seen him. But if you go there, it's possible that you'll see him.
I decided to give it a shot, heading straight to the mysterious biome known as the Fungal Patch. It certainly resembled the place that I saw in my vision, but like the Darkness Ostrich said, there was no sign of Larson. I heard some movement among the mushrooms and braced for a fight. The source of the sound turned out to be a leatherworker who wasn't in the mood for a fight at all.
I'm not with those Path of Demon guys. I'm just trying to make some supernatural leather to work with.
I guess that does make sense. You are a leatherworker. How can I help? This place is dangerous on your own.
Yeah, I'll show you, Firefighter. Follow me.
From day 67 to day 70, I went with the leatherworker to another part of the fungal patch. I soon spotted an Enderman walking around the fungal patch looking for innocent lives to destroy.
That thing has the leather I need, but too afraid to get close. It has the powers of the Path of Demons.
I'll handle it. If that thing made the pact with Larson the Fire Ogre, it's got to be stopped. I attacked the Enderman by surprise and scored the first hit. It attacked me and did a bit of damage, but my diamond fire axe struck true the next time. Even though it had longer limbs, I stayed in close range and hammered away until the towering being fell. It also dropped the leather that the leatherworker was looking for.
Thank you for your help, Zozo. You're the best.
From day 71 to day 74, I spotted some fire in another part of the fungal patch and ventured towards it. That fire would most likely lead me to Larson the Fire Ogre. He was still very strong, but I was ready to try and fight him. Wish me luck, and don't forget to search Zozo in order to find more of the Zozo videos you love. I reached the spot where the fungal patch fire was burning and saw Larson the Fire Ogre adding to it with more fire blasts. Your path of demons isn't going any further, Larson. I'm fighting your fire with fire fighting.
What do you hope to accomplish, Zozo? I've got flames you can't hope to tame.
He hit me with a fireball that scorched me and did a ton of damage. I struck back with my diamond fire axe. My shock, it barely did any damage. He hit me with another fireball, and I almost lost my footing. I could barely stand, so I turned and ran away from the fungal patch. Our fight would have to happen another day. From day 75 to day 78, I regretted my loss against Larson the Fire Ogre in my room at the fire station. Fighting fires was what I was meant to do, and as long as I couldn't defeat Larson, there would always be uncontrolled fires. I can save myself, but I can't save anyone else. Suddenly, the White Lioness came to see me. I thought you headed home to the flower forest.
I came back as soon as I heard you were doubting yourself. I need to show you something.
I followed the White Lioness to the outside of the base and found that a watchtower had been built next to the fire station.
With this, you'll be able to spot fires all over the overworld. You'll get your chance to face Larson the Fire Ogre again, when you're ready.
Thanks, White Lioness. You always know what to say. I went to hang out in the living room and met with Brian the Blue Ogre, chilling out as usual.
I've come up with a plan for how you can defeat my evil brother, Larson.
Let's hear it.
If you eat this magic golden carrot, you'll have the chilled out powers over ice, as well as a boatload more health.
That just might turn the tide, Brian. Thank you. I went outside and ate the magic golden carrot and became a massive super firefighter with the chill ability to fire blasts of ice. I had 100 hearts as well to make sure that I could survive many battles. From day 79 to day 84, I went back to the fungal patch to see how my new chill powers would stand up against another pack of demon grunts. I was attacked by a piglin brute, so I used my ice blast to freeze the mob solid before chopping it with my diamond fire axe. A traveling snow golem saw the fight and applauded my skill.
That was totally cool. You chilled the piglin brute out and put him on ice.
I'm glad you thought it was neat. These ice powers are brand new, so I'm still getting the hang of how to use them to fight fires.
You're a firefighter. I should have known because of that uniform you're wearing, but that's really cool too. You guys are heroes. If I was around fire, I'd melt from fear.
I'd recommend avoiding the fungal patch then. There's a powerful fire ogre out here who just wants to burn and destroy things.
Oh, really? Thanks for the heads up. I'm gonna go head to a place a bit more chill, but take this helmet for your troubles. Firefighters have a good helmet after all.
That's no problem, buddy. Sorry, bad pun. The snow golem gave me diamond leggings, which I equipped. I was more prepared to fight than ever, and not just fires. From day 85 to day 89, I went back to my base, which was currently on fire and under attack by the red manticores. Starting a fire at the fire station. That's a new low.
There's no low to which we of the Path of Demons won't sink to. We're just that rotten, mean, and nasty.
You're about to be frozen too, along with those other adjectives. I launched Ice Blast at the red manticores, which put several of them on ice. Afterwards, I hacked them all down with my diamond fire axe. Soon, there were no more red manticores left outside the fire station. But there was a fire out on the horizon, so I went to put it out. I traveled a long way from the base until I found myself in a small village where many of the buildings were on fire.
Firefighter Zozo, help us please. Larson the Fire Ogre set all of our wooden houses ablaze.
Never fear, the firefighter is here. I used my fire hose to douse the flames rapidly and repeated the process until every house in the village was saved from the fire.
You protected us. How can we ever repay you?
Don't worry about it, villager. Fighting fires is its own reward. From day 90 to day 94, having helped the villagers, I searched for the red manticores all the way deep into the fungal patch. Why would anyone live here? This must be where the big boss Larson the Fire Ogre himself hangs his hat. When I arrived in the heart of the fungal patch, I couldn't see any red manticores. Instead, a Vex emerged from the darkness.
You must be Zozo, the firefighter. That's funny. I was expecting someone far more impressive.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, Vex. Unlucky for you, I'm not sorry about defeating you.
How fiery of you. Let's see if we can turn up the heat even more.
From day 95 to day 97, I started my battle with the Vex. With his demon strength, he was one of the toughest enemies I'd ever battled. But there was one thing I knew for sure. I was right that Larson had a base in the fungal patch. He wouldn't send out his very best warrior if he wasn't scared I was getting too close to the truth. Knowing this made me fight harder than ever before. With my Ice Blast and my axe, I defeated the Vex. I'm getting a burning feeling that my quest is really getting exciting now. On day 98, knowing everything I needed to in order to battle Larson, I decided to make my peace with my friends back at my base. Either I'd come back from the lair of the Fire Ogre victorious, or I wouldn't come back at all. First, I spoke to the White Lioness.
You've convinced me, Zozo. You're a true firefighter and a true hero.
Second, I spoke to the Darkness Ostrich.
You were capable of defeating the Hell Ostrich, something I was never able to do. I believed you can win the day.
And finally, I spoke to Brian the Blue Ogre, the first kind person I'd met since starting my firefighting career.
I know you'll do what's right, Zozo. I lost my brother a long time ago. You can finally put him to rest and save the world from the fiery end. Do it, Zozo. Do what's right.
On day 99, I traveled into the dark heart of the fungal patch. I knew that Larson was hiding out here, and if I didn't stop him now, once and for all, he might burn the whole world down to the ground. But when I was outside of his lair, I realized this wouldn't be a one-on-one battle between me and the Fire Ogre. There were a whole bunch of those evil red manticores waiting outside. Now Larson may be evil, but he sure is smart. If I fight all those manticores, I'll be exhausted by the time I actually face the big boss. I heard footsteps coming up behind me. I turned and saw that it was the leather worker I'd helped before.
Howdy, Zozo. I can help you out. You get in there and put out that ogre's flame. I'll keep all those manticores distracted. Finish this!
You may be a leather worker, but my friend, you have the heart of a true firefighter. While the leather worker distracted the manticores, I ran straight in. On day 100, I ran into Larson's lair, ready to face him and finish this once and for all. He stood there in all of his terrible fiery glory, ready to battle me.
Firefighter, so you're finally ready to give yourself up to the flame.
You're so obsessed with fire. I'm amazed you haven't burned your own place down yet.
I'm planning on doing my place last. I'll burn everything eventually. But hey, you know what they say? The ogre that burns twice as bright burns half as long.
The time for talk was over. I needed to put out the flame. I blasted Larson with Ice Blast after Ice Blast, dueling the power of his demon flames. He fought viciously with all the burning power we'd learned to expect. But in the end, it was one decisive strike of my diamond axe that took care of him for good. I didn't start the fire, but I'm the one who put it out.
On day 1, I spawned into the Sika Woods as an adorable little fire rabbit. I may just be a wascally wabbit, but if you mess with me, that doesn't mean you won't get burned. I decided to hop through the woods and explore, hoping I wouldn't accidentally set anything on fire with my burning bunny body. At least I know I'll never get cold. I wanted to stay optimistic, but it got a lot harder when a big, scary bug came crawling out of the forest behind me. It was a Myrmex soldier.
Halt! By order of Her Majesty, the Myrmex Queen. What is your business here?
Don't worry, sir. I was just looking around. I spawned nearby. I can just leave if you want.
Not so fast. We've been told to keep a lookout for suspicious rabbits, and you're both suspicious and a rabbit. Come with me.
But what if I don't want to come with you?
Then I'll just have to take you by force.
I didn't like the idea of being taken by force, so I turned and hopped away as quickly as I could. I may have not had any weapons, but at least I was extremely fast. I'm just a baby fire rabbit for now, with only 10 hearts, but if I can get away from these creepy crawlies, I'll be able to get bigger and stronger. But my little self-pep talk was interrupted by another Myrmex soldier popping out from behind a tree and stopping me in my tracks.
Don't you know it's rabbit season, silly bunny? Us Myrmex soldiers are everywhere in the Sika Woods. You better come with me, or someone, somewhere, is going to enjoy a bowl of rabbit soup tonight.
That was clearly a threat, so I decided to play along and follow him so I could save my fire rabbit skin. On day 2, the Myrmex soldier pushed me all the way to a weird, bee-like looking hive base on the edge of the woods. Not the kind of place where I'd typically like to spend my day. What is this place?
This is the hive, you misbehaving little rabbit. This is where me and my fellow Myrmexes live with our wonderful queen. She's currently in a different biome on royal business, but when she returns, she'll question you personally.
How long will that take, though?
It will take as long as it takes. Do not question the judgment of our beloved queen.
He didn't talk to me much after that. I was taken to some kind of holding cell in the hive and pushed inside to wait for the return of the queen. But she could be gone for weeks. I don't want to be trapped in here for all that time.
You're telling me?
I turned and saw a pink pixie fluttering around the cell, looking bored.
I'm Paris, the pink pixie. I feel like I've been trapped in here forever. I was just flying through the Sika Woods, minding my own business, when those Myrmex goons grabbed me and dragged me in here for being suspicious.
Sorry for making assumptions here, but can't you use your pink pixie magic to get us out of here?
Nope. These walls are magic-proof.
But are they fireproof? I walked closer to the wooden fence gates until they caught fire and the blocks started breaking. Soon enough, we were free. As we escaped, a Myrmex soldier almost caught us, but we managed to get out of there.
Thank you for freeing me, Zozo. I'm going to go see my family. They're probably worried about me, but I hope we meet again someday.
I hope that too, Paris. Safe travels. Paris left, and I decided to get out of the Sika Woods before more Myrmexes were sent after me. On day 3, I found my way into the meadow, where I figured that no Myrmex soldier could ever find me. Man, escaping that hive was hungry work though. I wonder if there's some food around here that's perfect for a little fire rabbit like me. Not long after, I found a patch of carrots. Perfect! I dug them up and ate them, feeling my hunger bar replenish. It made me feel a whole lot better. Until another, bigger rabbit hopped over to me, and he didn't seem pleased.
Hey, those are my carrots you just ate. They were prized, award-winning, and you just ate them without even asking me. Do you have any idea how messed up that is?
Oh no, I'm so sorry. I didn't know they were yours. I never would have eaten them if I did.
You think that makes me feel better? I'm still down a bunch of carrots. We rabbits should stick together, not steal from each other.
Is there any way I could make it up to you in the name of rabbit solidarity?
Well, there are a few favors you could do for me. Follow me. I'll figure out a way for you to pay off your debts.
Thank you so much for your forgiveness. I'm Zozo, by the way.
I'm KR. Let's go.
And I followed KR, eager to get back into his good graces. From day 4 to day 5, KR escorted me back to his base in the meadow. He must have been pretty brave to live out here in the middle of nowhere.
This is my place. Don't tell anyone about this place under any circumstances.
Why?
Because I like my privacy. Don't ask too many questions. It's not a likable quality.
Inside the base, he explained to me exactly how I could repay him for eating his special carrots.
As you know, the world is hard for little rabbits like us. People think they can pick on us, look down on us, and I've seen too much of that throughout my life.
I've kept a list of the kind of people who have made my life harder over the years. Rabbit haters, you know? Help me get through my list, and not only will you be happier, you'll have repaid your debt.
That sounds like something I could do. Where should I start, KR?
You can start by getting out of here and making your own base. It'd be dangerous for us to be seen together. Take this stone sword and stone pickaxe and make something of yourself before you come back to me.
He gave me the tools, and I got out of there. The meadow gave me the creeps, so I decided I'd set up my base in the ebony woods instead. I used the pickaxe to mine some stone. I made myself an axe and cut down some trees for wood. I found a nice clearing in the forest and built myself a basic base where I could at least sleep with a roof over my head for the night. But when I was done building, I got my first unwelcome visitor, one of the Mermex soldiers who had captured me earlier. There you are! I knew you were the killer rabbit, and now I'm gonna put you down. Killer rabbit? What? That's not me. I'm not gonna listen to your lies. Time to battle, you bad bunny. He seemed strong, and as I felt like I couldn't beat him. I summoned up my strength and leveled up. I got bigger, stronger. I now had 20 hearts and a new ability, the fireball attack. And with one blast of that fireball, the Mermex soldier was gone. I really am living up to the Fire Rabbit name. From day 6 to day 8, I was exploring the Ebony Woods a little further. It was a strange and magical place, made even more magical by a sudden reappearance, Paris the Pink Pixie. I immediately hopped over to meet her. Hey, Paris, is everything okay?
I wish I could say it was Zozo, but no, something terrible happened. I went to see my family, but they were all gone, and their home was destroyed. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Oh, Paris, that's terrible. Do you want to stay at my base? I can help you in your time of need.
Thank you, Zozo, but right now, I need to be alone. We'll speak again soon. Be safe out there.
Paris the Pink Pixie left. I felt terrible for her and started to wonder if maybe the ones who'd destroyed Paris's family were the same ones that KR warned me about. Maybe it was time to begin my quest. I returned to KR's base in the meadow and asked him what I should do first to complete my mission.
Your first target is the hairy troll further into the meadow. He's a violent, dangerous individual, so you should take him out with extreme prejudice.
Do you think he could have been behind the destruction of the Pink Pixie family?
What? How do you know about that?
I know the survivor.
There's a strong possibility. But don't ask him about it when you meet him. Just destroy him. He'll try to deceive you.
From day 9 to day 10, I followed KR's instructions and went further out into the meadow. Wow, this is vast and empty. But I pressed on. I needed to avenge Paris and repay my carrot debt to KR. There was no backing out now. Suddenly, the hairy troll jumped out and ambushed me, ready to attack.
I knew he'd send someone after me. Of course he'd be too cowardly to go after me himself. Pathetic.
Cowardly? No. What's cowardly is destroying a whole family of pink pixies rather than picking on someone your own size. I'm just doing a favor for a friend.
You have terrible taste in friends. I've never hurt any pink pixies.
He told me you'd lie. Let's battle. The hairy troll was a tough enemy, but with my sword and fireballs, I was able to defeat him in the end. Shortly after his defeat, a wolf woman came out of the forest.
Wow, you really fried that troll. I had no idea anyone could do those awesome fire tricks.
Thanks. I don't like hurting people, but I needed to stop him from ever hurting anyone, like he hurt the Pink Pixie family.
Oh, the Pink Pixie family. I heard about that. It was terrible. But I don't think a troll was behind that. It was some kind of other creature.
So, the attacker is still at large? Oh no, I need to speak to KR about this. From day 11 to day 12, I returned to KR's base, telling him that I'd defeated the hairy troll, but that the one who'd attacked the Pink Pixie family was still out there somewhere.
If the hairy troll wasn't behind it, then it must be the Thorn Wolf, a truly dangerous and evil creature that lives deep in the Ebony Woods. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the Thorn Wolf was behind the Pink Pixie family attack.
Thorn Wolf? Even the name sounds scary.
It's definitely a scary creature. I recommend getting better weapons and tools before you go to destroy it. Otherwise, you may find yourself at a disadvantage.
Good idea, KR. I'll get right on it. I found my way to a cave in the meadow and explored until I found some iron ore veins inside. I used some of my spare stone to make a furnace, then mined the iron ore and smelted it into ingots.
Now time to do some crafting. I created an iron sword and an iron pickaxe, an iron chestplate, and then left the cave, where I ran into a creeper spider. Oh no! Rather than engaging, I ran away as quickly as I could. The creeper spider exploded behind me, leaving a huge crater in the ground. From day 13 to day 15, I ventured further into the ebony woods than I ever had before, my little fire rabbit heart filled with fear. If the thorn wolf really was as powerful and as dangerous as KR told me, then I could be in real danger even being around here. As I was exploring, I heard a sound behind me, so I turned and saw the thorn wolf. He was right there, and I was totally surprised. I braced myself for an attack, but he didn't attack. Instead, he spoke with a kindly voice.
Is everything okay, young rabbit? You seem nervous.
Are you the thorn wolf?
Oh, yes. It is my duty to patrol the ebony woods and protect the creatures there.
So you're not a bad guy?
Well, we always try our best, don't we? Stay safe out there, little rabbit.
The thorn wolf left, and I was confused. He was nothing like KR told me. Something really wasn't right here, and I needed to speak to KR immediately. From day 16 to day 19, I returned to the meadow to find KR's base, but it was empty, and KR was nowhere to be seen. This is strange. Maybe he's just out there running some errands. I returned to my base, only to find that Paris the pink pixie was there waiting for me. This couldn't have been a good sign. I knew that much. What's wrong, Paris?
Zozo, it's an emergency. I know who destroyed my family.
Who?
It was a creature they call the killer rabbit. It's one of the most dangerous things in the overworld.
Killer rabbit? KR. Oh no! And just like that, it all came together. KR was the killer rabbit, and he was behind everything. That meant I needed to get back to the thorn wolf as quickly as possible. He was in terrible danger. And I was right, and I didn't realize it soon enough. When I was there, Thorn Wolf was already gone, and only the killer rabbit remained.
I wondered how long it'd take you to figure it out. Oh well, you are at least a good tool for a while, even if you're useless to me now.
I don't get it. Why were you using me like that?
I needed a fall rabbit, someone to take the heat for me, and who's better at taking heat than a fire rabbit. Besides, you really did eat my carrots, and I couldn't let that fly, could I?
You may have used me, killer rabbit, but now I'm gonna take you down. I fired a fireball at him, and it seemingly had no effect. And when he hit me, it was like being hit by a train. Everything went dark, and I was gone. From day 20 to day 22, I woke up, and the killer rabbit was gone. Instead, a mysterious figure was standing next to me, a large hippogriff.
Do you work for or with the killer rabbit? Answer quickly.
No, I only ever worked with him when he was tricking me. Now I know who he truly is. I'm 100% against him.
Good, then we have a common enemy. I am Laharl the Hippogriff, and I was a friend of the Thorn Wolf. We were defenders of the people, guardians of the forest. But now he's gone, and only I remain.
You're not alone. I want to be better. I'm Zozo. Let me become a guardian of the forest too. We're going to defeat the killer rabbit together. Come to my base with me, and we'll start to plan.
Agreed. We will defeat that monstrous creature and keep the people of the forest safe forevermore.
I went into the forest with a Laharl, and we gathered enough stone and wood to construct a new house for him to stay in. Together, we'd be stronger than we'd ever been before. From day 23 to day 26, I was hopping back through the Sika woods where I first spawned when I saw the pink glow of Paris the Pixie. Predictably, Paris the Pixie was in peril, perpetuated by a pestering pursuer. Excuse me, so much alliteration.
Zozo, is that you? Help! This wind serpent is trying to blow me away!
The wind serpent did indeed look fierce, but even a gust of wind will only fan the flames of this fire rabbit. I hopped forward and hit the wind serpent with a fireball. The slithering mob stopped chasing Paris and started to fly towards me. We battled it out in melee, and I was able to bring it down with my sword.
Somehow I knew I could count on you, Zozo.
I'm just glad you still trust me. I attacked all the wrong people because of KR, and I let that menace run free all the while. That killer rabbit gives our kind a bad name.
You weren't the only one fooled by his goody-good act. Don't worry, Zozo. I know that you're out here trying to do the right thing.
Doing the best that I can, and I'll work with anyone else who is willing to help me take that lying killer down.
Count me in. My family got hurt because of his wicked ways. He won't be getting away with that.
Thanks, Paris.
From day 27 to day 31, I found a flock of sheep wandering through the woods. They looked really tired, like they had been walking for several days. I hopped over to see what was going on and soon found out what had happened. These sheep were friends of the thorn wolf from the ebony woods, and since he was gone, they'd been looking for a new protector to save them from the killer rabbit. You'll be safe at my base, sheep. Not only is it back where you used to live, but I'll be your protector now. When I got back to my base in the ebony woods, I helped the sheep settle in and then went to go see how Laharl was holding up.
Welcome back, Zozo. I made the base cooler by adding some red banners.
Wow, awesome work, Laharl. All the buildings of the base now had awesome rabbit banners on them, which suited me just fine. Meanwhile, over at the real Killer Rabbit's base, not the pretend base over in the meadow, he was now in the process of maniacally planning his next wicked plot from his evil lair.
Now, there may be a few people around who know that I'm the Killer Rabbit, but I think we can arrange some accidents for those individuals. What say you, my fine warden dragon friend?
If there's anyone who is good at causing accidents, it's me. They might as well call me Daisy. First name Oopsie, full name Oopsie Daisy. You just had an accident of the "you're not gonna be around anymore" kind.
We're really gonna need to work on your threatening lines there, Oopsie.
It's difficult. My evil boss is a rabbit. Sorry, boss.
You better wise up. I'm not just any rabbit. I'm a killer rabbit.
From day 32 to day 35, I remembered that one of the Mermex soldiers that I had encountered said that they had been looking for suspicious rabbits. So I made the choice to go and seek out the hive of the Mermex queen. I might be a rabbit, but I know what suspicious one they might be looking for. If I tell them who the killer rabbit is, maybe all the other rabbits will stop being captured like I was. I made it to the hive and found that it was guarded by Mermex soldiers. I guess I should have expected that.
Halt and stay halted.
I'm not halting. I'm here to see the queen.
Like we'd fall for that one, rabbit.
The Mermex soldier tried to fight me, but I dodged his attacks. I didn't want to hurt anybody while I was trying to make an alliance, so I shot a fireball away from them to let them know who I was. Look, I'm not the rabbit you're looking for. I've got fire powers.
Fire powers? But that means you're the one who broke out of the cell.
That is true, but only because I shouldn't have been there in the first place. I know which rabbit really did the crimes, so he should be the one who does the time.
Okay, we still have questions, but that rhyme convinced us to take you to the queen.
Yes, don't be mean. Let me see the queen.
You can stop rhyming now.
The Mermex soldiers let me inside of the hive so that I could have my important meeting with the Mermex queen. Naturally, the room where I was able to speak with the queen was her own throne room.
I am the Mermex Queen. What is your request to my majesty, small rabbit?
It concerns the fate of all the land, your Mermex queenliness. I know who the killer rabbit is.
You do? Oh, at long last, that monster has been found. How do you know about him?
He went by the name KR, and now he's on a new spree of attacks on innocent creatures all throughout the biomes.
He always was like that, even in my mother's time. She was the Mermex Queen before me, and when the creatures of the woods started being attacked, she suspected everyone but the innocent-looking rabbit. It was her mistake, because the killer rabbit claimed her as another one of his victims. I had to take over the throne, just as my mother's killer went into hiding. I've been hunting him down ever since.
It's such a sad story. I promise to help you bring the killer rabbit to justice with all the fire in my heart.
There is more, but it's far too painful to talk about. You should go home for now. I will send a soldier to visit once I've emotionally prepared myself.
From day 36 to day 39, I got ready to take my armor up a notch in defense by preparing to go back into the cave for some more iron ore. The killer rabbit was a lot older and more experienced than me, so I had to be all the more prepared for our eventual showdown. I soon found a spot in the cave where iron was abundant and mined away, adding the iron ore to my inventory. Next, I got out my crafting table and smelted the iron ore into the iron ingots I would need to craft the rest of my armor. That should do it. Alright, time to become an iron fire rabbit. I made myself an iron axe since I had been gathering so much wood lately, and an iron helmet, iron leggings, and a pair of iron boots to complete my full set of iron armor. You can't see it on my fur, but believe me, it's there. Now equipped with all this brand new iron gear, I ventured deeper in the cave and found that beneath the iron, there were a few diamonds to be mined. I made sure to get them before I left. Later on, I was back above ground when I got an unexpected visitor. He was half rabbit and half wolf. A rabbit wolf.
Hi there. Bet you never met nobody like me before.
Hey, you're right.
Anyway, the Mermex Queen said I could leave the dungeon cell at the hive if I went and brought you back to her.
Let me guess, her soldiers locked you up because you were a suspicious rabbit?
Well, yeah, I mean, look at me. I'm such a suspicious rabbit. It's hard to know if I'm even a rabbit. Anyway, you should go meet the Myrmex Queen over in the Ebony Woods.
From day 40 to day 43, I went to meet the Myrmex Queen over in the Ebony Woods. Your queenliness, I am excited to work together and solve these crimes.
I knew the rabbit wolf wouldn't fail to bring you here. If you ever see him again, make sure to thank him for me.
I certainly will. So, are you ready to tell me more about the killer rabbit and his previous rampage?
Yes, it's time you knew everything about what happened with him.
Even though we had met in a secret location and were trying to keep our conversation quiet, Oopsie Daisy the Warden Dragon had super powerful hearing and was able to pick up on our voices from another part of the woods.
Oopsie daisy, time for an accident to happen. On purpose.
He barged into the clearing and fired a sonic laser blast at me, which did many hearts of damage. Hey, what's the big idea?
Nothing. I just happened to be totally unintentionally getting rid of two people who know who the killer rabbit is. By accident.
Aha! Now I know who you work for. You just said it was the killer rabbit.
Ah, darn it. I actually didn't mean to do that. Oh well, I'll just make you disappear. Then nobody will know.
He fired another sonic blast my way, which I almost avoided. I countered with a fireball that didn't seem to do much. I looked around for the Myrmex Queen and saw that she had escaped while I had been talking to the Warden Dragon. Yeah, I should probably do the same thing. I ran off into the woods, trying to go a different direction so that the Warden Dragon wouldn't know who to follow. From day 44 to day 49, I had gotten away from the Warden Dragon and safely arrived back at my base. I never expected the Myrmex Queen to be there as well, waiting to continue our conversation from where we left off. I was happy to see that she was okay and could fend for herself, even without her soldiers. I guess the killer rabbit knows we both know about him. That's why he sent that Warden Dragon to destroy us.
Perhaps he needs to rely on his henchmen now, because he isn't as strong as he used to be.
You mean that he used to be stronger? He totally demolished me the last time we fought.
Well, he still is the killer rabbit, but he used to carry around a secret rare battle axe that made it really easy for him to make anyone he wanted disappear forever.
He was a killer rabbit with a killer battle axe? That's so scary. How did you stop him?
I didn't. A mysterious mob known as a Crimson Phantom laid a curse upon the battle axe so that the killer rabbit could never use it again.
I know. Maybe if we find this battle axe, we could use it against him.
Didn't stop the killer rabbit from being evil, but it did weaken him.
Then I'm off to the meadow.
That's good thinking, Zozo. I heard that the battle axe was crafted deep down in the depths of the meadow. You can find some clues about it there.
From day 50 to day 53, I delved all the way to the end of the meadow in order to find out more information about who crafted the battle axe that the killer rabbit used in his previous reign of terror. After a lot of searching, I came across an abandoned workshop that looked like it was once used for smithing weapons. This must be the place, I reckon. I found a book near the crafting table that was titled Axemaker's Notes and opened it up to read the words inside. I have made a lot of axes out of a lot of different materials in my day, and boy do I love doing it. It's my favorite thing to do in the whole wide world. In fact, it's the only thing I do. I'm the axe maker after all. But this latest axe, it's not like the other ones. It's got an evil aura around it, like it's too sharp and too scary just to be used on trees. This axe seems like it could kill someone. It's a killer axe. I better get rid of it before someone uses it for evil. Oh, wait, what's that? Someone is coming. The sentence in the book ended there, and the rest of the pages were blank. Oh no, the killer rabbit must have snuck up behind the axe maker and gotten rid of him so he could steal the killer axe. What a fiend! Still, from what I'd read, the battle axe was a powerful weapon. It must be able to hurt the killer rabbit if he was willing to do so much to get it. I looked around for more clues, but couldn't find any, so I gave up and started to head back to my base. From day 54 to day 57, I was making my way through the meadow when I happened to pass by the area where I had found those carrots before. Didn't the killer rabbit say that those carrots were his? If I know rabbits, and I probably do because I am one, then that could mean that the killer rabbit's base might be around here too. I was excited that I had discovered a clue, but that excitement was quickly lost when the Warden Dragon showed up to blast me with a sonic laser attack.
Oops, pardon me. That time I was trying to get rid of you, and I accidentally didn't do enough damage.
You did enough, actually. You don't have to do any more damage.
No, I think I do. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna do all the damage to you.
As much as I wanted to, I was still not strong enough to take down the Warden Dragon, so I made my escape as quickly as I could. Even though I didn't find it, I was right about the killer rabbit's base being nearby. The horrible hare was there right now, scheming up a storm.
Soon, yes, very soon, I will find a way to reverse the curse and take back my battle axe. All of them will pay then.
From day 58 to day 62, I had made it back to the base and saw that Laharl had created a storage room for all of our weapons. Great work, Laharl!
Thanks. I just figured since you were talking about a rare secret killer battle axe, I should make some room for it. One thing led to another, and now there's a whole room full of every other weapon we had.
There seems to be a lot of empty spaces. I guess I'll have to make us some more.
We could definitely use some diamond ones, since we don't have any yet.
Good point. I'll see if there are any more diamonds down in the mine. I went down to the mines, and it was just my luck. There were some more diamonds right in the same cavern where I had found the previous ones. I dug all around so that I could have enough for a diamond weapon to put in the weapon storage room. Once the diamonds were gathered, I chose to craft 2 diamond swords, one for myself and one for storage. I also crafted a diamond chestplate and a diamond pickaxe because diamonds make everything better. From day 63 to day 66, Laharl and I were hanging out in the base when our conversation suddenly turned serious.
When are we gonna do something about that killer rabbit, Zozo? He's starting to become a real problem for everyone.
I know, Laharl, but I can't even defeat the clumsy Warden Dragon he sent to make me disappear, much less the killer rabbit himself.
But if you had that secret rare killer battle axe, you might stand a chance.
But that's the trouble. I don't have that secret rare killer battle axe.
Not yet you don't, but I think I might know where it is.
Take me to it then. Don't you know how serious I am about wanting to stop the killer rabbit? Laharl listened to how serious I was and took me to the eroded Badlands where we found some cursed ruins. We walked up to them until we hit an invisible barrier. How did these ruins get so cursed?
A long time ago, the Crimson Phantom put a curse on these ruins that won't let anyone else enter.
The Crimson Phantom? Isn't that the same creature that cursed the battle axe?
Yes, but it looks like we need to get him to lift the curse before we can check to see if the battle axe is here.
From day 67 to day 70, the Myrmex Queen came into the base and told me that she had also been searching for the Crimson Phantom.
He's been sighted in the Ebony Woods, but my guards weren't able to capture him. He's even taken a few down.
I didn't realize this Crimson Phantom was such a dangerous creature.
He sure is. I could really use your help bringing the Crimson Phantom in.
Then let's do it. You can count on me, your queenliness. We left my base and went through the woods to find the Crimson Phantom flying away after having just defeated one of the Myrmex soldiers.
You'll never take me alive. I'm the dang old Crimson Phantom, you bunch of goofballs.
Knock it off, Crimson Phantom. We need your help.
Nah, who needs my help?
He attacked, so I had to blast him with fire. The Crimson Phantom was definitely strong based on the way he tanked my attack. So I whacked him a few times with my diamond sword. Please, don't fight. We just want to stop the killer rabbit, and we know that you do too. You put a curse on his battle axe so he couldn't hurt people with it.
So what if I did? It was probably the nicest thing I ever did for anyone.
It doesn't have to be if you help us again. Please, Crimson Phantom.
Ah, shucks. How can I say no to an innocent rabbit?
And just like that, I convinced the Crimson Phantom to help us retrieve the secret rare killer battle axe so we could defeat the killer rabbit. From day 71 to day 74, that pesky accident-prone Warden Dragon showed up at my base to try to get rid of me again.
Come on out and face me, Zozo. What's the worst that could happen? It will.
I hadn't gotten any stronger since we fought before, but my weapons and armor were a bit more durable, so I hopped out and decided to take him on. Take this, Daisy! Fireball! I circled around the Warden Dragon, shooting fireballs and trying to avoid his sonic blast. I wasn't fast enough, and my armor couldn't protect me. I took many hearts of damage. I got down to just half a heart. Oh no, is this how I'm gonna go out?
Apparently not, because instead of doing you in, I'm accidentally going to steal your best friend Laharl and completely not on purpose hold him hostage somewhere.
You monster! Why?
I don't know. I'm not sure why I do anything anymore, but I am evil.
The Warden Dragon dragged Laharl away, and there was nothing I could do about it because I was too weak. I can't do this! I'm just a rabbit! I went to the room to mope about it and closed myself away from everyone else. I couldn't let them see me after such an embarrassing defeat. That was until the Crimson Phantom arrived.
Hey there, Zozo. Don't blame yourself for what happened. You'll get Laharl back.
You really think so, Crimson Phantom?
Of course I do. And once you do, you won't have to worry, because I've given your base some sweet defenses.
He wasn't kidding. The Crimson Phantom had made a wall around the base, which had a curse on it so it wouldn't allow any of my enemies to pass through. From day 75 to day 78, I learned more about the perimeter wall, like how it would only let people that I trusted into the base. The Myrmex Queen was definitely someone I knew I could trust. The perimeter wall let her right through. Greetings, your queenliness.
Zozo, there is one more thing I didn't tell you about the killer rabbit, but I'm going to tell you what that is now.
What is it, Myrmex Queen?
Your friend, Laharl, he kept this secret from you because he wanted to protect you. The truth is that the curses of the Crimson Phantom can be reversed by the feathers of a live hippogriff.
You mean that now the killer rabbit can…
Reverse the curse and reclaim his ultimate weapon, yes! You must go and rescue Laharl before the killer rabbit extracts his feathers.
I will. I think I know now where in the meadow his base is. The Myrmex Queen gave me some javelins to serve as a ranged weapon and wished me luck as I departed. From day 79 to day 84, I searched for the killer rabbit's base in the meadow. I knew that it had to be somewhere around where I had found that fateful carrot patch. Sure enough, Oopsie Daisy the Warden Dragon was wandering around in plain view of that area. He had taken Laharl captive earlier, and now he was going to tell me where he was. Hey you, give me back my friend.
Oops, you aren't supposed to find me.
Well, now I have, and I'm gonna scorch you. I rained fireballs and javelins down on him from a distance, but it still wasn't enough, and his sonic blast still hurt quite a bit.
What was I worried about? It's not like you could defeat me even if I accidentally let you.
I was beginning to think I was done for, and then Laharl swooped down from above and attacked the Warden Dragon while his sonic blasts were focused on me.
Oh no, I should have seen that coming, but I accidentally did not.
Laharl's attacks did enough damage to bring the Warden Dragon down and defeat him for good. After the Warden Dragon was defeated, I approached Laharl. Laharl, you're free.
I sure am, Zozo. That Warden Dragon accidentally let me go before we even got to the lair of the killer rabbit. I've just been down here in the meadow, trying not to get caught again.
At any rate, I'm glad you managed to get away. I was worried about you.
I found something else while I was down here. A golden apple that is said to imbue the one who eats it with true strength, as long as they are pure of heart. It's yours now, Zozo.
Gee, thanks! I'm starving! I ate the golden apple and could feel myself transform. I must have been pure of heart because I grew into a supersized fire rabbit and had a grand total of 60 hearts. My jump was given a big boost too, allowing me to reach higher heights than ever before. From day 85 to day 89, Laharl and I went back to the base where things were once again becoming super ultra serious all of a sudden.
Zozo, it is time. I'm gonna take you back to the eroded Badlands so we can get that battle axe.
But how are we going to bypass the curse? Oh wait, aren't your feathers the way to do it?
Yes, my feathers can make a magic key that will let you get through. I held off on telling you until I was sure that you were pure of heart. But now that I know you are, and that you won't become another killer rabbit once you get the battle axe, I can give you the key.
Laharl gave me a bunch of his hippogriff feathers, and I crafted them into a key.
Use the key at the ruin. It'll be like I am with you.
I did as my good friend Laharl said, and traveled back to the cursed ruins in the eroded Badlands. With the magic key, I was able to bypass the curse and enter the ruins. Inside, I found the battle axe, lying in wait for me to claim it. I'm gonna put the magic key that Laharl made away. It'd be pretty silly if I accidentally reversed the curse and made it so that the killer rabbit could use the killer axe. After I had safely stowed the key, I took the secret rare battle axe from its place and left the ruins. From day 90 to day 94, I stepped out of the ruins and found the killer rabbit standing out there to confront me in the eroded Badlands.
How do you do, fellow rabbit?
It's over, KR. I have the battle axe now, and you'll never break the curse on it.
That's the thing about you, Zozo. You always think you understand everything. That's why it's so easy to trick you.
Nuh-uh. This time I do understand everything. I understand that you are a ruthless monster who must be stopped before he hurts anyone else.
But think of what we could accomplish if you joined me. Nobody would disrespect us bunnies anymore. We would be the top of the woods.
I'll never join you, killer rabbit.
Suit yourself. By the way, I accidentally picked up some feathers that your hippogriff friend Laharl dropped down in the meadow.
That's not good. The killer rabbit leaped forth and wrestled with me for the axe. I was a strong rabbit, but he was still stronger. And before I could stop him, he reversed the curse on the axe and took it back.
No, you tricked me. I thought I understood, but I didn't.
You're too naive. Now wallow here in this sand pit.
He jumped on the sand I was sitting on, and the impact of his landing made the sand collapse, so I fell into a deep hole. From day 95 to day 97, I used my boosted jumps to slowly but surely make my way back up to the surface of the eroded Badlands. There was no time to lose. Now that the killer rabbit had the super secret rare killer battle axe, he was going to go on his biggest spree of attacks yet. And I know who he's gonna go after first. I rushed back to the Sika Woods and entered the hive of the Mermex Queen. Her soldiers were destroyed, and that wasn't even the worst part. In her throne room, the Mermex Queen was dying after having just been attacked by the killer rabbit and his killer axe. No, your queenliness!
Zozo, so you made it.
I'm so sorry. I tried to stop him, but he tricked me once again. And now he's wiped out your entire hive.
Do not worry. As long as there is a Mermex Queen, the hive will be able to replenish itself. What you must do now is get the battle axe away from him at all costs.
I'll do it. Even if I have to risk everything, I will do it.
In a few days, my final egg will hatch and become the new queen. You need to protect her for me.
I will, your queenliness. She passed on, leaving me behind in the world that I must save. On day 98, I returned to my base in the Ebony Woods and found that the perimeter wall and the rest of the base was destroyed. Laharl was there, but nobody else had survived the attack.
He came for the Crimson Phantom, Zozo, to make sure that he was never cursed again. Now the battle axe is his forever.
Don't say that, Laharl. I know that you and I get serious sometimes, but we always keep on trying to make things better.
The only reason he left me alive is in case anyone else cursed the axe, so that I could reverse it.
So that killer rabbit only spared you for his own reasons. That makes me so mad.
He'll probably fool you again if you give in to your emotions.
Well, my emotions are pure right now, and every spark of fire in my being demands justice.
Then what the heck? Go get that battle axe. You're strong enough now. I can feel it.
Laharl cheered me on as I marched off through the woods. On day 99, I arrived in the meadow with a burning passion in my heart. I was ready to take down that killer rabbit with all my strength and all of my fire. Once I was inside his base, I came face to face with my nemesis once more.
You never learn, do you, Zozo? Like fire, you think you're bright, but when it rains, you go out.
The only reign I see now is your reign of terror, and it ends here.
A clever use of two words that sound alike, but you've forgotten already that I have the killer axe.
Actually, it is you who has forgotten. That battle axe was accidentally forged to be evil, but it was touched by a hero who was pure of heart. I jumped at him, and once more, we wrestled with the axe. This time, I managed to get it away from him and ran out of his base. The secret to the battle axe that I was finally able to understand was that it was cursed twice. Once I was back home, I used some more of Laharl's feathers I found in his base to undo the first curse that happened when it was made, turning it into a weapon of pure goodness and justice. Now, no evildoer could ever wield it. Only I could wield the battle axe. On day 100, I returned to the meadow with a new and improved super justified hero axe and faced off against the killer rabbit.
Why did you come back? I might have let you live for a while.
I had to. There's a whole world out there that needs to be protected from rotten rabbits like you. There's a young Mermex Queen who will hatch today. There is a hippogriff who is my best friend. For them, for everyone, my fires of good will burn out your evil. The killer rabbit hopped at me, but with the battle axe in my hand, my attacks were strong enough to take his hearts away.
Curse you, Zozo!
Haven't you got it yet? I can't be cursed. I blasted him with fireball after fireball, and then swung the battle axe down on him, ending the fight. There is a new rabbit in this land, and he's a protector rabbit. On day 1, I spawned in as a medieval knight. And look at that, I already have iron gear and 10 hearts. It was a good thing I had the gear, because I was immediately attacked by a group of hoglins. Where did you guys come from? Since I had an iron sword, I was able to defeat the first few with no problems. The last, however, started to run away. Hey, get back here! The hoglin ran into the woods and I ran after him, but soon I couldn't see which way he went. Which way did he go? I ran in the direction he had been going before, and soon stumbled on a large fort in the distance. I could see the hoglin looking down at me from the second floor. I started running toward the entrance of the fort when suddenly the ground opened up and I fell into a dark hole. Ah! 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 Why am I still falling? Just as I was starting to think I might be falling forever, I suddenly landed in a pool of water. Where am I? I swam out of the pool and saw I was in a dimly lit, dark underground area. And what was this? Now I only have 5 hearts? I was so confused. Maybe this was all just a bad dream. I saw a good spot to rest and set up a small camp. Maybe if I could fall asleep, I could wake up from this nightmare. On day 2, I woke up, still in the same place. I decided it was best that I look around and try to find out what was going on. Level 100. Guess I better see what's behind this door. I climbed up the stairs and saw another door, which was also labeled. Level 99. Okay, interesting. I'm guessing level 1 is how I get out of here. This is gonna be quite the journey. I better start looking for the door up. As I walked further into the room, I realized that this didn't look like a room at all. The area was a dark jungle, and there was even a sky. This must be some kind of powerful magic. I better start collecting some supplies. Who knows what could be hiding out here? I started by knocking some cocoa beans off a tree, then started punching the trees to collect some wood. After I had gathered a decent amount, I started walking through the trees to look for a door. I soon found a nice pond to stop at to rest. As I rested, I was suddenly attacked by a pack of mungai. What did I do to you? These little guys were vicious. You saw them from afar, you would probably think they were pretty cute, but it turns out they were all just a bunch of little imposters. Shouldn't you little minions be helping a supervillain somewhere? They put up a tough challenge, but my iron sword was too much for them, and ultimately, they were all defeated. Sheesh, I gotta hurry and find that door. I kept wandering through the forest and eventually saw something glowing off in the distance. Is that it? Is this the door to the next level? I opened it up and headed up the stairs. On day 3, I emerged onto level 98. Okay, it looks like that was the door to the next level. I'm glad I didn't run into any more mobs, but I'll have to keep an eye out. Turned out I needed to keep an ear out too, because just then, I heard someone calling for help.
Help me! Can someone help?
Who could that be? I rushed toward the sound of the voice and stumbled upon a man being attacked by a group of mungai. Uh-oh, not more of these fun guys. I hopped in with my iron sword and started slashing away. I could tell they had nearly killed this poor guy. What do you think you're doing? You belong in soup. I swung away until there was only one left, and as I killed the last one, my iron sword broke. Well, I'm glad they're gone, but so is my only weapon. Anyway, how are you doing, buddy? The man rose to his feet. He was clearly hurt, but was hanging on.
That was a close one. Thank you for rescuing me. I was a dead man for sure.
No problem. Say, do you know what's going on here?
Well, one moment I was walking through the forest looking to sell my wares. I'm a traveling merchant, you see. And the next I was falling down what seemed to be an eternal pit. I landed at the bottom and have been trying to make my way out ever since.
Sounds like we're in the same boat. If we stick together, we can get out of here faster.
C'est magnifique. Let's do it. Oh, zut.
The merchant tried to take a couple of steps, but his leg was clearly hurt.
It's my leg. But do not fret, mon ami. We will persevere. By the way, my name is Benoit. What is yours?
The name's Zozo.
Zozo what?
Just Zozo. Sorry, I phrased that weird. Let's go! On days 4 to 5, we had made our way up a few floors to level 95. On the previous floor, I had crafted some wooden tools to fend off some weaker mobs, but nothing too major had happened. Benoit's leg was keeping us from moving too fast, but everything was going well so far. Hey, it looks like there's some stone deposits up ahead. Let's try and get some stones for new tools. Benoit took a seat while I got out my wooden pickaxe and started mining out some stone. After I had mined out a decent amount, I put down my crafting table and fashioned together a full set of stone tools. I also made an extra sword so Benoit could defend himself. Here you go, Benoit, just in case anything happens. Using my new stone pickaxe, I decided to keep mining into the stone deposit. Maybe I could find some iron. As I continued to dig through, I couldn't believe what I found. Is this the next door? Why was it buried under the stone? These doors aren't going to be as easy to find as I thought. I opened the door and sure enough, there was a staircase leading up to the next level. Come on, Benoit, let's see what's waiting for us ahead. On days 6 through 8, we reached level 93, and I noticed things were a little different than the other floors. A few monkeys scampered by, and I could see an arena up ahead. Something doesn't feel right. Benoit, I think you should hang back while I go check things out. I approached the building slowly, but I didn't see anything, so I stepped inside. Just then, I heard a thump as a big bun fungus slowly emerged from the shadows and into the light. Easy there, big guy.
Carrot, give me carrot.
I don't have a carrot, but maybe we can find you something else.
Give carrot or you carrot.
Me carrot? I'm not a carrot.
No, you carrot. I eat carrot.
Me no carrot.
You carrot.
No carrot.
Carrot.
The bun fungus lunged at me and attacked. Our conversation wasn't really going anywhere, so it was probably best just to get into it. I'm not a carrot. Knock it off. For as silly as he was, the bun fungus was really strong. Clearly, he was always eating his carrots, which was contributing to his powerful blows. How about you take a bite of this? I swung my sword again and again as he chased me around the arena. He was getting some hits in, but I was holding my own. After a hard-fought battle, I was able to land the final blow, and the bun fungus was defeated. As he disappeared, I noticed he had also dropped a compass and a small crystal. I took a look at the compass first. Door locator. Is this what I think it is? I took a closer look at the compass and could see the compass was pointing me in a direction. I'll have to see if that leads me to a door. But before that, I took a look at the crystal. I'm not sure what this is supposed to do exactly. What happens when I place it? I set the crystal down, and suddenly, an image of a princess began broadcasting out of it.
Hello there. I've been captured by the wizard who controls this fort, and am in need of someone like you to rescue me. Help me, brave adventurer. You're my only hope.
Oh no, she must be in real trouble. I gotta get to the top. I headed back outside and met up with Benoit. I explained the situation and he agreed to help as much as he could. We took out the compass and headed in the direction it pointed us. We soon saw the door and headed inside, but this time there was something different, an elevator. I wonder what that's about. There was a staircase leading up to the next level, but next to the elevator was a power switch, so I flipped it on. Let's see where this goes. Benoit and I entered the elevator and hit the button inside. The elevator started to move. On days 9 through 11, we stepped out of the elevator into a large cave. Wait a second, this is the cave where I started. I took a look around to be sure, but there was no mistake. This was the same cave.
If this brings us back to this floor, that makes me think there will be more elevators on future floors. Maybe we can set up a base here.
That makes sense to me. How are you feeling?
Definitely better, but I don't know if I can keep going up the stairs. How about I get things started down here, and you go look for the princess?
That's a great plan. Before I go though, I think we should set up some kind of distraction to scare away any mobs that might try to come after you. I was thinking I could build a large statue.
Great idea.
I got straight to it, working on the statue. I thought it should be something scary, but also something that could believably be in this world. After a bit, I had finished the first part. This is coming along great. Can you guess what it's going to be? With the first part complete, I headed back over to the elevator and stepped inside. There was just a button inside. I wonder how high it will take me. On days 12 to 14, I emerged from the elevator to see that I had returned to the same level as before. I must have to activate the elevator on a given floor to travel to it. Looks like there's no shortcuts. I then entered the door to the stairs nearby and headed up to the next floor. When I walked out, I saw that the biome was completely new. I was now in a swamp biome. This is a swamp, but the water looks off. In fact, it looks poisoned. To test this out, I headed to the edge of the water and tossed some wood I had into it. With a sizzle, the wood disintegrated completely. Oh, I'm gonna have to watch my step. Otherwise, that could be me. Unlucky for me, though. I could see my only way forward was going to be jumping on lily pads across the swamp. I sure hope those parkour lessons were worth it. I jumped ahead, landing on the lily pad. I had some close calls, too, as some of the lily pads were actually drop leaves. That could have easily dropped me into the poison. Phew, I'm glad I made it across. Well, let's find that door. I started heading in the direction of the next door. I really hope I'm not too late to save the princess. As I was walking, I was suddenly attacked by a giant mosquito. No hugs, no hugs. The mosquito was vicious. I tried to keep it away, but it kept wrapping itself around me, trying to bite me. It did some serious damage. Get off of me, you bloodthirsty psychopath. I managed to knock it back and hit the mosquito with my sword, finally defeating it. Ugh, I don't want to run into another one of those ever again. I kept following the compass and headed off to find the next door. On day 15, I had made my way to floor 85 when I saw a house in the distance. Another house. I wonder if there's another monster hiding inside. I gotta be careful. I took my sword out and started sneaking up to the door when the door swung open. Charge!
Wait!
I stopped running and realized it was just an old woman. Oh, sorry about that. I'm not used to meeting people who don't attack me.
That is quite alright. I'm not used to meeting new faces either. I've heard of many people coming to this place, but so far none of them have made it this far. You must be the most skilled of them all.
Thank you, but you mentioned others? What do you know of this place? The woman took a deep breath before beginning her story.
Hundreds of years ago, a young wizard lived alone in the mountains. In his isolation, he became a powerful wielder of magic. For a time, he would show others his magic, but was laughed at and bullied for being weird. Then one day, a young knight asked him for his help uniting the broken kingdom. The pair forged a powerful friendship, and peace was restored to the land. However, the young knight, now king, wanted the wizard to do more. He didn't just want peace in his kingdom, but he wanted to control the entire world. When the wizard refused, the king banished him. Now he lives here, capturing and toying with wayward knights and explorers as revenge for what his friend did to him.
That's awful. It almost makes me feel bad for him.
Don't. He didn't have to do this. He made his choice. He's nothing like the wizard he once was, and has been corrupted in his anger.
I see. Well, that helps. I better get going. The wizard has to be stopped. You should come with me.
Thank you for the offer, but I'm actually quite happy with the new life I've built. It suits me here. But I have something that should help you.
The old woman tossed out a potion of endurance. I picked it up and took a drink. Immediately I felt my strength returning, and I regained all 10 of my hearts. Oh wow, I feel amazing. Thank you for this.
You're very welcome, young man. Take this as well. You might find yourself needing it out there.
She threw out a poison resistance potion, which I picked up. Thanks again for all of your help. I'm sure we'll see each other again. On days 16 to 19, I was traversing the swamp when I came across a cave. These stone tools aren't going to cut it for much longer. I should see if I can find some iron in that cave. I headed into the cave and soon saw several iron ores. I got to mining and managed to mine a few of them. Alright, let's go see if I can get a few more. I started making my way down the cave when I heard a horrible roar. I turned around and saw a huge crocodile looking right at me. Uh-oh, this doesn't look good. The crocodile charged at me and attacked. His powerful jaws did a lot of damage. My stone sword felt like it was barely doing anything. My iron armor was pretty weak, and he even managed to break some of it. With armor missing, my health was really starting to drop, so I had no choice but to run away. Okay, you win this one. I ran back out of the cave, and luckily the crocodile didn't follow me out. Man, there was so much more iron in there. How much did I get? I took a look and saw I had gotten enough for maybe a couple of tools, but that was it. Well, I don't have enough to fix my armor and make new tools. I'll only be able to do one or the other. I decided that I would build a sword and do my best not to get hit. I quickly made a forge, smelted down the iron I had, and crafted an iron sword. This is gonna be a risky move, but who knows how likely I am to find more iron. I equipped my sword and snuck back into the cave. As I made my way, I could see the crocodile just up ahead. He hadn't noticed me. With the amount of armor I had left, I could probably only take a couple of hits. Here goes nothing. I sprang into action and started furiously swinging my sword. I jumped forward and back, doing my best to dodge the croc's bites. Despite my best efforts, he managed to get a hit in. Uh-oh, this is gonna be a close one. The crocodile snapped at me furiously, but at long last, I was able to land the fatal blow. Oh man, let's not do that again. With the crocodile out of the way, I mined out the rest of the iron I needed. With the freshly mined iron, I smelted it down and made myself a new set of iron armor, which I gratefully equipped. I'm feeling safer already. On to the next room. From days 20 to 22, I eventually found myself on floor 78, which looked extremely similar to the floor the bun fungus was on, or at least the building in front of me did. Okay, this building looks just like that other one. There's gotta be a scary monster hiding in this one. There was just one problem. The building was completely surrounded by poison water. How am I gonna get across this? I threw down a crafting table and quickly made a boat. I set the boat in the water, but it immediately started smoking and disappeared into the poison. That was when I remembered the poison resistance potion the old woman had given me. I drank it down and jumped into the water. I probably should have just dipped a toe in before jumping all the way in, but it seems to be working. As I crossed, I saw some clay at the bottom of the swamp, so I stopped and mined some of it out. I can use this for the statue. With the clay collected, I continued across the swamp and soon reached the other side. I made my way up to the opening of the arena and took a peek inside, but didn't see anything. The arena was filled with poison, but my potion had run out. I hopped across the drop leaves, just barely making it to the other side. Phew, that was a close one. I don't see anything though. What was that? Suddenly, a strange plant creature rose out of the swamp and started moving toward me. It was a whisperer. Alright, no need to panic. He let out a shriek and started to attack. This whisperer was insane. He would wave his arms, which caused plants to fly up from the ground. He also summoned a large flower that would attack me. Oh, I gotta get out of the way of these plants. I jumped around the arena, using the lily pads to try and get hits in, but his special attacks were making this difficult. The closer I can get, the better chance I'll have. It was risky having to jump across the poison pond, but if I couldn't get close enough to get hits in, there was no way I was going to win. You're not so tough at close range, are you? Finally was able to start wearing him down and let out a flurry of hits. Soon enough, he was down. As he disappeared, I noticed a chest on the other side of the room. What could be in here? I popped the chest open and saw it was full of gold ingots. I'm not sure what I'll do with these, but I'll hang on to them, just in case. With my new loot, I looked ahead and saw the door leading to the next level. Inside of it was another elevator. I flipped the nearby switch to activate it. I'll bet this takes me back to the first level. I should go see what Benoit is up to. I entered the elevator and headed down. On days 23 to 26, I re-entered the cave and saw that Benoit had been making some small improvements to the base. He had set up a small crafting and smelting area, but had another request for me.
Zozo, mon ami, could you give me a hand with this next project? I need a place to sell my wares.
I agreed, and we got to work building Benoit a shop. It seemed a little silly since, as far as I knew, I was the only customer he could have, but he was a nice guy and I wanted to help.
C'est bon, this shop is amazing. Merci, Zozo.
No problem. So have you got something to sell?
As a matter of fact, I do. If you have some money for me, I'd be happy to sell to you.
I don't have any money, but I do have some gold bars. Give me 1 second. I headed over to the crafting area and tossed out some of the gold bars. Using my pick, I managed to shape them into some gold coins. These should work great. I headed over to Benoit and asked him what he had in stock.
For now, the only item I have in stock is a bow and some arrows. I'm hoping to find some more inventory around the caves.
A bow could be really helpful, actually. I'll take it. I tossed Benoit some of my coins and took the bow and arrows off the shelf in return. With my new item, I was going to be even more deadly than before. On days 27 to 31, I decided I would do some work on the statue before heading back up the tower. Benoit seemed to be pretty safe so far, but the sooner we could finish the statue, the safer I felt he could be. Soon, I had finished the second part. Go ahead and put your guesses for what it will be in the comments. And while you're down there, feel free to hit subscribe and ring the bell. I love having you on these adventures with me. Next, I headed over to the elevator to take it back up the tower. On the next level, I saw I was now in a Badlands biome. Okay, I'm starting to see the pattern here. Looks like every so often there's a mini-boss, and then the next floors take place in a new biome. Interesting. I didn't have too long to think about it though, as I was suddenly attacked by a couple of tarantula hawks. Stay back, you buzzards! These guys weren't too big, but they were intense. I was actually really surprised by how strong they were, given their size. They were trying to keep their distance, but I was able to use my new bow to get hits on them. It didn't take too much longer, and I was able to take them all out of the sky. These mobs are getting tougher with each floor. I can't even imagine what's waiting for me on floor 1. That's when I noticed that the durability on my bow had greatly depleted. Hey, what's this? My bow isn't very durable. I'm gonna have to have a chat with Benoit about this later. On days 32 to 35, I had reached floor 64 when I noticed there was some terracotta nearby. Ooh, I'm gonna need that for the statue. I better go pick it up. I mined out a good portion of terracotta, then continued on my way. This Badlands area was huge. It's going to be tough to find the door. As I continued to explore, I nearly ran into a rattlesnake. Oh, watch out! I whipped out my sword and gave it a few strong swings, quickly taking it out. That was a close one.
Not too shabby.
I looked to the side and saw a small roadrunner was watching me.
I saw you fighting tarantula hawks earlier, as well as that snake. The tarantula hawks kidnapped my daughter. Would you be able to help me rescue her?
I'd be happy to help. Show me the way. The roadrunner pointed to where I needed to go and I set off. As I reached the area the roadrunner had mentioned, I realized I had made a mistake. Oh brother, this is obviously some kind of joke. The daughter was clearly a stuffed dummy, and there was a cage suspended right above it, plainly meant to trap me inside. What is this, some kind of kid's cartoon where a roadrunner tries to outsmart those around him? Like I'd fall for that. I took another step forward to get a better look, when suddenly the sand beneath my feet gave way, and I fell into a massive hole. I can't believe I fell for that. On days 36 to 39, I was still falling. This feels like the hole I fell into on day 1. Seconds later, I crashed into a pool of water. I looked around and yep, I was back in the starting cave. You've got to be kidding me, this place is full of jerks. Which reminds me, I need to talk to Benoit about that bow he sold me. I made my way back over to the base and saw Benoit standing in a shop. Hey, that bow you sold me nearly broke after one fight. I paid good money for this.
Oh dear Zozo, I am so sorry. I would never intentionally sell you a poor quality product. Please, let me give you a discount on the next item.
Okay, fair enough. What have you got? Benoit tossed out an enchanted fire aspect iron sword.
I think you'll find this sword is the quality you're looking for.
I closely looked over the sword and everything seemed to be in order. Even with the discount, it still cost me the rest of my gold. From there, I headed back into the elevator and eventually reached the floor I'd been on before. I could see the roadrunner not too far away. Hey you! What's the big idea? Throwing me down that pit? Upon hearing my voice, he jumped in the air and started running away. Hey, get back over here. I've got something to say to you. The roadrunner was fast. I did my best to keep up with him, but it looked like he was getting away. Lucky for me though, he ran into a dead end. Now you listen here, I'm getting really tired of these games. I walked over to him and hit him once with my new sword.
Ouch! Okay, don't hurt me. I'm just so bored and thought it would be a funny prank. You didn't actually get hurt, right?
No, but I didn't think it was very funny. I'm in a bit of a rush, so it's frustrating to have to go up all those stairs over and over again. I'll let you live, but don't mess with me. I left the roadrunner and headed in the direction of the next door. On days 40 to 43, I was exploring the new floor when I noticed something was following me. I turned around and caught a glimpse of who it was. That roadrunner again. He better not be up to something. But just then, a huge guster came out of nowhere and attacked me. This big guy was tough. I tried hitting him with my sword, but he seemed to be immune from the fire damage. He managed to hit me a few more times, and my health was getting seriously low. He even managed to suck me into his vortex and throw me into the air. It looks like this might be the end for me. But before the guster could deliver the final blow, the roadrunner jumped out and finished it off. Wow, thank you. But why are you helping me?
I felt bad for pranking you. Clearly you're just trying to do the right thing. My name is Rhodey. Here, let me show you something I think you will like.
I followed the roadrunner for a bit, and soon saw he had led me to an oasis. There was a small hut nearby too. It looked like it used to be a smithy. You're right, this place is just what I needed. Thanks for showing it to me. Feel free to stick around. The roadrunner agreed, and I went and looked in the chest. Inside, I found some iron ingots, as well as a shield. Using the iron ingots, I managed to repair my armor as well.
Take a look at that tree too.
I headed outside and saw that the nearby tree was no ordinary tree. There were some golden apples growing on it. I walked around the tree and knocked some of them off. These are going to be a huge help in the fight ahead. On days 44 to 49, we continued crossing the desert until we saw a large desert arena in the distance. I could see a corridor ahead leading into the stadium with 2 guards standing by. Hey, Rhodey, why don't you hang back while I check this out? It could be a trap, a real trap. I tried talking to the guards, but neither of them said anything. As I started to walk into the corridor, a bunch of arrows started firing. And this is the only way in? Great. I stepped into the arrows, trying to use my shield to block them. I managed to block some of the arrows, but I still took a ton of damage. With 1 heart left, I finally got through. Yeah, that could have gone better. I finally stepped into the arena. After I had stepped inside, the doors closed behind me. That's not good. Just then, a man dressed like a wither skeleton was standing on a platform at the top of the arena.
Ladies and gentlemen, our challenger has arrived. A big round of applause, please.
Hey, buddy, you know it's just us here, right?
Thank you for that warm welcome. And now, let the games begin.
This guy was clearly nuts. He must have been in the desert for too long. Just then, another door opened and a husk came running out. A single husk? What a joke. This is going to be so easy. Just then, a huge horde came running out after him. I guess it wasn't going to be so easy after all. The husks weren't very strong, but there were a lot of them. To keep them from ganging up on me, I ran ahead to get them in a line. Suddenly, the ground shook and parts of the arena floor opened, revealing pools of lava. What kind of sick games are these? I kept trying to get the husks lined up as I took care not to fall into the lava. Once they were lined up, I started to quickly cut through them, one at a time. It took a little while, but finally, they were all defeated. Okay, yay, I won. Can you let me out now?
We have a winner. Time for round 2.
The floor shook again as some pillars rose up from the floor, and this time, a few giant and normal-sized gladiators came charging at me. How many rounds of this am I gonna have to do? Luckily for me, the two big gladiators turned on each other, with one of them taking the other out. The bad news was that they were now all focused on me. I ran around the stadium, doing my best to try and block the trident throws and get hits in. This was a much tougher fight, but I was determined to win. Eventually, I was able to take out the trident guy, so I could focus solely on the gladiator. You know what they say about the big guys. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. I managed to get the gladiator lined up with a pit of lava. I swung my sword, knocking him in and defeating him.
Ladies and gentlemen, the final round.
The arena shook again as the lava pits and columns disappeared. Then a door opened and a huge scorpion came running out. This wasn't gonna be easy. This was gonna be my hardest fight yet. If I can just stay away from that stinger, I might be able to do this. The scorpion was tough and hit hard. Ouch! You'll pay for that. Suddenly, the arena shook again and the lava pits and columns returned. But this time, they kept moving in and out. That guy just couldn't make this easy for me, could he? Kept fighting the scorpion, and at one point, my health had dropped dangerously low. But I couldn't give up now. At one point, I was able to catch the scorpion in the lava pit, but he was able to crawl back out. Looks like I'm just gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. I kept hitting it with blow after blow with my sword until at long last it was defeated.
And the crowd goes wild! Well done, brave sir, well done. Please take the spoils of your accomplishment.
Another door opened, revealing a room with a chest. I headed over and took a look inside. An elite power bow. And whoa, tons and tons of gold. Just then, Rhodey came running up to me.
Hey, nice job! I was thinking I would keep adventuring with you, but after seeing that, you mind if I live at your base?
That shouldn't be a problem. Let's go. I entered the next room where an elevator was waiting. We went inside and headed back to the base. On days 50 to 53, Rhodey and I emerged from the elevator back at the base. Rhodey was going to need a place to live, so we got right to work building him his own space. I wanted him to feel right at home. When we had finished, Benoit came over and asked if I could give him a hand with the statue. Benoit and I used some of the blocks he had collected to build out the next part of the statue. He said things had been going well since I had been here last, and he even had something new for me to buy in his shop. We soon finished, and I headed over to his shop. Alright, so you said you've got something new for me?
Oui, take a look. I have a whole stack of diamonds. I'm sure these will be very useful for you.
I paid Benoit with the gold I had won from the arena, then took all of the diamonds over to the crafting area. I put together a full set of diamond armor, then used what was left to make a diamond sword, as well as a whole set of diamond tools. That princess has nothing to worry about. I'm on my way. On days 54 to 57, I made my way back up the elevator and stairs and emerged in a frozen tundra. Oh man, it's freezing. I don't know how long I can stay out here. Just then, I noticed that my health started to decrease. I was literally freezing. To make sure I didn't freeze to death, I got right to work building a quick igloo and campfire. This is going to be tough going. I'm not going to be able to survive away from a heat source for too long. Once I had warmed up, I set back out, following the direction of my compass. As I traveled, I kept having to take breaks and set up a small fire to warm up. Eventually, I found the door, built into an ice spike. I made one more stop to warm up. I wasn't sure what was going to be on the next level. Once I was feeling good, I entered and headed on up. On days 58 to 62, I had reached the next floor and noticed that the weather wasn't as bad here. I think my armor is enough to keep me warm. Thank goodness. I was moving at a glacial pace before. I pressed on and soon saw a penguin. How adorable. I should go say hi. I ran up to the penguin when it suddenly attacked. Whoa, I thought you were supposed to be cute and cuddly. I managed to fight off the penguin when I heard something just ahead. I ran forward and saw a bunch of penguins standing around something. It was another adventurer. Hey, leave him alone. I charged and began swinging at the penguins. They were feisty little fighters, but I was able to overwhelm them and take them out. I headed over to the adventurer. Oh no, it looks like he's dead. But what's this? Laying on top of him was a crystal, similar to the one I had picked up earlier. I set it down, and the princess appeared, saying the same thing as the one I had found. But wait a second, this princess looks completely different. There must be two princesses in danger. That's the only thing I can think of that makes sense. I better hurry up. Soon after, my compass had led me to the door, and I headed in and up the stairs. On days 63 to 66, I emerged on a floor that looked like an ice beach. Ahead in the water, there was a huge ice spike. My compass had been pointing me to it, so I assumed that was where I needed to go. In the distance, I could see a bridge leading out to the spike, but as I started to cross it, I saw that the end of the bridge had been destroyed. It looks like I can still get across by jumping across those smaller ice spikes, but it's gonna be tricky. If I slipped and fell, I'd be falling into sub-zero water, where I could quickly freeze to death. I had to be careful. I was about halfway across when I nearly slipped. Whoa, whoa, whoa! I was right on the edge, so close that it almost looked like I was floating over the edge. I regained my composure and managed to make it the rest of the way across. Phew, next time I do parkour, it's gonna have to be with lower stakes. I kept jumping and finally made it across the gap. I started to climb the ice spike. When I got to the top, I nearly jumped off in fear. There was a massive polar bear waiting for me. This must be the boss to get through to the next door. Wish me luck. I charged as the polar bear let out a large roar. He swung and nearly knocked me over the edge several times. This guy is tough. How am I gonna beat him? Just then, I had an idea. I was scared of falling off, but shouldn't he be too? I made some space between us and ran over near the edge. Come and get it. The polar bear charged at me full speed. At the last second, I jumped out of the way, causing it to slip right off the edge and down to the ground below. Piece of cake. As I looked over the edge, I could see some of the ice below had melted too. Almost looked like it had formed a word. Interesting. With the polar bear gone, I entered the door and could see that there was an elevator and path to go up. I stepped into the elevator and headed down to the base. On day 67 to 70, I entered the base and went over to talk to Benoit and Rhodey. Both of them were really excited and impressed by how far I had gotten. They also told me how much fun they were having down in the base. I was glad to hear it, but something was bothering me. Oh, I wanted to ask you guys about something I found. On one of the last floors, I found a crystal with another princess message. Maybe there's two princesses, but something did seem off to me. Before they could answer though, the old woman from the swamp came out of nowhere.
This place is full of tricks. That's probably all it is. You should just ignore it.
Whoa, what brings you down here?
I thought I would pay you a visit. This is quite a nice place you've built down here. If your offer still stands, I wouldn't mind living down here after all.
I thought that sounded great, so I got right to work building her a house. I thought it was strange that she had changed her mind, but in any case, it would be good to have some more friends around. Once her house was complete, I headed over to Benoit to see if he had anything new to sell.
As a matter of fact, I do. I managed to find some lapis. You can enchant your armor with this.
I made a fresh set of coins with my gold and exchanged it for a stack of lapis. I entered the old woman's hut and used her enchanting table to upgrade my gear. I'll be able to tackle any biome or enemy now. I stepped outside to head back up the floors when I remembered we had a statue to work on. I made my way back up and got going on the next part. It didn't take too long and I was soon done. On to the next floor. On day 71 to 74, I returned to the last ice level, then started making my way up to the next door. Oof, it's usually not this difficult to reach the next level. Once I had maneuvered to the door, I entered in and was surprised by what I saw on the other side. Did I just enter the nether? The whole atmosphere had changed. But in the meantime, I decided to mine the magma blocks off the wall. I was going to need those for the statue later. I headed through the door. Wait a second, this looks like the same room, but the door is farther away. What's going on? I ran down the hallway and passed through the door. It was the same hallway again, but the door was even farther away than before. What kind of twisted joke is this? I ran through the next door, and it was the same thing, but the door was even farther away. I started running for the door, but paused about halfway through. I must have missed something. I'm gonna go back. I turned to go through the last door, when suddenly, a bunch of piglins came bursting through, wielding axes. I tried to run away, but didn't have any other choice but to fight. With my upgraded gear, I managed to knock both of them out pretty quickly. Okay, maybe I just need to keep moving forward. I moved ahead when suddenly a couple of blazes spawned. I swung furiously to avoid catching on fire. Suddenly, there were more piglins too. I kept fighting and swinging. I had come so far. Soon, they were all defeated. Okay, let's keep going. Wait, which way was I going? I was completely turned around. I headed toward one of the doors to go through it. At the time, I didn't know that I was heading back the way I came in, but it turned out that was just what I needed to do. On days 75 to 78, I emerged from the door and found myself in the end. What is going on? Now I'm jumping through dimensions. I took out my compass to figure out where the next door was, but it was just spinning in circles. Looks like I'm going to have to find the next door the old-fashioned way. I started making my way toward the nearest end city when I accidentally looked at the nearest Enderman in the eyes. He attacked! Back off, Slender Boy! It took a few swings of my sword, but I was able to knock him out. It might not be a bad idea to gather up some Ender Pearls, actually. Those could come in handy. With this in mind, I started my raid on the Endermen. One by one, I struck them down and collected the Ender Pearls. At one point, I even had multiple of them attacking me at once, which was a little scary. But eventually, I'd gotten all the pearls I felt I needed. That ought to do it. But hey, might as well collect some blocks for the statue too. I took out my pick and mined up some of the end stone on the ground, getting everything I needed. Then, I headed to the nearest structure, which was covered in shulkers. Time to duck and cover! The shulkers started firing at me, and I did my best to block their shots with my shield and hit them with my sword. I wasn't perfect though, and soon started levitating.
Ugh, that doesn't feel so good.
The levitating effect wore off, and I dropped to the ground. Luckily, I wasn't too high, and it didn't do too much damage. Finally, I was able to get close enough to the shulkers to finish them all off. Alright, let's see what's up here. I entered the end city and started following the path. There were more shulkers along the way, which I was able to fight off. Sometimes their levitating power even helped me out. It took a little bit to get through everything, but eventually I emerged on the roof and could see a door. That door looks a little weird, but it must be the way through. Let's see what happens. On day 79 to 84, I suddenly appeared on the end central island, and much to my fear, I could see the Ender Dragon flying around in the distance. This wizard isn't messing around. Looks like I'm gonna have to fight the Ender Dragon. I lunged forward as the dragon swooped around overhead. What ensued was an epic battle. Okay, first things first, I gotta take care of those end crystals. It's a good thing I got those Ender Pearls. By throwing the Ender Pearls, I teleported to the top of the towers and destroyed the end crystals. I had to be careful not to blow myself up, but one by one, I managed to destroy all of them. Alright, big guy, it's just you and me now. I ran into the middle of the island and worked on bringing down the dragon's health. The dragon flew by overhead, trying to blast me with its dragon breath. The dragon soon landed, and I was able to get some hits in. As the dragon flew around, I took aim with my elite bow and managed to get some hits in that way too. At long last, the dragon swooped in low, and I hit him with an arrow, finally destroying him. He exploded, dropping a ton of XP orbs. I did it! If I can beat the dragon, surely I can beat a wizard. It was just then that I noticed a chest had appeared on top of the center column. I ran over and opened it up. Look at all these nether scraps. And what's this? In the middle of the chest was a paladin's sword. I took it out and equipped it. With the sword in hand, a bunch of lights started sparkling around me, and I leveled up into a full-blown paladin. I feel even stronger now, and look what my sword can do. As I swung my sword, I could see it was launching a light sword in the direction I was aiming. So cool! Just then, I noticed there was a button and trap door nearby too. I hit the button and dropped into the hole. When I landed, I saw a familiar room, one with an elevator and some steps. I hit the switch and headed into the elevator. On days 85 to 89, I emerged in the base where Benoit, Rhodey, and the old woman came running out to meet me.
You're back. That must mean you're getting close to the top. You're doing great.
Thanks. I've just got a few things to do here, and I think I'll finally be at the top. First of all, I wanted to finish the statue, using the extra materials I had collected. No dragon was as scary as one breathing fire in your face, so I made sure to add a stream of fire. And just like that, it was finished. Is this what you thought I'd build when I started? Let me know what you think. With the statue complete, I headed down to the crafting area and used the gold and netherite to create some netherite ingots. Then I used the ingots to upgrade my tools and sword to netherite. Now that everything was upgraded, it was time to say goodbye to my friends before heading up to the final floors. Well guys, it looks like there's actually some hope of us getting out of here. It's been awesome getting to know you, and if I don't make it, hopefully this base can help you until the next adventurer comes along.
You are a great friend, Zozo. I know you can do it. We will see you soon, mon ami.
I turned and headed for the door. I was a man on a mission, and no one was going to get in my way. On days 90 to 94, I emerged in a stone corridor. As I stepped into the room, I was immediately attacked by some hoglins. Luckily, I was able to quickly destroy them. There was something familiar about this place. Wait, I think that was the hoglin from day 1. This must be the castle I saw before. I was getting close, but I had to stay focused. I opened a nearby door and immediately took some damage. What was that? I took a look inside the room and didn't see anything dangerous. I shut the door again and took more damage. Oh boy, this place must be trapped. I'm gonna have to watch my step. I proceeded down the hallways and ran into more mobs. This place was crawling with enemies. The mobs fought like their lives depended on it, which they did. Unlucky for them though, my new armor and weapons were stacked. They didn't stand a chance. After a ton of fighting, I finally pushed through a large group of them and had a moment to heal up. Well, I might have a few arrows sticking out of me, but I'm still here. I headed back into the corridors, fighting off skeletons as I went. This paladin sword was definitely coming in handy, as I was able to cut down enemies from far away. I kept pushing, taking out piglins and other enemies along the way. Finally entered a room and could tell something was different. On days 95 to 96, I entered a banquet hall and saw something illuminated on the wall. Subscribe. I keep seeing this word everywhere. In any case, I'm happy you're here and appreciate your support. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing. On days 97 to 98, I had gone through a side door and found myself facing a white wall. Suddenly, there was a clicking sound as a drawbridge lowered. Standing in the center of the room was a giant pigless. Uh-oh, this isn't gonna be an easy fight. The pigless charged at me. He quickly hit me twice with his mace, which nearly depleted all of my health. If I was gonna survive, I was gonna have to be more careful. Not bad, Baconator, but let's see how you like this. Huh? I had swung my sword, but the pigless disappeared. Where did he go? Suddenly, he reappeared right next to me, nearly catching me off guard. Holy cow! This guy packed a punch. It took everything I had not to get hit, and I had to keep eating golden apples to stay in the fight. By using my paladin sword, though, I was able to hang in there. My friends are counting on me. I can't lose. I kept swinging and fighting until at long last, I landed the final blow, destroying the pigless. It was time to face the wizard. On day 99, I stepped into a large hall. Up ahead, there was a large wooden door. I stepped forward, and the door creaked open, revealing the wizard standing on a platform ahead of me. I walked into the room. Wizard, your traps have failed to stop me. I won't let you continue to keep people captive, and I'm going to free the princess. Get out of my way, or I'll move you myself.
Ha ha ha, you've done well, but I can't allow you to leave this place. Knights and adventurers can't be trusted.
Then you've made your decision. Think fast. I swung my sword, sending a sword beam flying at him as flames began to appear around me. I jumped out of the way and the flames exploded. This guy wasn't messing around.
I'll show you what real magic can do.
The wizard shot blasts of green energy at me as I continued to fire off sword energy. He was strong, but I was getting hits in. Suddenly, there was a crash of thunder and a red cloud appeared above me as fireballs started to rain down. Ah, that's hot, that's hot.
Haha, what do you think of this?
There was a poof, and a bunch of wizards appeared, who all charged at me. Holy cannoli, I didn't even know it was possible to do this kind of magic. The wizard clones were aggressive, but I was able to cut them down pretty easily. Then, I kept firing off sword blasts.
Oh, why isn't this working?
The wizard was getting frustrated. I was winning. Suddenly, he started firing off all of his spells at once. This was starting to be too much to handle. I could just keep hitting him. As one of my sword hits landed, he suddenly started to glow and burst into an explosion of light. Was that it? I did it! I think. Something didn't seem right about that. But the princess, I need to save her. On day 100, I took a look around the room and saw there was a lever hiding behind one of the banners. I flipped the switch, which opened a secret door. I headed inside. I'm Zozo. I'm here to rescue you.
Zozo, my hero, you're here.
Where's the other princess?
The what? Oh, yes, the other, oh, forget it.
There was a burst of light, and the wizard was standing in the place of the princess. I defeated you, and I'll do it again.
Wait!
Sorry, it's hard to keep doing the voice. I really didn't mean any harm.
What are you talking about? You threw me down a hole. You set me on fire. I fought a giant scorpion in an arena.
All illusions. In case you didn't notice, I'm pretty good at magic. In fact, it has all been an illusion, including everyone you've met. They're all parts of my personality, manifested by different people. You were never in any real danger.
Then what was the point of all of this?
The truth is, I'm just lonely. The only true thing was the story of the old woman, I told you about the king.
Well, I'm sorry that part is true, but don't you think if you have the power to create anything, it'd be better to do something that actually helps people? The wizard thought about it for a second.
Yeah. I guess I was too busy feeling sorry for myself to see that. I'm sorry for all the trouble I've caused you. Please, let me send you on your way.
There was a flash of light, and we were suddenly back outside of the castle. I ran back into the land as the wizard and all his personalities waved goodbye. I guess in the end we all got what we wanted. I escaped, and the wizard got himself a new friend. Perhaps one day we will go on an adventure together. On day 1, I spawned in as a normal guy. No, wait, I'm a Navy SEAL. Awesome, I'm a trained warrior. But wait, what's this? I looked closer and saw I barely had any hearts and no armor. I was just a recruit. It looks like I haven't even been trusted with a weapon. Bummer. I guess I better take a look around and see what I can find. I took a peek around the deck and saw that the ship was pretty empty. This was a huge ship. It was kind of eerie, nothing seemed to be going on. And as I looked around, I noticed there wasn't any land nearby either. What do I do now? Well, I'm a Navy SEAL. I should know how to swim, right? I walked over to the edge of the ship and jumped into the water. I swam around the anchor for a bit, but didn't see anything else around. Suddenly, I heard some movement in the water behind me, and I was attacked by a shark. Shiver me timbers, it's a great white! The shark bit at my ankles as I furiously swam toward the anchor. I grabbed onto the chain and clambered up as the shark snapped furiously below. Soon, I reached the top deck. Yikes, I guess I'll be staying out of the water for the time being. Sometime later, the sun was beginning to set. As I watched the sunset, there was suddenly a huge explosion. Whoa, what was that? I headed off in the direction of the blast. As I moved across the ship, I saw there was a huge hole blown in the top of the deck. As I got closer, I saw it was filled with zombies who attacked. There's zombies on this ship? Things just got interesting. The zombies were determined to eat my brains, but I was actually well trained in hand-to-hand combat, so I managed to fight them off. One of them also had dropped a stone sword, which I made quick use of. As the last zombie disappeared, I noticed it had dropped something. What's this? It looks like a flashlight. I can use this to navigate the inside of the ship. I settled myself down for the night and couldn't help but think, where did all the zombies come from? Did they used to be seals too? On day 2, I felt like I had no choice but to start exploring the hole left behind from the explosion. I didn't love the idea of going into a hole that was full of zombies before, but what other choice did I have? It's pretty dark down here. I better use that flashlight. The flashlight let out a little bit of light and I set off into the darkness. As I walked the corridors, I couldn't help but get the feeling something was watching me. What's that? I looked toward one of the doors. I could have sworn I saw something. This place is giving me the creeps. I kept moving through the maze of tunnels when I heard a squeaking up ahead. Okay, I definitely heard something that time. I got a little closer and was attacked by a bunch of rats. These were no ordinary rats though. Their flesh was rotted and their eyes glowed with a red hue. I quickly took them out. I've got a bad feeling about this. I continued down the hallway but could hear another sound up ahead. It sounded like some heavy thuds, maybe some kind of machinery? I kept going when suddenly the source of the noise came into the light. It was a giant zombie. Uh-oh. The zombie hit me as I ran away. There's no way I could take this guy on. Just ahead, there were some open doors and I quickly ran inside. As the zombie chased me, he ran into the wall, smacking his head. This is the exact situation where a brain comes in handy. He let out a low groan and stumbled away from me. That's when I noticed he dropped something. I picked it up. Whoa, night vision goggles. These could not have come at a better time. I was getting really tired of being surprised in the dark. After I put them on, the whole ship was lit up. Nothing is gonna sneak up on me now. On day 3, the zombie threat had left, so I decided to do some more exploring. My new night vision goggles had made things much easier. As I ran through the hallways, I tried to open different doors, but everything was locked. This is gonna be a tough 100 days if I can't get into anything. I continued through the maze until finally I found a door that was open. When I entered the room, I saw it was full of storage. Amazing, I hope I can find some good loot in here. I began rummaging through the boxes and saw that there were a ton of building supplies. I kept looking and soon came across a whole stash of food. I can't believe my luck. All this food looks good to eat too. I stuffed my pockets full. Who knows if there was any other food aboard? I managed to find another container full as well. Soon I had gone through all of the boxes except for one big one. I jumped up and was surprised to see what was inside. Hey, who are you?
You're not a zombie.
No, and neither are you. Who are you?
My name is Marcus, but my friends call me Switchblade. Well, they used to call me that, I suppose.
Yeah, what's going on around here?
All I know is there was some kind of zombie infection that spread through the whole ship. I got separated from another group of sailors who were headed for the wrecks. They might still be alive.
We decided we would go look for more survivors, but first, we needed to get to the flight deck and regroup. On days 4 to 5, Switchblade and I had made it back to the top of the ship. Using the materials I had gathered in the supply room, I started putting together a simple base. Nowhere on the base was 100% safe, but at least here, we could be near the edge, and we knew zombies wouldn't be able to attack during the day. Once the tent was set up, I got to work on the inside, filling it with all of the crafting tables we'd need, along with some beds for us to sleep in for the night. As a final safety measure, I put up a fence across the ship, so that even at night, zombies wouldn't be able to sneak up on us. When it was all done, Switchblade came and took a look.
Nice work, Zozo. This base is top-notch.
With the base complete, I headed over to the crafting table and made a set of stone tools. I couldn't get through any of the doors, but maybe with some tools I could just break through the walls. With my new set of stone tools, I headed over to the ship wall and tried swinging my pickaxe. Not even a dent. I tried a few surfaces, but no luck. At the very least, I now had some tools in case of an emergency. That night, I headed outside with my goggles on to see if the zombies would give us any issues. Looks like they're keeping their distance. This should be a safe place for us to work out of. On days 6 to 8, Switchblade met me inside the tent to discuss our next move.
Well, it's not the most detailed map, but take a look at this.
Switchblade threw the map up on the wall. He was right. It's a good thing he chose the military and not art school.
This should give you an idea of how to get to the bunk area, where I believe the other sailors had headed. There's no guarantee anyone is there, but more sailors is an invaluable asset at this juncture.
I agreed, and so I headed out of the tent and into the hole. Using Switchblade's map as a guide, I made my way down a corridor I didn't notice before. By following that, I came across a staircase that took me even deeper into the ship. I can't help but have a sinking feeling about this. I reached the bottom and started moving ahead through the darkness. I could hear some shuffling up ahead. There was a small group of cave spiders. Spiders, 12 o'clock! I charged forward with my sword in hand and started hacking away. The spiders managed to land a few hits, but it wasn't anything I couldn't handle. Soon enough, the small group was all destroyed. Time to get to those sailors. I pushed just a little farther ahead and came across the door. I tried to push it open, but it didn't budge. I had no idea if zombies were nearby, so I gave the door a small tap. Psst! Hey, is anyone in there? No response. Maybe I was being too quiet. I raised my voice a little more. Can anyone hear me? Do you copy? Is there anyone inside? This time I thought I heard a little bit of movement inside, but nobody was responding. Looks like I've only got one more option. I started banging on the door. Hey, wake up! Your buddy Switchblade sent me. The door flew open.
Man, have you lost your mind? Don't you know there's zombies around?
I was trying to be quiet, but no one was answering.
We thought you were a zombie trying to sniff us out. You wouldn't have been the first, you know.
I get that. I'm sorry. So, who are you guys?
We're from Switchblade's crew. I'm actually the first mate on the ship. I suppose I'm the acting commander of the ship as well.
If you're the acting commander, that means something must have happened to the captain. I'm sorry for your loss.
I am too, although I don't know if I would call it a loss. The captain is technically still alive, if you know what I mean.
You mean he's a zombie?
Yeah. Before this all happened, we spotted a mysterious island offshore. The captain went to explore and returned with this mysterious artifact. That very night, the zombie outbreak occurred, and we ran down here.
That's awful. Well, maybe we can figure out how to stop everything. Do you have any more information about the captain that could help?
Yes, well, he is a zombie. He's not quite as far gone as the rest of them. In fact, I think the secret is...
But before he could share that secret, a zombie appeared over his shoulder and killed him. We had forgotten to lock the door. Oh no! Quick, everyone get behind me. A zombie horde came pouring into the room, and I did my best to fight them off with my sword. The remaining crew members shouted in fear as the zombies kept trying to rip us to pieces. Luckily, I was getting pretty good at fighting these guys, and I was able to take them all out. We better hurry and get out of here, guys. There could be more on the way. We took off running and headed back up towards the base. On days 9 through 10, I emerged from the boat with the 2 sailors. We were all still processing the loss of the first mate, but we had to focus on our own safety. I wonder what the first mate was going to tell us. We soon arrived back at the base, and I got right to work building them a tent of their own. They had mentioned having a background in medicine, so I decided to set them up in their own medical tent. We didn't have too much in medical supplies yet, but seeing the base double in size was giving me hope. We all felt like we could use a little bit of hope, so I offered to make a statue that could serve as inspiration to us all. There was a certain Navy SEAL I had read about that I found particularly inspiring. The interesting thing about him was that he wasn't from the past, he was actually from the future. After a bit, I was running low on supplies, so I stopped for the time being. Any guesses on who you think I'm building? Let me know in the comments. On days 11 to 13, I woke to a strange noise. Is that barking? Something doesn't sound quite right about it. Down in the water, I could see a seal, and it was being chased by the shark from earlier.
Can someone give me a hand down here?
The seal can talk. That's interesting. Let's see if I've got anything that can help. I ran back to my tent and opened up one of the crates. Inside was a collection of rocks. I grabbed a handful and ran back over to the edge of the boat. Hey shark, suck on this. I started chucking rocks down into the water and managed to hit the shark a few times. He kept chasing the seal around, but I could tell it was bothering him. Eventually, it was enough to let the seal get away. Hey, climb on up. The seal swam up to the anchor and ascended the chain. When he reached the top, he plopped down in exhaustion.
Oh, thank you. You really saved my life.
No problem. I've got to look after my fellow seals after all.
Oh, because you're also a seal. I get it.
Why was that shark chasing you anyway?
I have no idea. He's hungry, I guess. But have you seen what's going on under your ship? There's something down there that I think would blow your mind.
What do you mean?
There's this massive rocky column coming out of the earth and into your ship. I've never seen anything like it before. You should go down there and take a look.
I'd love to, but I don't think I can just do that. I'm gonna need some scuba equipment to get down there.
Suit yourself.
I headed over to the other sailors and let them know what I had learned. They were just as confused as I was, but let me know there was an equipment room back down on the ship that should have the scuba gear I'm looking for. They also gave me a stash of iron they had collected. Thanks guys, this will be helpful for sure. I headed over to the crafting table and put together a new set of iron armor. I also took some time to make an iron sword. If I was heading back into the boat, I needed all the help I could get. On days 14 to 15, I took my new gear and headed back down into the ship. I always had a pit in my stomach when I went down here, but there's no way I'd be able to survive out here without searching for answers. After a little bit of exploring, I could hear something up ahead. More spiders! Disgusting! I leapt into battle with my new iron sword and started hacking and slashing. With each kill, the spider shriveled and faded away. As I cut my way through the spiders, I noticed there was a group of zombie rats watching too. Come and get some! The spiders had all been destroyed, but I guess the rats were feeling a little intimidated. They all ran away in fear. Yeah, that's what I thought. I pushed forward through the dark tunnels and eventually reached the dive room. Awesome, now I can snag some scuba gear. I opened the door and saw the giant mutant zombie from earlier was inside. What the heck, how did you get in here? The zombie wasted no time attacking me. Joke was on him though. This time, I was prepared. How do you like me now? I bobbed and weaved as he tried to hit me with shockwaves and pound me into the ground. I was doing well, but this guy packed a punch. I still only had 5 hearts, so I needed to be careful. My new gear and experience was still too much for him though, and I came out victorious. Not so tough anymore, are you? With the adrenaline still pumping through my veins, I felt an extra surge of energy and was promoted to the rank of Seaman. And check it out, now I have 10 hearts. Feeling stronger than ever, I took a look around the room. Hanging up was a full scuba suit, so I grabbed each piece and placed it in my inventory. Then I saw something laying in the corner of the room. Awesome, a harpoon gun. Now I can protect myself from any underwater threats I come across. I checked the nearby crates and saw they were full of harpoons. I gathered them all up and headed back up to the flight deck. On day 16 to 19, I had arrived back on the flight deck, and I noticed that the seal was still there. Hey, how's it going?
To be honest, not great. That shark is still down there, and I don't think I'm gonna be able to get away from him. I was hoping I could stay here for a bit.
Yeah, that should be fine. But you do know this ship is infested with zombies, right?
I'll take zombies over sharks any day.
Okay, but what about water? Don't you need it, at least a little bit?
I do. I was hoping you might have an idea about that.
You know what? I think I do. Hang tight and let me get something set up. I grabbed some building supplies and started working on a tent for the seal to stay in. Once I got the outside set up, I got to work making him a tank to live in. This way he'll have some water he can easily access, even though he's not in the ocean. Once that was finished, I headed over to do some more work on the statue. I managed to get a decent amount done, but still had a long way to go. There was certainly a good shape taking place, but can you tell what it is yet? On days 20 to 22, I headed into my tent to get geared up. I grabbed my scuba gear off the armor rack and put it on. Then I opened up the nearby crate and took out my harpoon gun and harpoons. I know that shark is still out there, so I have to take him down before I can even start looking at that column the seal mentioned. But before I jump in, could you help me out? Over 40,000 of you have joined the Zozo Navy, and we'd love to have even more join up with us for even bigger adventures. So hit the subscribe button and let's do this. I put on my scuba helmet and got ready to jump over the edge of the boat. Here goes nothing. On days 23 to 26, I got a running start and leapt off the side of the boat, landing in the ocean below. Alright, let's find this shark and take him out. With my harpoon gun in hand, I swam out from the boat, scanning the scenery for a glimpse of the aquatic monster. I swam and swam, but nothing. Maybe the shark left after all. I don't see any sign of him anywhere. But just when I was starting to feel safe, the shark snuck up and bit me. Ouch, you're gonna pay for that. I took aim with my harpoon gun and fired. I was able to hit him, but he showed no signs of slowing his attack. Oh man, I'm really starting to feel out of my element down here. Our fight was intense. I kept firing my harpoons as the shark kept trying to take chunks out of my arm. Our fight had moved under the boat, when suddenly the shark got a hold of me and started pulling me deeper and deeper. If I'm going down, I'm taking you with me. As the shark pulled me deeper and deeper, I hit him with harpoons. I managed to get several hits in, but suddenly I heard a hissing noise as one of his teeth punctured the oxygen flow to my helmet. I'm too deep to go without oxygen. What am I gonna do? I had an idea. If I could time this right, I could ignite the oxygen coming from my helmet and use it like a grenade. Catch this! I threw my helmet and it exploded on impact, killing the shark. There was no time to celebrate though. I couldn't hold my breath forever. I looked around and saw a cave nearby. Maybe there's an air pocket. I swam as my oxygen levels continued to drop, bursting through the wall of water onto dry ground. Phew, that was way too close. But what am I supposed to do now? On days 27 to 29, I decided my only option was to head deeper into the cave and see what I could find. What I saw next was totally unexpected. Is that an octopus? Sitting at the bottom of the cave was a giant octopus. As I got closer, he started talking to me.
Hello there. I can't help but think you're a little lost.
That's one way of putting it. Do you know a way back up to the surface?
There's only one way, which is back the way you came. But breathing is the problem, right? All you need is the scuba mask I have. It will give you all the oxygen you need.
Great. So, can I have it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. Are you going to give it to me?
I will, if you help me first.
You should have just said that in the first place. What can I do to help?
My wife was kidnapped by a horrible giant squid, and I need someone to rescue her. He's hiding out in a sunken pirate ship. I need you to take him out, but don't ask him any questions. He will try to trick you.
Okay, I can probably manage that, except for one big problem.
Oh, what's that?
I can't breathe underwater.
Oh, yes, that's simple. As you swim toward the ship, you'll see some clams lying along the seafloor. Give them a knock with your fist, and they'll let out oxygen bubbles, allowing you to breathe.
I really hope you're right about that. I started making my way out of the cave, but stopped to mine all of the various ores. That way I'd have more supplies for later. Once I had collected as much as I could, I left the cave and started swimming in the direction of the pirate ship. As my oxygen levels started to run low, I swam up to a clam and gave it a tap. Sure enough, a stream of bubbles came out. Okay, looks like he was right. They didn't teach me that one in SEAL training. As I was starting to swim away though, I felt something brush along my back. It was a school of piranhas. Get your teethy grins away from me. I was so distracted by the fight, I nearly ran out of oxygen and drowned. Luckily, I was able to hit the clam before it was too late. At long last, I managed to fillet the rest of the fish. That was exhausting and it's getting late. I should try and find a cave to rest in. I swam a little further and soon saw a cave along the seafloor. I swam in and saw it had a nice pocket of air. The cave was also full of resources, so I made sure to grab those before settling in for the night. On days 30 to 35, I left the cave and continued to search for the pirate ship, grabbing oxygen from clams along the way. I soon found myself in a colorful coral reef, and eventually saw the pirate ship lodged in the middle. I swam up to the ship and started to take a look around. As far as I could tell, the ship looked deserted. Might as well check the chests for anything good. I opened the crates and found some gold and gunpowder. One of the crates even had an enchanted infinity book inside. Just then, I saw something moving on the other side of the boat. It was the giant squid.
Get away from my ship.
Oh, someone thinks they're a real tough guy. I swam over to the squid as he hit me with his tentacles, knocking me back. Why'd you kidnap an innocent octopus's wife? The giant squid stopped fighting.
Kidnap? Innocent? Wait a second, I think you have the wrong idea.
The octopus told me you would try to trick me. Nothing you say can change my mind. Just then, the octopus's wife popped up.
Wait, hear us out. My ex-husband was lying to you.
Okay, this was definitely a plot twist. What was going on? First things first though, I had nearly run out of oxygen. I quickly punched a clam as the octopus's wife began to explain.
My ex-husband was so evil. He was mean and killed humans for fun. That's where he got that scuba mask he has. My squid friend here helped me to escape.
Friend? I mean, yeah, we're friends, but Molly, I thought it was more than that.
Not now, Jerry. Look, let's all head back. I think together we can teach Chad a lesson.
His name is Chad? Say no more, let's go. Without delay, we all took off for Chad's cave. We soon arrived after a bit of swimming. I'll go in there and draw him out, then you guys can do your thing. I made my way back inside the cave and talked to Chad. Good news, your wife is just outside and is waiting for you.
Oh, goody. Well done, well done. I sure hope that nasty squid didn't give you much trouble.
As we swam out of the cave, Jerry was waiting for him.
You've messed with her for the last time.
Oh, you're still alive? Don't hurt me.
I watched as Jerry smacked the octopus and swam away. The guy was squirting ink all over the place. How embarrassing. As those two swam off, Molly headed inside the cave and grabbed the scuba mask out of the chest.
Here you go, Zozo. I think you've earned this.
She tossed out the mask, which I quickly grabbed and put on. Just in time, too. I was nearly out of oxygen. Thanks, Molly. You guys take it easy down here. On days 36 to 40, I was planning on heading up to the surface, but took a moment to check out the column attached to the ship. This column doesn't look like something the ship ran into. It looks like the column grew and ran into the ship. Something fishy was definitely going on, but I needed to get back up to the ship to talk to the crew. As I climbed aboard, I saw the base was under attack. The sun hasn't set yet. How are zombies attacking now? As I got closer though, I saw these weren't zombies at all. They were some kind of aquatic humanoid monsters. They were much stronger than the zombies too. Look, you guys stink. But more importantly, where did you come from? I was able to keep myself from taking too much damage and noticed that some of them had dropped sapphires. But at long last, the monsters were all defeated. I went and took a closer look at the fence and saw they had broken right through. Looks like we've got some work to do. But before then, I had to get out of the scuba suit. I hung the suit back up and stashed the loot I had found at my base. The next day had rolled around and I decided to upgrade my gear, just in case the monsters tried to attack again. I quickly smelted down all the iron I collected, then used that iron to make an anvil. I placed the anvil down, then used the infinity enchantment I had found to enchant my harpoon gun. Now I'll have unlimited ammo. Next up, I had an idea for what I wanted to make with the sapphires the monsters had dropped. I grabbed a hammer and used it to shape the sapphires into a blade. With my gear upgraded, I headed over to talk to Switchblade about how things had been going, and fill him in on what I had discovered.
It's been rough, to be honest. We had been fighting off wave after wave of monsters. It's a good thing you showed up when you did, because we didn't think we were going to make it.
I'm just glad everyone is okay, so what are you thinking for our next move? Switchblade led me outside.
Well, as you can see, they were able to break right through our wooden fence. Our best bet is to upgrade the wall, and we'll do well to get a proper HQ set up.
Sounds like a plan. Let's gather some supplies and get right to it. On days 41 to 43, we had finished gathering the supplies we needed, so I started by tearing down one of the old planes on the deck. The new fence was going to be a bit bigger, so we'd need a little bit of extra room. The plane was soon cleared, and I got to work building a metal security fence across the deck. In addition to the fence, I also put up a guard tower so we could have some leverage on any attacking monsters. They would have a heck of a time getting through this. After I finished the fence, I got to work on the headquarters. Having a sturdy building to store and plan from was going to be much more reliable than something a horde of zombies could tear through in a matter of minutes. Once the exterior was complete, I went ahead and filled the inside with everything we were going to need. I decided to get to work on the next part of the statue. I only had a little bit of materials on hand, so I just did a little bit of work on the one side. Just as I was finishing up, I heard a loud crash outside. What in the world was that? I ran outside and took a look over the edge of the ship. A submarine had crashed into the side of the boat. Where did this come from? As I was looking down, the sub's hatch opened and a dazed officer stuck their head out. Hello down there. Can we help you? She looked around confused.
I think so?
She didn't seem like she was all right, so I quickly jumped off the side of the boat, swam over to the sub, and climbed aboard next to her. Where did you come from?
Hi there. Sorry, I'm a little frazzled. My name is Alice. I've been tracking this ship for weeks without rest. Funny enough, it wasn't until I fell asleep that I finally found it.
Well, here, let's get on board and we can chat more. We jumped into the water and climbed up the boat. Once we were on the deck, we continued our conversation. So why were you tracking the ship?
Some time ago, I was searching for an ancient artifact, the same one that the captain of the ship came into contact with recently. He beat me to it, but I don't think he understood what it was. I've been desperately trying to find this ship. Not because the artifact is valuable, which it is, but because we need to destroy it, and I'm the only one who knows how to do that.
Yeah, you're telling me. That artifact seems to be the source of all the problems here. We're more than happy to try and destroy it. Just then, the seal flopped over.
Zozo, something about this all seems off to me.
What do you know? You're just a seal. I'm a trained submariner.
Yeah, a trained submariner who just crashed their sub.
Okay, you two, calm down. Look, we know there's something weird going on, and this could be a shot to fix it, or at least end it. What do we know about the artifact?
Well, the captain probably has it near him, up in the control tower, so we should focus on getting to that.
Okay, sounds good. The doors are all locked, but maybe the other sailors know a way around that. I headed over to talk to the sailors. There was good news. There was actually a master key to the entire ship. The bad news, though, was that the key was most likely in the armory, deep in the belly of the boat. Well, I figured I'd have to go back in there at some point. We'll get this done. On days 44 to 49, I headed back down into the ship. As I navigated the curving passageways, I could hear the shuffling of feet ahead of me. Here we go. The zombies came sprinting around the corner, but they were no match for my new sapphire sword. I was able to pretty quickly overpower these guys, but how would it hold up against a group of those monsters? With the zombies out of the way, I headed deeper still into the ship. Soon I found myself in a room full of different internal mechanisms. I could hear something in the room ahead. Sounds like more zombies, but something is different. I poked my head through the doorway and could see one of those monsters leading a group of zombies around. Is he commanding them? I very quickly found the answer to that question because the monster caught sight of me, let out a growl, and all the zombies charged. Don't listen to him, he's the mean one, not me. I tried to get at the monster, but the zombies moved almost like they were protecting him. I had no choice but to fight them off first. Get back, you flushheads. Soon enough, the zombies were all destroyed, and I was able to engage the monster. He was strong, but he couldn't do much all by himself. Soon enough, he was taken down too. A familiar rush of adrenaline came pouring in, and I could feel myself getting stronger. I suddenly gained 4 more hearts and was promoted to a petty officer. More health and strength. Nice! On days 50 to 53, I kept making my way to the armory. Soon, I could see the door, but outside of it was another one of those monsters. It was walking down the hallway behind a larger group. What are these guys doing? I should follow them and see where they're headed. I should probably give these guys a name too. I'll call them blobs. These blobs certainly seem to have some level of intelligence. They weren't like the zombies who would mindlessly attack anyone nearby. The blobs seemed to be up to something. I followed them through the winding hallways and even had some close calls. I think they may have suspected they were being followed, as I had to duck into a side room to avoid being detected at times. Feels like we've gone down several floors. We've got to be close to the bottom of the ship at this point. Soon enough, I followed them into a room and couldn't believe what I was seeing. There were several blobs roaming around, but more concerning were the cages hanging from the ceiling. There's sailors in some of those cages, but something is turning them into zombies. That something must have had to do with what I saw on the ground. There was a massive hole with pink goo dripping into it. This must be where the column meets the ship. So the column must be hollow. It's a tunnel of some sort. Before I could get any closer though, one of the blobs noticed me and attacked. I managed to fight him off, but could see I had all of their attention now. I don't know what's going on here, but I don't want to end up in one of those cages. I booked it out of there. On days 54 to 57, I was running for my life. The blobs were hot on my tail, but I was starting to put distance between us. I'm not gonna be your next experiment. I was a pretty speedy guy and was able to get away. Oh, what was I doing again? Oh yeah, the armory. Soon enough, I found my way back to the armory and headed inside. Oh man, why did they tell me about this place before? The armory was full of all kinds of good stuff. I walked up to the center table and took a look at everything. Glittering in the middle of the table was a brand new shotgun. Oh, now we're packing. The blobs won't want to meet me around a dark corner. The next thing I picked up was the master key. Now I'll be able to get into any part of the ship. I checked out some of the crates and managed to scrounge up some ammo for the shotgun. Then I took a look at the armor hanging up. Is this special ops gear? It is! I pulled it off the rack and put it on. With everything equipped, I saw that my armor was maxed out. Oh yeah, now I'm ready for a fight. After I had grabbed everything else I could, I headed out back to the flight deck. On days 58 to 62, I arrived back on the flight deck and went to talk to the SEAL about everything I had seen. Hey bud, you'll never guess what I found down there.
Oh no, don't tell me. More monsters?
Even worse, that column you saw is a tunnel of some kind, and they're turning the sailors into zombies. Just then, Alice walked up.
They're probably just summoning an ancient god.
Ancient god? What?
Oh yes, the ancient artifact is like a beacon that calls to the disciples of the god Akuno to begin preparing for his arrival.
You can't be serious.
Oh, I am. By harvesting the souls of men, they give him the power to travel from his prison below, up and into our world. It's incredible.
Incredible? Don't you mean horrible?
Yes, it's horrible. By incredible, I just mean, like, insane.
How do you know all of this anyway?
Oh, I read about it in a book. I'm a very learned explorer.
Right. I was going to have to keep my eye on Alice, but in the meantime, I thought it'd be best to get to work on the statue. If we couldn't stop Akuno from coming to this world, at least there'd be an intimidating statue he'll have to look at. Yeah, I'm not feeling too good about it at all, but at least the next phase of the statue was complete. On days 63 to 66, I decided to dive into the water and try and get more supplies for the statue. I swam deep and saw just what I was looking for. Perfect, I'll just collect these and be on my way. I took out my pickaxe and quickly mined up everything I was going to need. It was hard work mining underwater, but having a mask that let me breathe made everything much easier. Speaking of which, I should check in on Molly and Jerry. Maybe they noticed anything with the tunnel. As I swam near the cave, Jerry came swimming over and Molly came out to greet me. Hey guys, I was just checking in. Have you noticed anything weird about the tunnel over there?
We were hoping you'd come by. We've been noticing some strange vibrations coming out of it. What's going on?
Well, it's bad news, unfortunately. Apparently, there's an ancient god ritual in the works. There's an ancient artifact that we need to destroy to stop it, but I have no idea what I'm going to be up against.
I think I know something that could help, actually. The pirate ship we were living in before had remnants of something that looked very similar to the tunnel here. I think it may have had something to do with why the boat sunk.
Oh, no way!
Yeah, and there were some books buried in the crates. I can't read, but maybe they will contain some helpful information.
That's an awesome tip. I'll go take a look. I took off in the direction of the ship and arrived soon after. Before I head in there though, have you hit the sub button yet? The more subs we have, the stronger our navy will be. On days 67 to 70, I swam down into the pirate ship and decided to take a look around. I grabbed some gold and gunpowder from the crates before opening a crate that contained the captain's journal. I opened it up and started to read. Day 75, we spotted
an island full of zombies. We lost a lot of men fighting on this island, but it was worth it, I think.
This captain's crew had to fight zombies too. They must have been near the artifact. I'll keep reading.
We found this strange, mysterious book.
So the artifact must be a book.
I'm not comfortable holding it, so I gave it to one of my mates.
I couldn't believe what I was reading. But why did their boat sink? Did the blobs attack them too? I read on.
Day 78. There is a submarine behind us. We're under attack, taking on water.
A submarine took them out. I've got a sneaking suspicion I know who was driving it. I better get back to the ship. Alice knows more than she's letting us think. I swam out of the ship, but before I could get anywhere, I was attacked by Chad.
I'll make you pay for tricking me.
Tricking you? It's not my fault you're a jerk. Chad was surprisingly strong, but he didn't know I had gotten stronger too. Jerry should have finished you when he had the chance. I swung my sword and finished him off. He wasn't gonna be bugging anyone now. On day 71 to 74, I returned back to the ship and climbed back up on board. As I climbed aboard, Alice came running up to me.
You're back. I'm so happy to see you're okay. Did you find anything interesting?
I wanted to confront her about everything, but we didn't know what she was trying to do. There was still a chance her intentions were good, even if she took down a ship. No, unfortunately, I didn't find anything. Looks like our best bet is to try and confront the captain.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear it. Best of luck fighting the captain. Just remember, grab the artifact and bring it to me, so I can destroy it.
I headed over to the command tower and unlocked the door with the master key. As I entered the tower, I was immediately attacked by a group of blobs. These guys have been here so close to our base. I had no idea. Using my shotgun, I was able to mow them down pretty quick. They didn't stand a chance against a ranged weapon. I then made my way to the next level and was met by another pack of blobs. It was a tight space, so they managed to get some hits in, but by using the table, I was able to get a little bit of space and finish them off. That was a close one. Now to find the captain. Maybe these guys were just holding him prisoner. On day 75 to 78, I reached the top floor and saw the captain looking out over the base. There was a strange glow about him, but he looked okay. Captain, I'm here to rescue. Oh no. The captain had turned around, and I could see he was mutating like the other sailors. The glow must have been coming from the artifact.
Akuno will return. Akuno is master. Akuno will rule this world.
Captain, you've got to break free. We can stop him. The captain was too far gone. He wasn't hearing a word I was saying.
Akuno requires your soul.
Just then, the captain pulled his gun and started firing. No, I don't want to fight you. I didn't have a choice. If I didn't fight, he would kill me and use me to attack all my friends. The captain was a good shot, but I was a trained SEAL. Sorry, but this is gonna hurt. I noticed that the captain had started throwing some kind of energy ball at me. It must be a power he got from Akuno. We can't allow this kind of dark magic in our world. Hang on to your hat. I'm sending you to the underworld. I took aim and blasted my shotgun one final time, sending the captain to oblivion. After he disappeared, I saw a book laying on the ground. It had to be the artifact, the Necronomicon. Now that just sounds evil. I'm not opening this thing. I can't risk getting sucked into all this madness. Let's see if Alice can actually destroy this thing, or if she's up to something else entirely. On day 79 to 84, I made my way down the tower and headed into the HQ building to meet with Alice. She could barely contain her excitement when she saw me walking up.
Zozo, you must have it. I can feel its energy. Quickly, give it to me.
Hang on a second. I can't give this to you until you explain to me exactly how you plan to destroy it.
Don't worry about that. Just give me the book.
Suddenly, a glow appeared around Alice. She was possessed by the book too. Alice leapt forward and tried to grab the book from me. Alice, get a hold of yourself. This book will destroy the world.
Akuno promised me power to protect his book. I won't let you stop me.
Looks like she was pretty determined, but the seal and I were ready. Pull it! The seal flipped a switch on the wall, which dropped a cage on Alice, trapping her inside. Now listen, you're gonna have to stay here until we can figure out how to destroy this thing.
You'll never destroy it. The only thing that can destroy it is Akuno himself. You'll never win.
Kuno himself? I ran outside to chat with the seal. Well, it's not looking good. I think the only option is to enter the tunnel and find this Akuno. I'll have to try and trick him into destroying the book somehow. It looks like it's our only option. The seal agreed. On days 85 to 89, I started tearing down the security fence so I could replace it with an even better one. If I failed in my mission, it meant Akuno was headed for this world, and my friends were going to need a fighting chance. After a bit, the new fence was finished. I also needed to finish the statue, so I dove off the ship to go and mine out the remaining supplies I would need. I swam to the bottom and found a deposit of materials I could use. I mined them out, then brought them back to the ship. Then I headed into my camp to grab some supplies to upgrade my weapons. First, I crafted a workbench and set that down. Then, by using the workbench, I crafted some additional shells for my shotgun. To finish up, I then crafted a stock for it as well. Well, I'm about as powered up as I can be. Now I just need to finish that statue and we'll be on our way. On days 90 to 94, I got started on the last section of the statue. By now, I'm sure you can tell who it is. So, what do you think? Did you guess it correctly? He's a big hero of mine, and hopefully he can inspire the next batch of recruits. With the statue complete, I headed down to have a quick chat with the seal. Hey buddy, I just wanted to say thanks for all your help. And here's something to show my appreciation. You're an honorary Navy SEAL too. On days 95 to 97, I headed out of the base, through the security tower, and made my way toward the hole. This could be the last time I ever see the light of day. I descended into the boat and started making my way through the ship corridors, and was immediately attacked by zombies and blobs. Whoa, these guys were ready for me. Akuno must know I'm coming for him. By using the shotgun, I blasted my way through the first level of the boat. I was having some close calls, but managed to get through relatively unharmed. These poor sailors, I don't want to hurt them, but they give me no choice. I continued down to the next level and started facing off against some more blobs. Be gone, fish face! These monsters were something I could never get used to. I had to banish them from this world. Soon I had made it to the lowest level of the ship and was getting close to the tunnel room. As I approached, I saw another blob.
You die now.
He was bigger than the others and had a strange glow around him. He must be their leader. By using my sapphire sword, I managed to get some hits in, but he was hitting back too. Oof, yeah, this guy is way more powerful than the other ones. He was using a trident that was stronger than anything I had faced yet. It might be time to try something new. I pulled out my shotgun and worked on creating some distance between us, but it was difficult in a tight space. Get a load of this. I kept firing away, and finally all of the zombies were gone. I kept on him until at long last, he was defeated. As he disappeared, I got that familiar surge of adrenaline and grew in size. And check it out, now I have 20 hearts. Feeling better than ever, I entered the room and was immediately swarmed. I started fighting off all of the enemies, but there was a lot of them. I had no choice but to hurry and jump into the hole. Here goes nothing. I jumped into the hole, falling for what felt like forever. But eventually I hit the ground with a thud and blacked out. On day 98, I woke up laying at the bottom of the hole. Oh, that didn't feel so good. But where am I? I took in my surroundings and saw I had fallen into some kind of deep cavern. Just ahead, there is a portal. That must take me to Akuno. I don't like the look of that, but I know that with support from you and my friends, we can do anything. I took a deep breath and ran headfirst into the portal. On day 99, I appeared in what looked to be an entirely different dimension. Whoa, this place is insane. It's almost like I'm underwater, but I'm not. Up ahead of me, I could see a huge otherworldly temple. That had to be where Akuno lived. With my gun in hand, I ran forward into the temple. As I ran into the building, I could see Akuno waiting for me. Akuno, you thought you could come to my world and destroy everyone, but instead it's me coming to yours to destroy you. Akuno didn't seem surprised at all.
Catch me off guard, did you? Please, you've been a pawn in my plan this entire time, just like all the other foolish humans.
What did he mean, a pawn?
That book can allow me to influence anyone who reads it, but I can't travel to your dimension without it. And now you've brought it straight to me, just in time too. I understand my minions have nearly completed preparing an army for me.
Why are you doing this? What good does destroying another world do for you?
I command this world, but for what? Not a soul roams here, and I'm kept bound by the limitations of this flesh. A human soul gives me freedom I can't get elsewhere. So I will take the souls of Earth, starting with you.
If you want this book, you're gonna have to pry it off of me.
That's just what I intend on doing.
I immediately opened fire with my shotgun, but it didn't seem to be doing anything.
Pathetic. Your human weapons are no match for my magic. You'll never break my enchantments.
I fired a few more shots, but he was right. This wasn't doing anything. Just then, I noticed there were two purple orbs hanging from the ceiling. They had an almost lifelike quality about them. Let's see what you think about this. I opened fire on one of the orbs, breaking it open and causing it to explode.
No!
He didn't like that and started attacking me. Clearly this was doing something. Ho-ho, not so clever after all, are we? I fired on the other orb, which caused it to explode as well.
You will pay for this.
I fired off a few shots at him again. This time I could tell it was hurting me.
Now let's see how you handle this.
There was a flash of lightning and 2 blobs appeared at the end of them, attacking me. Jeez, he can summon these guys at will? There's no way we can let them into our world. The blobs converged on me and I quickly finished them off with my shotgun. As soon as I had defeated them, Akuno summoned 2 more. Dude, knock it off. This is just getting annoying. Akuno launched his purple fireballs at me as I continued to pick off more blobs and land shots on him. As I hit him more and more, I could tell he was getting desperate.
Foolish mortal, you have only seen a fraction of my power.
Suddenly, a ring of fire appeared around me and I was hit by lightning. He wasn't joking. Things were starting to get serious. Yeah, okay, that one is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I kept on him while trying to dodge his lightning attacks. But let me tell you, dodging lightning is as hard as you think it would be.
Looks like it's the end for you, Zozo.
This couldn't be it. But then I remembered the secret to defeating him was destroying the book. I knew what I needed to do. Just then, a ring of fire appeared around me and I jumped back, throwing the book out. The lightning struck the book, destroying it.
No!
Akuno erupted in an explosion and was destroyed. I did it! I heard some rolling thunder and suddenly a bolt of lightning came out of the sky, teleporting me away. What now? On day 100, I appeared at the top of the hole, back on the ship. Inside of the cage in front of me, I saw one of the zombies start to change. But this time, he changed back into a sailor. Oh, hello? What's going on? Hang on, I'll help you. I jumped up to the cage and busted the sailor out. There were several other cages around the room, so I hurried and broke out all of the other trapped sailors as well. As I did so, I explained everything to them. They were all pretty confused, but I led them up to the flight deck so they could get some rest. With the sailors all safe in their bunks, I met back up with the seal and switchblade.
You did it, Zozo. On behalf of the crew, I can't thank you enough.
Alice is feeling better too.
Just then, Alice walked up. The seal was right. She was looking normal.
Oh, Zozo, I feel so awful for everything I've done, but I'm so glad you were here to save the day. Our seal friend here and I are going to go adventuring together. But this time, I'm not going to be reading any scary books.
I'm just glad everything is back to normal, and thanks for everyone's help. I can't wait to see where our adventures take us next.
On day 1, I spawned in as King Kong. Check me out, I'm the king of the world. But wait, why do I only have a few hearts? I'm a massive ape for crying out loud. That's when I realized I was on a playground. Looks like I'm not the king quite yet. From out of nowhere came a man wearing a black suit and tie. Oh, he must be super nice. We can always trust strangers in nice suits, right?
Don't run, alien. You're coming with me. You're in trouble.
Alien? Why is he calling me that? Just then, the man in black started to try and capture me. I'll never go with you. Kidnapping is wrong. I couldn't believe this guy. I had no choice but to run.
Stop making a fuss and get into my unmarked vehicle. I have candy.
The man in black was chasing after me and kept calling me an alien. What's this guy's deal? I ran into the forest and climbed up a big tree. Nice try, kidnapper. After resting for a bit in the tree, I jumped down to see if the man in black was gone. The coast was clear. Phew, I hope I never see that guy again. Just then, I heard some rustling. Was he back? Nope, it was a badger. Oh boy, I'm glad it's just you. There was a really weird dude chasing me earlier. The badger didn't want to chat. He was mad that I was on his turf and tried to attack me. Back off, Badgie. I punched him and knocked him away. Huh, I'm not so weak after all. Nice try, punk. That badger had definitely learned his lesson. Or so I thought, because it wasn't long before I was surrounded by an entire badger gang. I'm having a really rough day. They had me surrounded. Suddenly, I felt something in my chest, and I let out a giant roar. The badgers jumped and ran off. I have no idea where that came from, but it worked. I'll have to remember that for the future. It was getting dark, so I climbed back up into a tree for the night to sleep in the branches. Wow, from up here, it's almost like I could touch the moon. It's huge. As I fell asleep, I couldn't help but wonder if I'd ever find a family out there, so I wouldn't be so alone. On day 2, I decided it was time to make my way in this world. I started to wander around and it led me to a jungle. Oh, this certainly feels like the place to make a home. I started to cut down wood and gather stone. I made my crafting table and got to work creating tools and a couple of weapons. Easy squeezy, weapon pleasey. I knew I was going to need a base very soon, so I started collecting resources for that too. But this was the jungle, and it wasn't long before I was disturbed by a very grumpy venomous snake. I know how to handle this. I took a deep breath and roared, and nothing happened. Uh-oh, maybe snakes don't have very good hearing. Oh well, I'll just have to take care of him the old-fashioned way. It was a good thing I had just made a sword, which I used to quickly take him out. Now that the snake was gone, it made me want to build a really well-hidden base. I didn't want the man in black to find me, or anything else for that matter. As I went deeper into the jungle, I soon saw a giant boulder. That rock would be a good foundation for my
my base. I got right to work constructing the beginnings of my jungle home. It was coming along nicely, but I soon got tired and needed to rest for the night. It was cozy in my small but sturdy base. I fell asleep thinking of plans to eventually construct my home into a jungle temple. On day 3, I woke up bright and early to explore the jungle. Suddenly, I heard a squeak and saw a cute little green creature running away from a big crocodile. I followed them and saw the poor little green creature was cornered by the croc. Hey, stop right there, croc. How about you take a bite out of this? I started hitting him with my sword. He snapped at me, but I was able to dodge his blows. We brawled for a bit, but eventually I was able to knock him out. I looked around for the little green guy and saw he was running away. Hey, I'm not mean, I promise. He didn't stop running, so I followed him. Don't be scared. Look, I've got a banana. Want one? The little green creature turned and stopped running. You're probably hungry. Here you go. He really liked it, and I think it helped him trust me.
Like banana I do.
Oh, he can talk. I asked him his name and where his home was.
Luno, my name is. Lunarian, I am. On the moon, I live, but from the moon, I fell. Lost, I am. A lot of mean creatures here there are, but you, nice you are. Alone, I am.
I'm alone too. That's pretty cool you're from the moon though. I have no idea how to get you home, but I'm happy to try. The alien was relieved to hear I would try and help him. I invited him to stay at the base until we figured something out. He agreed and we went back together. On days 4 to 5, I made it back to the base. We added another room so that Luno had a space of his own. I'm going to need more materials to build some more of this temple. You stay here, Luno. I'll be back. I walked around the jungle and began mining and collecting all sorts of things from the temple. What was that? I thought I heard something. Guess not. I got back to collecting things. I heard some more rustling behind me and some malicious giggling. I turned and saw the group of badgers that had ganged up on me earlier. Oh, brother, not you guys again. When are you going to just leave me alone already? I took in a big breath and gave my best banshee roar. Some of the badgers ran off, but some of them just stayed there. That's strange. Well, now I wasn't defenseless like last time. I brandished my sword. I got this in the badger. I started swinging and hitting the badgers that had stuck around. I'll bet they wish they had run away. After I had gotten rid of all of the badgers, I noticed one of them had dropped something. It was an item that protected against sound attacks. Pretty clever badgers. Gotta hand it to them. I finished gathering materials and headed back to the base. I told Luna what had happened with the badger.
Strong fighter you are.
Ah, shucks, Luno. It was getting late and had been a long day, so we settled in for the night. Luno looked up at the moon before he fell asleep. He missed his home. It was close, yet so far. On days 6 to 8, I woke up ready to face the day. I wanted to find upgrades for the base, and Luno wanted to explore a little bit too. I told him to be careful and call out to me if anything happened. While I explored below some azalea trees, I noticed an entrance to a cave. I know what this means. Iron time. I hopped down into the cave. It was so lush down here. I got out my sword and quickly took care of the slimy pests. I found some really neat, dark-colored cobblestone, plus plenty of iron. This cave rocked, pun intended. I couldn't wait to check out more, but it was then that I heard something from outside the cave. I better take a look. I carefully peeked out of the cave and saw the men in black running past. He was back. That was close. He could have seen me. What is he up to now? That was Luno's scream. I rushed out of the cave to find Luno. I no longer cared about my safety. I couldn't let the man in black kidnap him. This is terrible. I should have never let Luno go off alone. I wasn't going down without a fight. Feel my wrath, kidnapper. I went to knock his blocks off, but before I could get over there, he suddenly evaporated into particles. What kind of kidnapper magic was this? I was left alone with only my regrets to keep me company. What was I to do? On days 9 to 10, I was so discouraged. The man in black was too cunning. There was no chance I'd be able to save Luno. I didn't even know where he was taken. Maybe a walk will clear my head. I wandered around the jungle and through the forest. Eventually, I ended up in a familiar spot. It was the playground I started off at. I climbed back onto the small skyscraper. There was something comforting about being on top of it. I'm supposed to be King Kong, king of the jungle, but I couldn't even save my friend. Sitting on the skyscraper gave me an idea though. I know, I can build a statue to help take my mind off of things. So I went back towards my base. I stopped at an area that was nearby, but not so close that it would give my base away. I started clearing the area for my big project. Once I was done clearing the area, I started the foundation of the skyscraper. Not too shabby. It was a great start, but that would be enough for now. It was about to get dark and mobs would be spawning. I headed back to the base and crafted some gear with iron to pass the time. I hoped Luna was okay. After a while, I decided to call it a night and got some sleep. On days 11 to 12, I got up bright and early. I was looking forward to building my statue, but I was going to need a ton of materials to build my skyscraper. I headed out of the jungle and into a bamboo forest. As I was exploring, I noticed a large building hiding among the plants. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. There was an old spooky looking mansion. I was so intrigued by it. I went inside and had a look around. I wonder who used to own this place. Maybe it was an explorer. I was taking a closer look at things when I was startled by the sound of someone clearing their throat. I turned and there was an old man looking at me.
Hello there. May I help you, old chap?
Sorry, I didn't think anyone lived here anymore.
Indeed I do. This old house isn't what she used to be, but I'm too old these days to keep up with the yard.
Oh, well, I like the way it looks. It's very earthy, and you have some really cool artifacts here. What a collection.
Thank you, dear boy, but these relics are all fake. You see, I'm an explorer, or I was when I was a bit more spry. When I would find something fascinating, whether it was an animal, artifact, or relic, I didn't want to take it. No, I wanted others to enjoy finding it too, so I would come home and recreate it. That way, the original would be right where it should be.
It's very honorable of you. I have mad respect for your respect.
Cheers. You know, you remind me of someone I met before. This might fascinate you if you'd like to see it.
He led me into his backyard, and there in the middle was a model of a giant King Kong-looking gorilla.
I found this gigantic creature on an island where it was worshipped as a god. I was so amazed, I went home and built this replica here. It's my most treasured discovery, and I've always hoped I'd meet another, as I've heard this creature is no longer living.
I could tell he was thinking I was just like this great specimen. This is inspiring to see, but I'm much too small. I'll never reach that size.
This ape started out as a small bugger, just like you. Day by day, he grew stronger and bigger until he was a towering, fearsome giant. Maybe you too will steadily grow so big.
I wasn't so sure about that. I mean, I hope so, but I failed to save my friend. It was hard to believe I was destined for greatness. I said cheerio to the old explorer. I was glad I had met him. Then I continued collecting materials while also heading back towards home. While I was mining, I couldn't help but daydream about one day being a real king of the jungle. On days 13 to 15, I was making my way back to my base when I got the feeling I was being followed. I picked up my pace, hoping that would help, but I still couldn't shake that feeling. When I looked behind me, I finally caught a glimpse of something. Nope, I wasn't going to wait around to find out what it was. I booked it. I ran as fast as I could, but I was right. Something was following me, and that something was just as fast as I was. It was a tiger. It looks like I have no choice. I flipped around and faced him. No more running. I would just have to give it my all. Chew on this, tiger. I used my strength, my roar, and my sword. I gave it my all. He hit me a few times. There was no denying that this kitty was tough. This battle is intense. Even though it was a hard battle, I actually was holding my own. Whoa! All of a sudden, we both went tumbling off a cliff. But did that stop us? No! We landed in the water and kept at it. There was a fire that got ignited in me. Something instinctual, something primal. I let out a huge roar. We kept brawling, but in the end, I got the last blow and he was done. I came out victorious. Yes! I was so proud of myself. I could really step up to the plate when the odds are stacked against me and come out on top. I felt strength welling up inside of me, and I instantly evolved into a bigger version of King Kong. Okay, I wasn't quite the size of a jungle king, but I'd say I was at least a prince. Just call me Prince Kong, Prince Pong, Pong. Yeah, maybe I'll just stick to being called Zozo for now. On day 16 to 19, I was feeling so confident that I had some pep in my step. Maybe things weren't so hopeless with helping Luno. I had figured out how to defeat the tiger. Maybe, just maybe, I could figure out how to rescue Luno. I decided to return to the place of the kidnapping to see if I could find any clues. Bingo! And Sloppy was his name-o. There it was, a map on the ground. Looked like he dropped it in the chase. His mistake was my advantage. I looked it over and saw that it had a building on it labeled Men in Black's Secret Lab. These dudes really need to do some training on how to not compromise classified information. What a bunch of rookies. The map changed everything. This meant I had a shot at finding Luno, and this time I was going to save him. But first, I better get ready for battle. I wanted to upgrade my gear, so I went back to the lush cave and mined a bunch more iron. Some spiders crawled up and tried to bother me, but I showed them who was boss real quick. Mind your business, spiders. Get it? The spiders weren't amused. Oh well, you go squish now. I was on a mission. I would not be deterred. Once I gathered enough, I went back to my base and got to work crafting a full set of heavy-duty iron armor and iron weapons. Now, I was ready, I hoped. On day 20 to 22, I set off, following the map to the secret lab that was no longer a secret. Seriously, can you believe they just dropped that really important map? I approached the area where the place was supposed to be, but I didn't see anything anywhere at first. But then I spotted it. It was a very well-hidden bunker lab. Without the map, I'd have never noticed it. I guess I can give them a little credit for camouflaging. Just then, some guards came out of the bunker. I quickly ducked out of sight.
Yeah, that little green alien is really adorable.
It's too bad he won't be around after today.
I was just getting used to having the little guy around. I think I'm gonna cry.
Pull yourself together, Fred.
Hey, I have feelings too.
I'm sorry, Fred. I know what this is really about. It's about the last bagel that Jerry took.
He already had one, Megan. Who does that? A monster, that's who.
Let it out, buddy. Have a good cry.
Talk about drama. I had to get in the door. Just then, 2 more guards came out to talk to the other ones. The door was ajar. This was my chance to sneak past the guards while they sorted out their feelings or whatever that was about. Okay, I'm in. That wasn't so hard. Just gotta find out where they're holding Luno, kick booty, and get out. No biggie. I turned a corner and found myself in a cafeteria full of guards. Uh-oh, wrong turn. Everyone turned and looked at me. So how about them burgers, huh? Talk about beefy. Well, I'll see myself out.
Intruder, get that gorilla!
That was my cue to run. I ran deeper into the base. They were so shocked to see a big gorilla, they weren't ready to fight. I took them out with just a few big punches. Ooh, one of them dropped a key. I know what to do with that. I put the key in the lock of the door they were guarding. Open sesame. Luno was inside the room.
Zozo.
He was so excited to see me. He was surprised how much I had grown. I told him I was sorry for taking so long to rescue him. He was just happy to see me and told me I was very brave. What a guy. No time to lose, Luno. We gotta break you out of here. The battle is only half won. We tried to hurry and make our way out without running into anyone else, but of course that was too good to be true. The man in black cut us off and blocked us from getting any further.
I'm not the bad guy here. This is what needs to happen. Surrender, or I will have to use this.
He flashed a fancy-looking gun. The gun didn't shoot bullets. Instead, it produced a terrible, debilitating sound. I quickly equipped my noise-canceling ear protection that I picked up from the Badgers. But poor Luno was spinning with confusion. No one was going to hurt my friend on my watch. I charged the man in black. I gave him a super punch and knocked him to the ground. He didn't get back up. He was out cold. Total knockout. You didn't stand a chance against these guns. Luno was still a bit disoriented, but he was okay. We rushed out of the lab and into the wilderness. The man in black never knew what hit him. On day 23 to 26, we returned to the jungle temple. I kept apologizing that I hadn't been able to stop the men in black from taking him, but he told me he didn't care, that it wasn't my fault.
Blame yourself for other actions. Do not.
I guess he had a good point. I tried my best, and sometimes bad things just happen. So, are you okay after being captured?
Heavy is my heart. Homesick.
I wish I could help. If only I could reach the moon. Wait a minute, I'm building a skyscraper sculpture. What if I build it so tall that it can reach the moon?
Great idea that is. Great friend Zozo is.
We ran over to the sculpture and continued building together. Phew, this was a huge undertaking. We definitely were going to need way more materials than we had in our stash. We would go find more supplies tomorrow. That night, as we both sat and looked up at the stars, we saw an interesting constellation. Does that make you think of anything? On days 27 to 31, I spotted a wandering trader walking by with his llama. I ran out and flagged him down. Good morning, can I see what you're selling? I'm in need of a lot of andesite.
Is that so? I don't have a lot on me right now, but I'm on my way to a quarry that has tons of stuff. I often go there to ply my wares.
A huge source of materials that I can use for the skyscraper? What good luck. Thanks for that info. I'll certainly be taking a visit there.
I got other stuff though, if you want to make a trade.
I don't have any money.
That's okay. You can buy on credit and I will come collect later. It's the newest craze. Buy now, figure it out later.
That sounded good to me. I looked at his wares and saw an enchanted iron chest plate and a better helmet. I selected these items and then bid goodbye to the trader. I'd have to remember to come up with some money later. I went over to where Luna was and let him know I needed to make a journey to the quarry. I told him to wait at the base and make himself at home. I'd be back as soon as I could. Eat all the frogs and bananas you want while I'm gone. I headed out and eventually found myself wandering through the savannah. At one point, I started hearing some weird laughing around me. Back up, buddies. Trust me, you don't want a piece of me. But they clearly did want a piece of me. They didn't waste time in jumping all over me. There were so many of them, and they were fighting like there was no tomorrow. I was able to take quite a few of them out, but with so many around me, they definitely got a few good hits in. My sword proved to be strong too, but I had to give these guys some credit. They may have been smaller than me, but they really fought with a lot of heart. Unfortunately for them, it was me who ended up taking all of their hearts. Eventually, they were nothing but dust. Look who's laughing now. Actually, I feel a little bad for taking them all out, but fish gotta swim and Zozo's gotta survive. On days 32 to 35, I spotted the quarry in the distance on a mountain. As it got closer, I noticed it was pretty quiet. I didn't see any activity. Where is everybody? I poked around the quarry, searching for someone. Anyone. Finally, I came across an office. I walked in and saw a foreman sitting alone.
Well, how do you like that? It's one of them big gorillas. I'll be mine. Never seen one of your types around these parts.
I came here to get some skyscraper materials. Where is everybody?
Shoot, you're out of luck, big feller. This here quarry had done shut down. Yes, sirree. Why, this quarry used to be a real resource hoedown, but we had to shut things down because of that gosh darn monster.
Monster?
As sure as I'm standing right in front of you. There's a terrible lizard creature snatching up my workers. No one dares work here anymore. It was an HR nightmare, and if I ain't got laborers, then I can't get no resources to sell.
Well, if I take care of that monster for you, would they work for you again?
I reckon that'd do it.
Looks like I had my next mission. Slay the lizard, get the quarry back into working order, get boatload of materials. I started searching around for the monster lizard creature. I jumped down the mountain and eventually noticed a cave opening. That seemed like a good place for a monster to hide. I crawled around the cave, following its twists and turns. Eventually, the cave opened up and there laid a giant Komodo dragon. It was snoozing. I cleared my throat. Hey, I'm Zozo. I was just popping in to ask that you don't kill any more of the workers at the quarry, because it's really bumming everyone out, and the dragon jumped at me and snapped. Whoa, I'm sure we can talk this through. Nobody has to get hurt. The dragon was not interested in negotiations. I had no choice. I had to fight back. This dragon had a mighty bite. I was striking the lizard whenever I could and dealing some major blows. But this lizard wasn't going down easy. There was a reason it had become king of the quarry. Komodo dragons had a terribly venomous bite. Thankfully, I had upgraded my armor. Otherwise, I might have fallen prey to this clever lizard's venom. The dragon chased me all around, but I could tell it was losing hearts. Fast. It doesn't have to be like this. You can go find another place to live. Don't make me do this. These workers just want to make a living. You don't need to keep eating them. The lizard would not listen to reason. Can't say I didn't try. With my sword drawn, I dealt the final blow. I vanquished the dragon. Ooh, and it dropped a pendant. Most importantly, I can get this quarry up and running again and get Luno back to the moon. I looked around the Komodo dragon's nest for a second to see if there was anything of interest. I didn't see anything, but then I heard a little voice.
Mama?
Oh, she was a girl dragon with a baby. My bad. This poor baby was without a mother, and it was my fault. I felt terrible. Hey there, there, baby dragon. I'm not gonna hurt you. I hope you can forgive me about your mom.
She wasn't my real mom. She was a really mean stepmom. Honestly, you did me a favor.
Phew, that was a relief to hear. Imagine if they had gotten along. This would have been super awkward. I told the baby that she was welcome to be my friend and to let me know if there's anything I could do for her. Then I headed out of the cave and back to the office. The baby followed at a distance. On day 36 to 39, I told the foreman that the monster had been taken care of and that the workers could come back now.
Yeah, well, ain't that just a kick in the pants? That's mighty grand. There's just one teensy-weensy problem.
Another problem?
You see, my workers ain't around no more. With no work here, they're fixing to make a new quarry of their own over yonder. But word is, that dog won't hunt. They's trapped in the middle of a newly formed lake after a big flood in that there area.
All right, point me in the direction and I'll see what I can do.
Go that way.
I stepped outside the office and saw the little dragon poke his head out from a nearby mine. I felt so bad. She didn't have anyone to care for her now, so I told her she could come with me. I hope this wasn't a fool's errand. Eventually, we came upon the lake, and sure enough, just as the foreman said, out in the middle was an island with some small houses. I crafted a boat. We sat out up across the water and soon reached the other side. Once we got on the shore, the quarry workers came out to greet us.
Are you the rescue team? We have been waiting so long. Monster! Killer monster!
Oh no, I should have realized the baby would trigger these workers. No, I took care of the monster for you. This is just a cute, harmless baby. There's no need to be alarmed. I am here to rescue you and take you back to the quarry. As I said, there's no dangerous monster anymore. You now have a safe work environment. So what do you say? Want to get out of here? The workers cheered. They were tired of being on the tiny island. I offered them my boat, but they said it wouldn't be possible because they needed to take all their equipment with them. That was quite the conundrum, but that's what I was here for, to fix all the problems. I sailed back across the lake and started chopping down a bunch of trees. Eventually, I had enough to construct a simple bridge. Before going back to the island, I found a cave and collected some cobblestone. After grabbing some of that, I decided it was a good idea for me and the baby to take a nap. We had had a really long day and would need the energy. On days 40 to 43, I started to construct the bridge out of wood and stone to get across the lake. Halfway through making the bridge though, I hit a problem. More like a problem tried to hit me. There was a shark in the water. I should be able to give this guy a nice big conk on the head. I reached down to hit the shark, but it bit me. I kept struggling to climb out of the water. I saw the shark coming for me. I'm done for. But just as it reached me, the baby Komodo swiped its tail, smacking it hard in the face. The shark turned its attention onto the baby, and she snapped her venomous mouth at the shark. It didn't stand a chance after that. Thank you for saving my life, little one. And I'm still sorry about your stepmom. She really didn't seem upset by it. By the way, do you have a name?
It's Bubblegum.
Nice. That's a cute name. I finished the bridge and made it back over to the workers.
Thanks, Mr. Zozo. We'll start heading back to the quarry with all our stuff.
That was good to hear. I hadn't expected so many bumps in the road, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. Bubblegum and I got back to the quarry before the workers did, so I went to the office and let the foreman know the good news. He was so giddy that he was hooting and hollering.
We'll be up and running lickety-split. You'll be the first one to get what you need, and we'll give it to you on the house for all your troubles.
Sounded fair to me. I thanked him, and he let me know it'd be ready soon enough. On days 44 to 49, I returned back to my base with Bubblegum by my side. I told Luna about the drama and introduced Bubblegum. Then I noticed that the wandering trader was still hanging around. Hey, it took a bit of trouble, but I got things at the quarry back in order. They'll be starting production immediately. He was so happy to hear that. His line of work was no longer compromised.
You know, I have a network of other traders who could help bring the other materials over. That way you can get your stuff quicker. What do you say?
Sure, that would be great. Just let me know the cost.
Just put it on the credit.
Okay, I sure hoped I wouldn't live to regret that. Oh well. I noticed that Luna and Bubblegum were getting along really well. Hey Luna, I was thinking that Bubblegum could stay at our base. Are you okay with that? Luna loved the idea, so I started cutting out a spot to make room for Bubblegum to enjoy. Then it was time for some much needed sleep. On days 50 to 53, the first load finally arrived from the quarry. You people sure work quick. Talk about a speedy delivery.
We upgraded you to Wandering Trader Prime.
What's that going to cost me?
Don't worry about it. We'll just put it on your credit.
Okie dokie. I realized I was going to need somewhere to store all these materials. That was no problem. I built more of the skyscraper, but unfortunately, I realized the next hurdle. Glass. I needed a lot of glass. This project was surely exhausting. I know what will help me figure out my problem. Sleep. In the morning, I spoke with the traveling trader and asked if he had any connections to some serious glass stash.
You know, I do actually know of a glass factory, although it's some distance away.
Well, sounds like I'm due for another adventure. I'll set out now. I felt better leaving Luna alone now that Bubblegum was there to keep him company. I traveled through a few different biomes and eventually wound up at the glass factory. It felt like deja vu. I had a sneaking suspicion that this place was not in working order, just like the quarry. I entered the factory and saw that it was staffed by piglins.
You there. We have lost enough. Just leave us in peace.
I'm not here to cause you any trouble. I'm here to purchase some glass. Is there a problem with the factory?
Oh, there's a problem, all right. We've been overtaken by raiders. They told us they won't let us do any more mining for coal unless we pay them for access. But we're just piglins. How in the world are we to pay them?
That stinks.
I'm sorry, but I had Brussels sprouts for lunch. It makes me gassy.
Oh, I didn't mean it like that. Well, anyway, let me know how to help you. I'm pretty good these days at roughing up bad guys. Let me go have a chat with them. The piglins were excited to hear it and pointed me in the direction of the raiders. I was happy to get going because there was a really stinky smell around that piglin. I went in the direction they pointed me to and saw the mine was full of raiders. I'm ready to raid the raiders raiders who raided the mine. No more Mr. Nice Kong. These dudes were slowing down my skyscraper production, not to mention being jerks to the piglins. I charged into the mine, muscles ablazing. I was tired of all this drama. I had a moon to get to. I didn't have patience for these punks. It's chopping time. They didn't know what hit them. I swung my sword and took out a bunch of them with ease. That's what I'm talking about. I got lower into the mines and saw diamonds all over the place. Sweet sparkles. Don't mind if I do. Is that pun getting old? I don't care. I'm just going to keep saying it. I quickly mined a bunch of diamonds and then went back to kicking some mob bum. There were a lot of them, so they got a few hits in, but these guys were like pesky fleas. Annoying, but no match for what I'd been through. Sadly, my armor was getting pretty damaged. Once at the bottom, a vindicator with hoarding the stash. So, you've been keeping the piglins out of the mine so you can have all the diamonds to yourselves. Diamonds may last forever, but your reign of terror is over. But then it came at me hard. Now I was starting to get nervous. My hearts were starting to go down. Then I got a weird idea. The vindicator was instantly drawn to it, as if he forgot all about the fight.
If it fits, I seats.
The vindicator captain was trapped. Oh, I can't believe that worked. I jumped down and landed endless blows to Vindicator. If you sits, I chop you to bits. Finally, the Vindicator was no more, and I was left the champion in the room of diamonds. I looked around the room some more and also found some chests full of gold. I can pay back the traders with this. I really had come a long way since my time on that playground. On days 58 to 62, I woke up and took a bunch of coal and diamonds and went back to the glass factory. I walked in and they all squealed with delight that I wasn't dead.
Praise Cole, you weren't overtaken. Does this mean you won, or did you flee?
I'll let all this coal do the talking. I showed them some coal.
You got coal, but coal can't talk, you know. You are very strong, but you seem to have knocked a few marbles loose up in that noggin of yours.
I know, it's just a saying. Oh, never mind. Anyways, yeah, I got rid of all the raiders. Now you can go and get everything you need.
Huzzah! Now we can mine our business for free.
About that, you said you didn't have a way to pay the raiders, but why didn't you use the diamonds to pay them? Piglins seemed confused. They had no clue what I was talking about.
Oh, you mean these shiny rocks? Bless your heart. Those silly rocks are utterly useless. Yes, too hard to even craft or melt down into anything. Again, I think you might need to see a doctor soon about that head of yours.
Oh, brother. I'll just let them think what they want. They weren't the brightest bunch, but they knew how to make some good quality glass. That's all I needed them to know about. So, should I be able to get regular deliveries of glass soon? Piglins let me know that they would make sure I was their priority for sending glass to. And as a gift for helping them out, they gave me a furnace sword. It showed how much they valued coal over diamond. This sword was so cool. I thanked them for the great treasures I now possessed. I couldn't wait to show my friends what I had found. On days 63 to 66, I returned back home to my base. I had glass from the factory, and now would get regular deliveries coming from the depot very soon. I was very excited about how things were looking up. I told my friends all about my adventures fighting the den of dangerous raiders at the mine. They were both so impressed and excited to hear about it. And then I said, if you sits, you be chopped to bits.
Huh, nice one, Zozo.
Yes, got it you still have.
I decided to craft diamond armor for each of us. Once I had the armor finished, I walked out and found the wandering trader. I was excited to fix my credit score with him. Hey, I'm ready to settle my debt. He couldn't believe I had enough to pay him. I gave him a giant amount of gold, and he was super happy about it.
Finally, my wife won't be so mad at me anymore for not getting paid for my labors all the time.
With the stash of new materials I had acquired, I began to add more to the skyscraper. You know, some windows, some walls, that kind of thing. This bad boy was getting some good height to it. Luno came and admired the work I had done. He said he was lucky to have a friend that cared so much about getting him home. I knew he would do the same for me. I also know he would like and comment on my YouTube videos, and you should too. On days 67 to 70, I was on top of my skyscraper when Luno pointed to something in the sky a good distance away.
What could that be?
Oh, I think it's a bird. Wait, no, it's a plane. No. It's the man in black! Oh no, he had found us! It'd be pretty hard not to see, I guess. I'm sure you could see it from miles away. The man in black was traveling via jetpack through the sky.
I'm sorry, but that alien must come with me. Give him up or I'll have to take him by force.
His name is Luno, and he is staying. Don't make me beat you up again.
I would like to see you try.
I jumped at him, but he flew off the skyscraper. Ugh, get over here and fight me like a man. He zoomed around me. Every time he got close, I would swat at him, but he was always just out of reach. I was running all around the skyscraper top. Then the man in black dive bombed me. Dude, I almost fell off. He dive bombed me again and I slapped him away. The next time, the man in black didn't come at me. He made a beeline for Luno instead. Luno was about to be taken. Luno! Luno held his little green hand up towards the man in black, and the man in black stopped moving in midair. The little alien had mind powers. Luno, you never told me you had special powers.
On the moon, they are not so special.
Here on this planet, we consider that a superpower. Now hold him right there, Luno. I'll finish him off. I punched the man in black's jetpack enough times that it malfunctioned, and he went plummeting to the ground. Look, he's falling. With style. We sure make a good team, Luno.
Thank you, friend. A great warrior you are. A good heart you have. A secret, I must tell you. Fell from the moon? I did not. Come here to seek help? I did. Being killed by a moon monster, my people are. In need, we are, for a champion. Told you I should have. Worried I was that you would not accept the challenge. But now I know you are the most brave hero. Sorry I am for not being upfront.
Don't be sorry. I would be happy to help once we reach the moon. Thank you for being honest. Our conversation was interrupted by screaming from down below.
What happened to the MIB maybe we should see?
On days 71 to 74, Luna and I got to the bottom of the skyscraper only to discover that the man in black was still alive. I felt kind of bad for him. Well, I felt bad until I saw he had bubblegum on a leash. The man in black managed to get his jetpack working and took off with bubblegum, leaving us shocked at the turn of events. This guy is the worst. I can't believe he survived that fall. And now he has sweet baby bubblegum. Luna and I were so sad. Why would he take her? It just didn't make sense. Did he think she was an alien? What did he want with her? I spotted something on the ground. Maybe it was part of the jetpack. It was a strange material. I didn't recognize it.
You okay there, Zozo? Sounded like there was a big fight happening.
A piglin delivery guy stopped over to check on us. Yeah, there's this jerk who's been trying to capture us, and he took off with our friend. He dropped this.
I've seen that material before. It was over in Stony Peak Mountain. Yep, definitely seen that stuff. But I don't know what it is.
There wasn't much to go on, but it was all I had, and decided to follow the clue. On days 75 to 78, I hurried and made it to the Stony Peak Mountains. It was beautiful up here. Lots of stony peaks. Imagine that. Atop the peaks, I noticed something that actually wasn't a peak. It was an observatory. Right on, that's gotta be what I'm looking for. I knew it wouldn't be a walk in the park getting up the mountain, and I was right. Mobs, mobs, mobs. Say hello to my little friend. I used my new furnace sword. I was on fire. I kept swinging and swinging, hitting them as hard as I could. Eventually, I made it out on top to the top of the mountain. The fun had just begun. I was at the observatory door, facing 2 robot guards. I don't suppose you'd just let me pass.
Turn back. You are not permitted to enter.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I came this far, so either you're gonna let me through, or I'm gonna rip your arms out of your metal sockets.
Hostile enemy detected. Annihilate.
Looks like it'll be the hard way. I dodged their weapons and got a hold of them and let it rip. Didn't take too much to disassemble these dudes. I kicked open the doors and went ape crazy. I really tore it up in the place. There were plenty more robots as I searched the many hallways, and sure, they dealt me some damage, but I managed to obliterate them. You won't be back. I fought my way to the basement, but there was no sign of bubblegum. I couldn't help but wonder if I had come here for nothing. What if my friend wasn't here? No, I had to stop that kind of talk. I still had to search to the top. On days 79 to 84, I headed for the top of the observatory. And what do you suppose? That smug man in black was waiting for me at the top. Bubblegum was in a cage next to him. Well, if it isn't the man in splat. Get it? Because we tossed you off a skyscraper? I noticed there was a giant telescope pointed at the moon. Didn't anyone tell you it was rude to spy on people?
You don't know anything about me or this operation. I demand that you bring me the little green alien. I will trade you for your non-alien friend here.
Let me think about that. No. But you will give me back my Komodo dragon and leave us alone forever. And if not, well, then this conversation has got me really fired up. Let's rumble. We went head to head. This guy had all sorts of techie weapons. He knew he had to up his game against me. Clearly, he had expected this fight. We aimed, we hit, we blocked, we jumped. Why do you even want the alien? Just so you can torture him in your stupid little lab with your emotionally distraught guards? Yeah, that's right. I know all about your bagel incident. I won't let you hurt my friend.
Ugh, Fred, I'm so firing him when I get back. Listen, we aren't going to torture the aliens. I'm trying to protect it from violent animals, like you. And yes, we will study it a little, but nothing harmful. I saw that alien come down from the moon in my telescope. I've been searching for him ever since, and then you butted in.
We continued to fight, but I slowed down a bit. Hold on, we both want to help Luna. That's the alien's name, by the way. You'd know that if you were friendly for once, instead of using force to get the alien. He needs help. There's a moon monster destroying their lives, and I'm going to help stop it. We stopped fighting.
That explains a lot of what I'm seeing in my telescope. I think I had the wrong idea about you, and I think you had the wrong idea about me. I'm sorry. I see now that you were looking out for the aliens, Luno's best interest. Maybe we better stop fighting each other and team up instead. What do you say?
Well, as much as I was looking forward to kicking your butt King Kong style, I guess we can let it be. Now, can you let my baby friend go, please?
Yeah, sorry. We thought she was an alien too.
You really need to get out more.
So, what was your plan to save the Lunarians?
Building that skyscraper to touch the moon. Then, I'll go to the moon and face the monster. We got bubblegum out, and the man in black told me to return to the base, and that he would be there soon. First, he needed some time to work on a tech weapon, and started the trek home with bubblegum. A jetpack would have been handy, but oh well, walking was fine. On days 85 to 89, I arrived back to the temple with the baby in tow. Luno greeted us excitedly. He couldn't believe I had found bubblegum.
Nothing there is that you can't do. A hero you are.
I was excited to tell Luno all about the encounter with the man in black. I explained that he wasn't going to be a threat any longer, but in fact, he was going to help. Luno and bubblegum went inside to catch up. I was lucky to have found those two. I didn't have a family, and if I really was a King Kong, it sounded like I was the only one. Family comes in many forms. There's the family you're born into, and the family you make along the way. A wandering trader interrupted my monologuing.
I've been watching you. I'm moved by how much you care for your friends. It reminds me of our good friend Johnny. Rip. He was always sticking his neck out for me and saving me from things. In his honor, I'd like to give you an upgrade.
free of charge. This will make you even stronger, if you can imagine that.
I thanked him profusely. What a nice guy. I climbed up into the temple and realized I hadn't had much time for renovating the temple. I wanted it to look impressive for the Man in Black. I added upgrades and a lab area for the Man in Black, in case he needed it. It took a lot of hard work, but after a while, I was able to get everything completed. That's when I heard some shouting. Oh, what now? It was a piglin and a delivery person. They weren't in any trouble, quite the opposite. They were excitedly letting me know that the deliveries were complete. Oh, thank you for your hard work. On day 90 to 94, I crafted the enchantment materials the trader had given me. I was able to fully enchant all my armor and gear. I was super excited about that. This armor is perfect. I was ready to finish the work on the skyscraper. I buzzed around, building it taller and taller and taller and taller. This skyscraper was truly a ridiculous height now, and it was practically out of the Earth's atmosphere. I steadily climbed to the very top of the skyscraper to see how much closer I needed to be to the moon. I realized I was having a hard time breathing. There wasn't much oxygen up here. I guess I hadn't thought about that. This could be my undoing. Just then, as if he had planned it this way, the Man in Black appeared beside me.
Nice work on the skyscraper, Zozo. It's looking pretty stellar. That's a word kids still use nowadays, right? At any rate, I made you the spacesuit to help you breathe out here.
Wow, I was really glad he and I were on the same team. I thanked him, and then he also gave me an item that would make me super strong.
Wait to use it until you're on the moon. With the change in gravity, it'll work really well. Just don't use it here on Earth. It hasn't been studied yet, and I don't think it'll have the same effects.
I guess that Man in Black wasn't so bad after all. On days 95 to 97, it was an exciting day. The skyscraper was finally complete. Now I really am king of the world. I knew that little tiny gorilla on the playground skyscraper would have been really proud of me now that I had come a long way. Pun intended. Luno joined me at the top. He was used to the atmosphere and didn't need anything special to breathe. So, what do you think?
Incredible it is. Strange to be back in space it is. I am scared to face the monster, but with you by my side, win, we will.
I told Luno to go back down to Earth and that he didn't need to come to the moon with me this time. Instead, I would let him know when it was safe again. Luno listened to me and went back down. I built a small bridge to connect the tip of the skyscraper to the moon. The bridge reminded me of how it's important to stay connected by subscribing to the channel, so we can always connect you to our exciting new adventures. On day 98, I took one small step for me, one great leap for the Lunarians. Houston, the King Kong has landed on the moon. It was so cool being on the moon. This gravity was crazy. I started to bounce around to take in my surroundings. I didn't see a single soul, but I did see a half-destroyed moon base. Something had definitely been here causing trouble. It was then that I remembered what the Man in Black gave me. I pulled out the strength potion and chugged it down. I could feel the power coursing through my veins. Whoa, this feels amazing. I started growing like crazy, becoming a mighty King Kong, just like the one the explorer had told me about. He was right. I did have it in me to become a great Kong. Zong Kong. Zong Zong? Either way, I was mighty. And check out my hearts. Now that's what I'm talking about. All this commotion must have gotten the attention of the moon monster though, because he came out of his hiding space next to the ruined base. Prepare to meet your match. The monster opened up its mouth and breathed lasers at me. Whoa, I didn't expect that. I then crashed into him, knocking him off balance. He continued to shoot lasers at me. Ooh, those lasers are wicked hot. We rolled and brawled all over the moon. He had some really powerful attacks. They hurt and did some major damage to my health. I wouldn't have stood a chance if it wasn't for this mega strength potion I took, so I sucker punched him real hard. I opened my mouth to test out my supersized roar, but the sound waves didn't work right on the moon. Shoot, I was really hoping to use that ability. I would just have to make do with what I had. Heart counts for a lot, and I was doing this for the creatures I cared for. On day 99, the fight raged on, and I found myself losing. This beast was just too powerful, and I was sure he had advantages of being on his own turf. I was pushed towards my skyscraper. I had to make a decision. If I didn't retreat now, I could lose the battle altogether. I got onto the bridge and started destroying it as I ran across to the skyscraper. At least I'd have the last minute to regroup and heal myself before... Oh no, the beast took a running leap and jumped onto the skyscraper. I just let this heinous creature off the moon. Oh, this was bad. This was very bad. I couldn't allow him to climb down and start destroying Earth, and it was all my fault. I fought with all my might, and I was super weak now. Things are not looking good. I think this is the end. The monster got ready to deliver his final blow when suddenly he stopped. He was frozen. I looked around. To my great relief and surprise, I saw not just Luno, but a bunch of other little aliens that looked just like him. They were using their mind powers together, bravely and triumphantly. You saved me.
Saved us, you did. Showed us bravery, you did. Help Zozo we must. Now, finish him.
They positioned the monster on the edge of the tower, and I used all my King Kong strength to knock him into next week. He fell from the skyscraper, down, down, down to his death. We had done it, together! On day 100, we were back at the Jungle Temple.
I figure you guys might like this big telescope for my base. That way you can check in on your family super easily.
I really misjudged you, Man in Black.
You can call me Kim.
Kim, I'm really glad we're friends now. Please feel free to visit anytime you like. It was time to say goodbye to my space friend. I didn't want to tell him, but I was super sad about him leaving. He felt like family to me, but he had his real family to get home to, and I would not get in the way of that. I guess this is goodbye. I'll never forget you. We all looked up at the moon together.
I'll never forget you either, because returning home, I am not doing. I wish to stay here.
I couldn't believe my ears. I was so happy to hear he wanted to stay. It was the perfect situation, and Bubblegum was really happy to hear that Luno was staying too, and waved at the Lunarians, waving back at us.